bigger teams had. So, of course, what was their natural solution? Let's find the best players we can in later rounds that we can play for a couple of seasons on the cheap before they sign big contracts with other teams. And now we're at a point we don't have to let them sign big contracts with other teams because of the revenue share. We can actually sign these players now.
Okay, cool. I want to throw a thing out at you guys too.
All right. Well, apparently we weren't podcasting this whole time.
That's fine. Whatever. Who cares? That's fine.
We're up now.
Cool.
Apparently.
Hey. But yeah, what I wanted to throw at you guys, because I heard this on the radio just today. Like, I mean, I listen to sports talk pretty religiously. Yeah. I got Sirius XM. I'm on KFan all the time. Like, I listen all the time. But I don't really adopt or believe too much of anything anyone says. Like, I like to do my own research and form my own opinions and trust myself, my eye, my brain.
Absolutely.
But on Sirius, they mentioned that like the hit rate. Yeah. You know, as far as like picking up fifth-year option, signing a second contract with the team, making a Pro Bowl, whatever, stuff like that. The hit rate on first-round draft picks is around 40%.
Yep.
And that then drops noticeably with each round as the draft book goes on. Sweet, I will do that. But that rate just consistently, steadily drops 5-10% with each round as well. And that since 2010, so like just to kind of set that up for context on just first round players in general.
Yes.
You know, like slightly less than half of these guys are going to be successful with the team that drafts them.
Correct.
Is basically what we're saying. Knowing that, when we look specifically at the quarterback position, since 2010, 42 quarterbacks have been drafted in round one. Of those 42 draft selections, 31 out of 42 resulted in the head coaches and general managers losing their jobs at the end of that quarterback's tenure with the team.
Sure.
So we were talking about 11 out of the last 42 first-round quarterbacks worked out well enough in their rookie time frame to keep their head coach and GM their job.
Yeah.
So, like, even when we've got these perceived great QB classes, we had one back in 2021 with generational talent.
Did you put Zimmer in there?
With generational talent, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields and Mac Jones and Trey Lance and all these first-round talents. Oh, my God, we got to trade up for Trey Lance and all this crap. Yeah.
By the way,
only 11 out of 42 work out for that team.
I was on
so
record.
Like taper expectations.
Speaking of Trey Lance,
probably only 2 of these 6 guys are going to work out.
Here's your point exactly. I was on this podcast on record saying Trey Lance nor Justin Fields should even be drafted.
You were,
let alone in the first round, let alone first and third overall. And I said to both these guys, I fucking pray that you draft Justin Fields. Like, please draft Justin Fields.
Oh, of course.
And please let San Francisco draft. Please do this. Because you're fools if you do.
We did not give him much chance to succeed, though.
I do agree with that. I've never been a Fields guy.
We didn't.
Me any credit. No, I'm kidding.
No,
They just gave me credit.
They just gave me credit.
You got street cred with me, bro.
No, but for real.
I agree with both of you on
this.
My point is that's
I'm a Steelers fan now, but he's on that team.
That was simply just an example of what you were actually talking about.
Caleb Williams is going to be a future 6th round pick too.
right.
Traded for
and that'll hate his guts because he was supposed to be better than this.
Amen.
So he's going to they're going to trade a 3rd round pick for him.
Packers fan for the fucking touchdown on that one.
AJ Brown, $96 million extension.
No, you'll get at least a third.
AJ Brown, $96 million.
Oh, congratulations, AJ Brown. That's a nice contract.
Overpaid.
So we're both in agreement though that if we were running the Bears.
There he is.
Come on, baby. If either one of us were running the Bears, we're in Pole's shoes, Ryan Pole's, whatever, that we would actually select Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU, over Caleb Williams.
Yes.
We were both in agreement over that.
That's what I would.
He is QB1 out of this class to me, and I can't see it any other way.
I as well.
Jaden Daniels is like C.J. Stroud.
I 100,000,000% agree with that.
I watch his release. I have not seen a guy throw a football like that.
And I had Stroud as QB1 last year.
Did you?
And Richardson as QB2.
Yeah. I can't
Did
believe
you?
the kids.
Yes,
I can't believe how he,
100%.
I can because in fantasy you grabbed Bryce
I
Young,
can
not
because
CJ
he was
Stroud.
available. Stroud was already gone.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, because you picked Stroud up like 2 weeks later.
No, Stroud got dropped.
Oh, did he?
Stroud got dropped,
I
and that's
picked-
why I
same
immediately
thing.
dropped
I grabbed
Young
him off the waivers
and
too
picked up
last year.
Stroud because Stroud hadn't even hit his stride yet at that point. That's why he
Calm
got
down.
dropped.
Okay, calm down.
Sorry. I loved me some Stroud. Watching Stroud to
Yes.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
On film was like crack.
Yeah.
I'm for someone who likes watching college
And
film
for
and
someone who likes
scouting.
crack.
I haven't. That's true too.
Yeah.
That's true
Hey,
too.
brother, I'm a drug
That's
addict,
true,
dude. I
too.
love all of it,
That's
dude.
true,
So
too.
you don't got nothing to
That's
fucking.
true,
You
too.
got nothing to hide
That's
here,
true too, man.
This is
That's
what
true,
happens
too,
when
man.
musicians get
You got
together.
another one of them draft picks, man.
shit, dude.
That's true.
I love me some Stroud. I love him.
I did. I think I
You
texted
got another
that.
one of them draft picks, man.
I wasn't surprised when Stroud blew up last year.
baby.
No,
Wasn't
I'm not
surprised.
sure which
He
one.
keeps calling me. CJ Stroud keeps calling me.
I'm not sure which one of my buddies it was, but I literally used those words in a message that I sent out last year. I said, watching CJ Stroud throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. for like a film scout is like fucking crack. It's unbelievable. Both of these guys,
sexier
both of
analogies you could
both of these guys are superstars. Both of these guys are
if you really
superstars.
like hitting the pipe.
I'm just saying, like, there's so many sexier
fair.
analogies
Fair.
you could have
Call it
used.
what it is. You know
But
what I'm
your
saying?
base instincts
call it-
went
Dude,
to,
I'm not-
it's like
fair.
crack. I worry about
I'm sorry about that, Joe Rogan. I'm sorry about that, Joe Rogan.
I worry about you sometimes.
I got a little over 2 years clean off of meth at this point. And we're
You got
talking the
any
same
more of that?
language.
You got any more of that 2022, 2023 Ohio State
Congratulations on that, by
film,
the
Joe
way.
Rogan?
Thank you.
Okay,
Oh,
I don't think
Are
they're
we on the
officially-
are the
I don't
Bears?
think-
No.
no, and that's why I'm waiting until it does, so I can throw the ticker up, and then we'll throw this ticker up.
So
Okay.
let me ask you guys this, all three of you. What do you think of Brock Bowers?
Okay.
I think he's one of the safest picks in the draft.
Yeah,
I think he's
What
one
do
of
you
the
think of his
safest.
feet?
I think he's one of the.
I think he's the player that could take a tumble down the board.
No, I don't.
Well, that would
Right.
mostly be a devaluing of the position, and that wouldn't
Correct.
surprise me whatsoever. I think he's one of the safest first round picks as far as you know what you're getting, and you're getting quality.
Right.
But like. I don't think he turns a franchise around or anything like that either, and the tight end position doesn't hold a ton of value.
Do you see him going to Aaron
in
Rodgers?
round one? I definitely see that.
Brock
See, I
Bowers.
didn't. Dude,
I
this is
see
my
the-
problem.
I
I've been
see
so
the-
fucking busy. I haven't
I
scouted
see
anybody.
the
Tight
two
end
main
Georgia.
Freak athlete.
the
7
two main
college
landing spots for
quarterbacks.
Bowers is either to the Jets at 10, or if the Jets trade out of that pick or take someone else, then look for the Colts to either take him at 15 or move up a couple spots to get him at like 12 or 13 or
Him and
something like
Richardson
that.
would be dumped together.
Yeah. So that's I don't see him falling past 15. I just but. If he does because he's a tight end, it wouldn't be all that shocking. But he doesn't deserve to. And shame on NFL GMs if he does, in my opinion.
All right, so I saw your quarterback rankings on Facebook today. They were interesting because they ended up a lot closer to mine.
Than usual? Well, I'm glad about that because
Hold on. No.
I genuinely trust and respect this guy's QB evaluation abilities.
So, but here's the thing is that I thought was interesting is like yours ended up much closer to mine than I thought they would based on shit you had said in other evaluations leading up to your final list. I was like, based on what he said about this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, I didn't think they'd end up in this order.
Sure.
But regardless, who are your top two? It was Bo Nix. And then
Daniels is 1 and Nix is 2, and May is a fairly close third.
So you think they agree with that for the most part. So Chicago's going Caleb Williams, probably.
Yep, who I think is either 4 or
Daniels will go
5, depending on what you want to value over other traits.
And then you think Daniels is number 2.
Yeah, I think Daniels is 1. Daniels is my 1.
But do you think he's going to be number 2?
Yes, I think he will be the second overall pick after Caleb Williams. I think I'd be shocked. And
See,
if
I'm not sold on Daniels. I think here's the problem I see with Daniels is I've never been sold on these like hyper mobile quarterbacks like a Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts has been exposed, but last year they were still such a good team that it didn't matter yet. but I think it's gonna matter this year, and I
They
think
had
it's
an epic collapse to the end of the season. They were on fire, and then everybody figured out the team, and all of a sudden they had one play left, the tush push, and that even wasn't working any longer.
And that's exactly my point.
I
And
mean,
that's
they
exactly
lost
what
to
I'm
Baker
saying.
Mayfield,
But it didn't matter until the playoffs, is what I'm getting at.
right?
Huh? They're super hot and distorted. All right, so here's what we're gonna do.
The one thing I will say about Jaden Daniels is that he's definitely not a finished product yet, in my opinion. But I do think that he is a way better pocket passer or just passing quarterback in general than a lot of people recognize or are giving him credit for. He's not a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy.
He's not. Jaden Daniels isn't a Lamar Jackson. He's more of a. He's a skinny Josh Allen, or just his production as a passer this year, he threw 35 TDs to 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a laser all the time. He can throw the touch passes. So
let me finish.
But I just wanted to keep it going on Daniels.
But I'm using Jalen Hurts as my model.
Yes, and that's a great model for Daniels.
So
that's a great model.
I don't think these mobile. You already know my speech, so I'm going to truncate it for you, but I got to explain it for everybody else, which is basically these guys have always, pretty much every single NFL athlete, including the punter, was the best player on his high school team.
Right.
And oftentimes, one of the best athletes on their college teams, believe it or not.
Right.
But in order to go pro, they were like, I guess I got to be a punter, so halfway through college, they switch, right?
Sure. Yep.
Anyways, the real point I'm trying to make is that's not what you want from a quarterback. You don't want your best athlete playing that position. That's how this evolved to be this way in the first place. That's why you have 5 guys in front of you that all get paid a boatload of money too, to keep you on your fucking feet. It's called the pocket. Stay there. That's where it's safest. The point is the guys who aren't the best athletes are forced to stay in that pocket their whole career, from high school to college to the pros, and they're practicing pre-reading the defense before snap, pre-snap reads, reading the defense, and then post-snap reaction to those shifts, right? And then they have to make the throw. They have to learn how to make their footwork work. They have to learn how to shift in the pocket, and they have to make that throw when it fucking counts. The problem is these great athletes, Justin Fields is a great example, Jalen Hurts is a great example, 2 opposite ends of the spectrum, but to me it's the same guy, which is they just get to take off and run. They literally just run away from their problems. Well, what happens is, in the pros, oftentimes, you're not fast enough anymore to do that, but you're missing 8 years of experience from high school and from college. So you're just behind skipping grade school and going straight to middle school, and you don't know how to fucking read. This is real. This is a thing.
Look at this.
And I believe not only that, but once these guys get hurt or injured or they slow down a little bit, then it's even worse. So Dante Culpepper, right? That's his example. He gets a knee injury. RG3,
yes,
he gets a knee injury. The list goes on.
Yep.
So my point is, I don't want you to be that athlete. And I think Jalen Hurts is happening now. This is what I'm saying. And rarely, ever does a mobile running quarterback win the Super Bowl. The only one I can genuinely say that did it is Russell Wilson. Because back then, that motherfucker was running all over the place. Remember that shit? Especially against the Vikings. Oh my God, he's doing circles and fucking Fran Tarkenton. And it was hilarious. But that's my point. So
it's a solid point.
So I think Jaden Daniels is just a shittier version of Jalen Hurts. That's what I see on tape.
Okay.
It's just a shittier. It's a B-rate Jalen Hurts. So
I see a better Hurts. I see a better Hurts.
I just don't see much.
I just have never seen a guy throw a football like that.
I think it's Hurts, but I think
his release
better.
is so clean.
I think he's a significantly better pocket passer than Hurts is.
Yes,
he's definitely got a size advantage on Hurts when it comes to height.
When it comes to height, Lewis Riddick talk about Lewis Riddick loves him.
But Hurts definitely is more muscular, thicker, stronger outside of the arm, which results in durability. One typically thinks.
Put on 10 pounds of muscle in that weight room.
Boom, and then we're done. Exactly. So we can take care of that. We can cross that off.
Did he just say let's fucking go, or did he just say let's go?
I love Daniels. I love where Daniels is at now for his floor, and I love where his ceiling is at.
That was my little pet thing.
And that's why he's my QB1. That's why he's my QB1 is because I value both of those things, the floor and the ceiling.
The Vikes are to me kind of what the Twins are. I'm a Cubs guy, White Sox, but then I'll root for the Twins when they're not playing a Chicago team. Okay, so I wanted at the start of this.
Wait, you root for both Chicago teams?
Well, yeah, I mean when
you
they're
fucking sell
and
out.
Here's the thing.
Sell out.
Here's the story.
Sell out, dude. They hate it, dude. Fuck you, dude.
Well, no, here's the story. Here's the story.
I root for the Jets and the Giants.
Well, no, here's the story behind that, man. I can't be a White Sox fan anymore, dude. It's what they've done to that fucking team. It's a fucking disaster.
Well, and they represent the rich people, the North Side. Like,
well,
the Cubbies
that's
are
why.
South Side,
That's
man.
why.
Like,
well, the Cubs are a fun team.
you seem like a South Side guy.
Well, yeah, I'm a blue guy, and my friends are all from the South Side.
Right.
So I like the White Sox.
You can't cheer for the fucking White Sox, dude.
Well, I can't anymore. They're fucking. It's awful what they've done to that team. It's fucking horrible. Oh, it's anyways. Well, they don't deserve any fucking airtime.
It's all.
They deserve zero. Jerry Reinsdorf deserves nothing.
I mean, here's the thing, though. They won I almost said Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They won a World Series.
Yeah, they did. Mark Burley.
That's a 4.
Oh,
That's a
we'll
4.
be talking quarterbacks here for a couple picks.
Yeah.
I figured I'd turn it to the quarterback page in my notebook.
So here's my take on Caleb Williams real quick. I'm not high on Caleb Williams. I think he has actually a little too much panic to him. Too quick to flee the pocket. I think he's an incredible athlete, but I've seen this mold 1,000 times, and there's only one Patrick Mahomes.
Bingo.
I don't think we're going to get 2 of them in a span of 5 years.
No,
he's
a bust.
I actually said the exact same thing about Kyler Murray 2, 3, 4 years ago whenever that little fucking midget got drafted. So what's your take on Williams?
His size is definitely going to be something he needs to overcome in the NFL. Exactly. But more than anything, his either or both
little guy.
His either or both inability and or unwillingness to play on script just consistently game after game, play after play is just it really is a massive red flag to me. And then you throw in the personality concerns or question marks with him as far as like, you know, is he going to be a divisive guy in the locker room like a Russell Wilson, or is he going to be a leader that can win and unite guys and be that guy? So just I see way too many red flags with him that offset all the wow stuff with him, like the arm strength and the throw on the run and things like that. To me, they balance each other out. And he's more of a mid to late first round guy where he's at right now with potential physically to be great, but that's not where he's at the moment. And it's too many question marks and red flags for me to go consensus number 1 generational talent. Definitely not. I disagree with that.
All right,
I don't
you
think
go.
Right.
And then we're going to let you go last since you guys are about to
I
draft.
honestly think Caleb Williams will be a bust.
I hope they take all 10.
3 for 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, with his outside issues and question marks and who's in his head, who's in his ear, things like that, like the drama already circulating about Caleb didn't want to go to the Bears at first and all that manufactured drama.
The pink nails are a big red flag for me.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Whatever. Dude, we had Dennis Rodman.
Different.
Dennis Rodman married himself.
Built different.
He married himself.
Dennis Rodman was quite literally built different, dude. Like, that's a different human being.
Nobody cares in Chicago if you win. They don't care.
Yeah.
But we'll roast you if you're a piece of shit loser.
And here's the other thing.
Here's
the thing.
Like,
Dennis Rodman did not come out of college a weirdo.
No.
He was down in San Antonio, and he was a normal player, and he was dominant. He didn't get weird until he went to Chicago.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. He was very normal in
San Antonio,
in Detroit at the beginning of his career.
Oh, I forget about Detroit.
Yeah, he was one
He
of
was
the bad
Detroit
boys
first, and then he went to San Antonio, and then he went to Chicago.
Yeah, and then he came back to the league towards the end of his career with Dallas.
No, I think you're right. I think he
with
started
the Bad
to get
Boys
weird
to
in
start
San
out.
Antonio.
Yep.
Yeah, it started in San Antonio, and then
Basically,
that's
their
part
sixth
of
man,
why he was no longer in
He was
San
the first to come
Antonio.
off the bench after Lambeer and Aguirre or Sally or those bigs.
He was awesome. I love Dennis Rodman, and he was different. You can't compare Dennis Rodman to pretty boy Caleb fucking Williams. Caleb Small Taint Williams.
I love this. I love hearing you guys get so worked up about who's going to hang fucking touchdowns on you for the next decade. And that's what this is.
That is a possibility.
No, that's what this is.
I hope he also wears
there's been
number
so many.
6.
There's been so long to try to nitpick. Look at the highlights on this motherfucker. It's ridiculous what he can do.
Thanks for bringing that up.
And so it's like, okay, I get it. I get everything that's being said. It's not like there's no points here.
So make your case for Caleb Tiny Taint Williams.
So you can take the statistics for the last 2 years, 3 years. He has any statistical category you want to pull up. I don't have the shit, but he's maxed out in college football, so he wins there. He did beat out Spencer Rattler, sent him to an early grave. Okay, so there's that.
No, he didn't. He fled. He ran.
Because
he took his tiny taint and he took it to Tinseltown.
He took over Oklahoma.
That's a lot of T's.
He took over Oklahoma. Then he goes to USC. The bottom line is this: we're in a position where we found gold, and there's really no wrong answer here. If the dude busts out, I can't see that happening. Now, I don't think that he's gonna.
I think he'll be a serviceable. I think honestly, here's what I think his best comparison is. Baker Mayfield.
I mean, I see Russell
Totally. No, that's it. That's
Baker
it.
Mayfield
I was thinking
is a
that as
stud,
well.
dude. Baker Mayfield is a stud, and
mean,
I don't
look at
care
this
what
guy's-
anybody says. He went into Philly. Didn't
Baker
he go
Mayfield
into Philly
cannot-
and win?
Yeah,
Baker
he did.
Mayfield has
He went
elite
into
arm
Philly.
strength
He
too.
went into Philly and won.
beat
That's
them in
that's
the
how
playoffs.
he
That's
went
how he
number
scored
one.
that contract.
No, Baker Mayfield has top tier arm strength, just like Caleb Williams does.
Dude, I'm talking more about just like
Williams is better
here's
throwing
what
on the run,
career
though.
is gonna
Williams
look
is
like.
much better throwing
can throw
on
like
the
70
run.
yards on the
here's
run.
the thing, dude. None of that matters to me.
I know
What
he
I'm
can. I
saying
know he
is,
can. I watched
here's
him do
what
it a
his
shit
career
load.
is going to look like. He's going to be an above 500 quarterback who will make the playoffs, but I don't know that he's a Super Bowl quarterback. I don't know
No,
that
he's
he's a
not
real
that top
franchise
tier.
builder.
He's like that third tier. He's hanging out down there with like Shane Falco. You know,
When they rank him
Who?
every 5 years from now, when they do
Remember
the
the
quarterback rankings,
replacements?
5 years from now, he's going to be
Shane
in that
Falco,
Kirk Cousins
replacements.
territory, that 12 to 18th overall quarterback. You know what I mean? So I'm not even talking style right now. I'm talking like just like where he's going to end up. Serviceable starter, respectable starter.
Right.
A stud that certain guys will fucking run through a wall for. Other guys are going to be like, fuck that guy.
He's going to be a game manager.
It is what it is.
I mean, let's put it this way.
I
I
think he's
never
gonna
would have
be a-
seen in the Trevor Lawrence draft, right? Now, I know you pegged you called the fucking the picks busting. That's great. I never would have seen how they all or would not be on the same team except for him. So you never know what the fuck is going to happen with this, right? But
I have
that being
I
said,
have made crazy. I have done that. I've like he won't be in the league in 5 years. I've said that shit.
as a Bears fan, I am very happy with where we're at. Like we're splitting hairs. That's my perspective. Now you got to remember, like we're the epitome of failure at quarterback. So
Well,
it doesn't take
let's
much
ask
to make
this.
me happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What would you have felt about trading the pick and not taking one of the top quarterbacks and keeping Fields?
I would have been fine with that.
I thought that would have been a far better
most
move.
Bears fans I know feel that same way.
I would have been fine with that, but then it's also like I would have been fine
Last
either way.
straw for Fields, though. Like, we gave you the team and everything around you. Now it's time to like take all the doubts away.
If I
you know,
honestly,
like-
if I that was initially where I was at, but then when you started thinking about the contracts, the figures, and what if he doesn't? What if you don't take Caleb Williams and then Fields has another average year? Okay, now you're fucking firing your GM, you're firing your coach, you're resetting everything. Like, this is almost a safer play.
You're one of those 31 out of 42.
Right. This is almost a safer play, resetting the clock now. The GM has his quarterback. You can all be on the same page.
All right, the pick is in.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
If
So it's going to be Caleb Williams.
yes, it is. And if you're a highlights
That's the
watcher,
consensus.
What if it's not? Holy fuck! What if
if
it's
you're
not?
a highlights
I would-
watcher,
if
it's easy to love Caleb.
Hold on.
Quick. If it's not Caleb Williams, who is it?
Drake May.
Daniels, Jaden Daniels.
Drake May.
It'll be Daniels, yeah.
Daniels. Okay, you're going Drake May.
Yeah.
I would pick Drake May.
I would pick Drake
If I was
May.
going
That's why I
first
said Drake
overall,
May.
I'd go Drake May.
I personally think he's the guy
Me too.
in the draft.
That's my guy. Yep, Drake May. We haven't gotten there yet, but that's and then my number 2 is JJ McCarthy, and he came up
Yeah.
the board fast at the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
Just based on purely based on, and I'll save it till we get there.
I also think Bo Nix is in the running there as one of the better quarterbacks.
I
in
am
this
one of
draft.
the biggest
Bo
Bo Nix fans, that
I'm
I know.
on the
Like,
Bo
high
Nix
on Bo Nix.
Oh, I love that.
bandwagon,
That's
bro.
great.
Dude, I've been ranting about Bo Nix for
yeah.
months.
I've been on
The
that
only red flag
bandwagon.
on
Bo
Bo
Nix.
Nix, the only red flag for me on Bo Nix is one thing. 6 years in college is a red flag for me.
Yeah,
But-
I
but-
get that.
You can be a stud with a red flag. Like
Yeah.
it happens all the time. Because that red flag can go yellow and then turn green real fast.
But
Right.
if you're ready to come in day one and be a 2-contract, 10-year guy, at his prime, just the whole time, ready to run at the quarterback position.
We're not looking at 10 years anymore.
That's great.
We're looking at 15 and 20 now.
Yeah,
well, sure. I'm just trying to be modest, and I'm just trying to be modest.
Here we go. Pick is in.
Okay.
Darnell Mooney.
There it is.
I should have said Marvin Harrison just to keep his name in the conversation.
They trade him for a
number one
third-round
overall
pick to another team.
There he is.
Since I
the way he was acting
Harrison
before the draft, he already signed the contract. That shit was done days ago.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell it in his body language.
That was like when Reggie Bush, the year he got drafted, like it was.
You know who he kind of reminds me of, like in his like aura? He's got like an OBJ vibe, meaning like this dude's gonna make a lot of money, super successful, and he's gonna be a legit celebrity for a while, and he's not even gonna be the best at his position.
Right.
Like OBJ's great, but he's not. He's
a highlight machine.
Right,
and that's
he's
what Caleb is.
Gonna
It's
be able to
perfect.
use
That's
the
what
name,
Caleb
the name
is.
image licensing deal that he came in the end of that is helpful. Like he's already been a pro. He's been a pro for 2 years.
Crossing the positions though for like
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
But
That's helpful.
but like speaking solely from like a career arc standpoint, I agree with the OBJ comparison 100% to the Caleb comparison.
He'll be
it's the exact same.
Bigger celebrity than
Caleb
he is.
Williams is going to use the NFL to further his status.
He'll be a bigger celebrity versus better athlete. You know what
Correct.
I mean?
He'll be in all sorts of ads. Like he'll be the next Fabio in a sense.
He'll probably end up being a game show host at the end of his career.
Kind of like Baker. Kind of like Baker, but bigger.
Yeah. The difference is Baker's fucking cool. This guy's kind of cringe. Oh my God, did you guys see the fucking pre-draft fashion show with Cam Newton? Cam Newton has always been cringe. I've always hated Cam Newton. But dude, watching and listening to him try to interview guys on a red carpet and ask grown men about their fashion and football at the same time. Like NFL Network, I know you're not listening, but if somebody is, delete that. Like, don't do that again next. I'm pulling to Lars Ulrich's dad right now. Like, delete that. Don't do that again. Fire Cam Newton. He's super cringe. Do something different next year. That was horrible. Don't ever do that again. Cam Newton is one of the most unlikable people. And he's got everything that you should like. He's good looking. He's charismatic.
Correct.
He's huge.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking superhero. But dude, that interview he did with somebody about fucking Kirk Cousins' contract, and he goes, "How is that supposed to make me feel?" Who cares? It's not about you, Cam. You're not even in the league anymore, and you were overpaid your entire fucking career. And then here's the thing. Here's the thing. Guess what? Fumble in the Super Bowl. Go fuck yourself, Cam. You blow
everything you just said about him is why he's a complete douchebag. Is because he's been that.
He admitted to being a selfish player.
He's been that biggest, strongest, most successful. Everything's handed to you or comes easily to you, one or the other, his entire life.
Yep.
Okay, and so that's why in between the ears, he just, digressed. He's just digressed every day of his life. He's digressed from a matureness and an intellectual standpoint because of his environmental experiences that he's always
Anybody
gone
else
through,
notice how his career went down after that Super Bowl presser where he admitted that he didn't jump on that football because he didn't want to get injured? Do you notice how anybody didn't want to protect him anymore, and all of a sudden his career went down? When you out yourself as a selfish player, players take notice of that.
Fuck that guy, man.
He just recently got into a fight at like one of his camps.
And I love I got such a kick out
with the parent.
I got such a kick out of how his camp tried to spin the story.
I bet he lost
compared to what the reality of the story was.
Right.
Like it was a hilarious situation
with a parent who was overweight plumber, and he probably lost the fight.
He got into a fight with a parent who was one of the coaches at the camp.
And he was probably a 38-year-old overweight plumber named Paul, and he beat the fuck out of him. Cam Newton's a bitch.
Yeah, Cam Newton's unnecessary. He's very unnecessary.
But I think
remember when a female reporter asked him a question, he's like, "Oh, that's That's just like a woman to ask a question like that.
but I think that
Cam Newton says this. It's like, dude, you're such a fucking chucklehead.
I do think that like from
I mean, come on,
he was
man.
right about that one, but it was an ass move. It was an ass move, dude.
You know, don't vomit shit like that, man. You idiot.
I do think though that like from a personality
How's that supposed to
standpoint,
make me feel
Right.
I think from a personality
Like the
standpoint,
shithead
though,
you are, you fuck.
you know, if you want to look for like a personality or intangibles comparison for Caleb, it's Cam Newton.
Yeah,
He's
personality
flamboyant.
wise.
He's got the diversive personality. You know, he's got the kind of me
you're going
first, team
quarterback
second
comparison, you're saying?
persona.
Yeah, but Cam
on
Newton
his
had
side.
no quarterback
We're not talking talent. We're
No,
we're talking
just
personality.
quarterback personality
Yes,
comparison.
yes, that's it.
Okay,
Yes, just
so
that
Don't
that
talk-
one
guys,
element.
Guys, don't talk over each other.
We're
one at a
clear.
time.
We're clear.
Just that one element.
I'm the only one on Caleb Williams Island.
Yeah. Well, you're the only one on Bears Island. That's the point.
Right. So
I want to throw something
And
at you guys with
that's-
Washington.
That's
With-
super entertaining.
Did you guys hear
look at
what?
him. Look at him with the
Did
natives.
you guys
He's a
hear?
star. No,
Yeah.
he's a star.
And
Like,
he's already assimilating with the natives. That's good.
Did you guys?
Good. That's what we want.
Did you guys hear about what Washington did with their quarterbacks, bringing all the top guys in together?
Yeah, that was
and
good.
having that meeting in just one meeting at the same time
yeah,
or
it was
whatever.
Like, he brought them all to top.
What?
and then he
Yeah,
was like, make
yep,
out.
yeah. What are your
He's
thoughts
like, I
on
want to
that?
see how you guys make out.
Do you
right
like
now.
that? Do you
Well,
dislike that? Or you
I kind
neutral
of don't
on
like it if you're going to pick him because he can't golf.
Daniels reportedly
but
didn't
here's- I
like
can
it
tell you
and
what
then
it was.
disputed those reports.
I can tell you
but-
what it was. I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was super, to me, it was super obvious. And like, to me, if I were one of those quarterbacks, it'd be like, for the opposite reasons being talked about. Okay. So everyone was like, this is super weird. Why would you bring all four people in? It's super obvious why you bring all four people in. And it's because it's super obvious makes it, to me, super transparent and super cringe. And like, dude, you guys are fucking like playing checkers, dude. They wanted to see who's the alpha when you put four alphas in the room. So out of these four guys, who's the one who's going to shine and who's going to be the one who cowers away? And you know why they fucking did this?
Because they
It's
can't
because
tell
they did
based
this-
off of their film because they're too damn stupid in their scouting
No,
departments.
it's because they did it with Baker Mayfield in that draft. They got all the quarterbacks in one room, and everybody was kind of like, cool. And then Baker Mayfield shows up. The guy's a fucking rock star, and everybody else like went into a shadow. And Baker took the room over. Just walked in, boisterous, started shaking hands with everybody. What's up, guys? Fucking started giving shit
we
to
go.
a couple buddies
Here's
that he
the
knew.
pick.
Like,
Baker's balls are second only to Gardner
all right,
Minshew's,
should be-
probably.
Should be Daniels,
Should
right?
be Daniels.
Do we all
agreed.
agree it's going to be
We all
Daniels?
agree
It's gonna be
Daniels.
Daniels.
And we already talked about Daniels. Do we all think he's ass or just me?
No, I love him. He's my
So I'm the
QB1,
only
and
one
I
that thinks
love
he's
him.
ass. Yep.
I
I think
put
he's ass.
I think he's 5.
I'd put him
There
two
it
with
is, okay,
last. I'd
okay.
put him 2 in last year's class, behind
Okay,
Stroud
so,
at 1,
all
but
right,
above
pause,
Richardson
pause,
at 3.
Because now the draft is officially started.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
so
Yep.
Does
the first
anybody
real.
come up and get 3? This is what we're talking about. And if
No.
not, who does New England draft? Because
Drake May.
I
It's
think they
May or
should draft
it's May
Drake
or
May.
McCarthy, and I feel McCarthy.
I feel McCarthy, but it
Interesting.
should be May.
I feel May.
That's me. That's me. It should be May. I feel McCarthy.
I feel they're
May,
not gonna
May.
surprise the world.
I think May, unless the Vikes come and just offer a fucking haul right now.
They could go Harrison Jr. though, because they might think much higher of Jacoby Brissett and Bailey Zappi and the other
That's a legit
person
take.
in their
Let me take this.
room. Yeah.
That's a legit take, and I'll tell you why it's a legit take. It's your idea, but I'm going to tell you why you're right on this one. And it's because they know this guy. As simple as that. They drafted him. He filled in for Tom Brady and fucking Garoppolo. I remember when Tom Brady served that 4-game suspension. Garoppolo brought him to 2-0. Then they got injured, and fucking Jacoby Brissett won him another 2 games. They were 4-0, if I remember right, by the time Brady came back. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's what it ended up being. So they already know this guy. And then what we saw in Cleveland, I remember texting you and fucking Anwar, and I was like, dude, Jacoby Brissett can fucking play, bro.
There is-
Like, this guy is a gamer. Like, he's legit. You get him on the right team, because I don't care how much I love Stefanski. Cleveland is a diseased organization, and it always will be, just like Detroit is. David Morris. David Morris, you should have been here to defend yourself. Fuck you.
It only took one season for those Lions fans to just get real big heads.
Well, they did see it coming and they were right, so I got to give David Morris some credit.
I don't know. I love David. I love David Morris. David Morris, if you're listening, I wish you were here.
I wish you were here too.
You know?
And all my trolling is 100% in fun and in jest. Even when I get really mean about it, it's still in fun and in jest. I'm just really good at shit talking, which is why I always tell you guys not to do it. Don't talk shit to me. I'm really good at it. I get really mean. So let's fucking not do that.
Lions get all the credit in the world, though. I mean,
this year,
Brad Holmes is a
But what did I say? So what did I say
manager.
about the Lions, though? I said you ain't shit until you are shit, right? Like you're
That's some Ric Flair shit. I love it.
But you're a diseased organization until you're not.
Right.
Like there is no, we changed it. No, because you haven't done anything yet.
Right.
And they still technically haven't done anything yet, just like the Vikings have never done anything. Because I don't care how many division fucking victories you have or division titles you have, they're worthless in the big scheme of things. Like only loser ass teams care about how many division banners they have hung in their fucking stadium.
Correct.
That's some Timberwolves level shit. That's some fucking Viking shit. Look at all the division championships we've won. What?
I mean, to put it into context,
Fucking loser ass mentality.
Packers fans would never fucking
They have
concern
them up
themselves
They
with
have
such
them up
petty
there.
shit.
They have them up there, but they don't care. They go.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
World
That's exactly what I'm saying.
championships. That's what they brag about. 13.
Exactly.
that's why they call us
Exactly.
Title Town.
Fuck you. Shut up.
Damn
I'm just
right.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
But we're all
I'm not even a real Viking.
we're
fan
all
anymore.
of what I
It's all good, bro.
we're all of the same.
I'm not. I just
what I
pretend
believe to be
It's fun.
accurate understanding that this is where the draft really starts as far as the unknown, the
Yeah,
X
yeah.
factors, the wild cards. Yes, it'd be easy for the Patriots who perceivably have a need, one way or another at the quarterback position to go with QB3, either May or McCarthy.
So-
but it's also very likely for them to see trading out of the pick for someone else to do that, or to take actual best player available, which would likely be Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, but maybe somebody else, maybe Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, maybe Dallas Turner out of Alabama. But this is the first place where literally anything at least has a chance of happening, as opposed to
I
being
will say
foregone
this.
conclusions.
I will say this: the Patriots, when Bill Belichick left, they didn't quit doing things the way
Here it is. The Vikings. Ian Rappaport says the Vikings trying to make one last push.
If
So-
Belichick
to
was
get to
still
3.
here, I wouldn't
So-
think they'd trade at all.
So
could you
No,
QB
the
at all?
pick is
So
in.
my
The
point
pick is in.
My point is that they're going to draft best player available. They will not draft for need.
Yep, agreed.
The Patriots will not do that.
Then it's
because
Harrison Jr.
It doesn't if they have the same big board you have. But my point is it doesn't
They do.
matter. It doesn't matter who the head coach is.
Right. I know it. I know they do. This is Drake May. That's my prediction right now.
And I'm telling you, I know for a fact that they're going to draft who they have as their third overall best player, not their number one quarterback or their number one wide
Correct.
receiver. They're going to go on a because that's when Bill Belichick went there. He developed the Patriot way. It wasn't Bill Belichick's way. They developed a way that this is how the fucking franchise from scouting. Like this is how we fill out a form
Right.
to like. Dude, it's a military, and they will do it because they almost did it before he got there as the head coach. Because the point is the way they built the Patriot way was actually from Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick the first time in the mid-'90s.
Correct.
And then Pete
Yep.
Carroll went 8-8 like 3 years in a row and fucking lost his job and ended up in fucking USC a few years. But none of that's my point. My point is they were fucking an excellent team the entire time. They went to the Super Bowl and lost to Brett Favre in 1990.
So who you got?
Six.
Who you got?
I said I would do Drake May.
Okay.
I don't know what their
who do you
big
think?
board is.
I'm going to change my pick slightly, go with your thinking, and go Harrison Jr. Sorry, go ahead.
Drake May.
May.
There you
This
go.
is a
There you
mistake
go. There you
on
go.
New England's part right now.
So
New
this-
England is not going to be competitive anytime in the next 3 to 4
They're
seasons.
punting on this year. They're going to sit him behind Brissett, make sure he's got the footwork, and they'll be at the top of the order next year to surround him for year 2.
I believe this massively affects the
That's what I see.
Vikings. I believe this massively affects the
think you're right.
Vikings.
That's what I see.
It does.
They'll
Because-
nurture him. They have the quarterback. They'll make sure he's good.
Dude, McCarthy could just fall to the Vikings at 11 now, though. You don't have to
exactly.
move up for McCarthy.
That's what I was getting to. I believe this drastically affects the Vikings because I believe.
Oh, is that what you were going to say?
I believe.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to work to it.
call.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you did because
I stretched your balls out and I slapped both.
I
testicles.
enjoy it, so it's okay. I believe that the Vikings undoubtedly had their top 3 quarterbacks as Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake Maybe not in that order, but those are their top 3.
Throw them
okay?
whatever.
Those are their top 3, and then there is a line. There is a perceived drop-off or cost, more importantly, a perceived cost differential.
I would even go so far as to say they didn't even mess with Williams or Daniels because they didn't think they could trade for them.
Everything they could to look into trading with the Patriots to get that pick 3 for May, their guy. But the Patriots' price proved to be too high, and they felt that relative to the drop-off and what they would get other than that it made more sense to go with the drop-off and let the draft continue to play out as opposed to paying to trade up. To me, that definitely
get this guy
locks in the next pick. Cardinals are staying pat and taking either Neighbors or Harrison Jr., whoever they think's the better wide receiver. And then I think the Chargers are going to try to sell to the Vikings. Say, hey, don't let the Broncos, leapfrog you. You want to trade up for our pick because we can still get maybe a Dunze or definitely Thomas Jr.
Get there. Slow down. We don't have to predict that far up. But I like what you're thinking though because if they don't trade, I think the Cardinals and the Chargers both go wide receiver, and so we 100%, see Neighbors,
100%.
We see Neighbors and Harrison go back to back. Don't know which order. A lot of people say it's actually Neighbors.
I've heard that a lot. And
I've seen it a lot.
Neighbors
I disagree, but I've seen it a lot.
But what I was saying about
a lot of people say this is what I actually. I think Neighbors is better now. Like right now, like Neighbors will probably have the better rookie year, unless he goes to Arizona because I think that low of Kyler Murray. But
I'd love to elaborate on that super quick. I think if you compare Neighbors' film to Harrison's film with Daniels throwing to Neighbors as opposed to who Harrison had thrown to him this past season at Ohio State, then I can totally see where you arrive at Neighbors at number 1. But if you compare Neighbors with Daniels' film to Harrison Jr.'s film with Stroud, I don't see how you can arrive at any other conclusion other than Harrison. And being in the NFL, Harrison's quarterback is going to be closer to Stroud's level than it was to his college quarterback this year, who's probably not even going to ever sniff it down in the NFL.
That's a big maybe. Bud.
And I still think his film this year was fantastic too. Like he didn't go Olu Fashanu on the bit and just completely shit the bed.
Was his film bad?
Olu Fashanu's film was horrible.
Really?
You do not want him at 9 or at anywhere.
Or anywhere else, really?
Yes.
No kidding.
Dude. In a year, he's going to be playing right tackle as long as there's an opening there.
Really?
And in 2 years, he's going to be moved to guard.
Really?
He is basically this year's equivalent of Cody Ford.
Really?
Yes, really.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, really.
What about that kid from Oregon State?
Fuaga is fantastic, but he's pretty exclusively a right tackle.
Sure.
Don't know if he can play left tackle, but his main comp for me is Tristan Wirfs, who did demonstrate the ability here now to go to left tackle.
Here we go. This is Harrison, right?
But if you want a left tackle with 9,
so
which you should, you want all 2 ain't going to be available, or Fautanu from Washington. You want the Washington kid.
Official predictions. Who you got, Greg?
Harrison.
You go first.
I'm going Harrison on this one.
Harrison?
I think Harrison too.
Unanimous Harrison.
Which means it's not.
He is my number 1 overall player in the draft.
We are NFL Sunday whenever they win unanimous.
He's my number 1 overall.
He's so good he didn't have to work out at all.
Well, this is our first
he's
time
my number
on this,
1
so
and
let's
Turner's
find
my
out.
number 2, and then Daniels came
I worry
in at
about
3.
the pedigree thing. Like we automatically assume now that great football players give birth to great football players.
You watch him though at Ohio State.
I agree with that.
Did you watch him though? Did you watch him?
And then I did that.
Bit.
He's so good, dude.
Yep, a little bit.
That's how I feel.
I watched him all last year. He is so good.
But we tend to
Jerry
forget
Rice's
that
kid ain't that much different. I'm telling you.
We forget that great college football players don't always make great pro football players.
His body is like
That's
Calvin
all I'm
Johnson.
saying,
He's like a Calvin Johnson
and
receiver.
we go, but the pedigree.
I mean, he really
They
is.
grow up in the lifestyle. They grow up learning.
That is true.
I mean, when you're immersed 24/7 because your dad is one of the hottest things in the NFL.
Stop it some more.
Right. Yeah, why'd you make it gay, bro? Why'd you make it gay?
That Marvin Harrison
that is Marvin Harrison.
Come on now.
Damn.
You seen that dude's mustache
One of the
back in the
hottest
day?
things in the NFL.
Here we go.
Denzel Mims. There it is.
Yep, there it is.
All right, so
it is.
we're 4 for 4 right now.
That's right.
All of us are 4 for 4 on our prediction mock. I didn't write anything
Technically,
down.
I missed the last one.
Oh, you did. That's right. So 3 of us are perfect. Scotty should be banished.
Is 3 of 4? No, I went with your logic. I went with your. I went with your
It's a zero
Patriots.
tolerance policy.
I went with your Patriots.
You're lucky we don't have a backup Vikings fan in the green room over here. We'd fucking.
Okay, so this is
All right, you're out on the next one.
I will. That was my one stray from my board. I will stick to
You
my
actually
board
had
from
Marvin
now on.
Harrison.
Yeah, I will
Marvin
stick to
Harrison
my
there.
board from now on.
But you got on the. I got in your head, but the thing
Yep.
is like all I said is only if they have the same big board. that
Right.
we do.
And
You
I
actually said they do.
which was as sarcastically as humanly possible, as in no 2 individuals have the same board. Nobody in the Patriots freaking scouting department has the same board
Exactly.
as anyone else in that same scouting department. So yeah,
Kyler Murray's real happy right now.
you're damn right.
You
he
know what I'm
is.
saying?
And actually, with a
Bails
lot of
his ass out big time.
in my opinion, with a lot of the Cardinals' offseason moves, while they have a terrible record, they don't have as many needs as one would normally perceive with a team picking that high up.
I'll
with
take
a bad
Kyler
record
Murray
in the
late round
draft.
fantasy
Like,
drafts
they-
as a fucking steal this year.
I will say
right
this. I want to say this. I do
That's
think
an 8, 9, 10 round draft pick and a quarterback.
I do think long term. So when we're talking 10 to 12 years from now, when you're talking about studs from this draft, I think the 2 quarterbacks we're going to be talking about are Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. I do believe.
You really like J.J. McCarthy?
I think it's going to be
here's
Daniels
why.
and
Really?
Knicks are my
Here's
2.
why.
Daniels and Knicks are my
So
2.
I'm going to make my case about J.J. McCarthy here in a little bit, but
Okay.
I'll tell you why I got to it. And I got to it because as apprehensive as I was about J.J. McCarthy, it was hearing everybody who's been around him talk about him and talk about his mental make. And I'm like, all right, I'm sold. Like, that's everything you're looking for in the guy mentally. The reason I was apprehensive about him was because Jim Harbaugh is such a phenomenal quarterback of coaches, like Andrew Luck, right? Into the resurrection of Alex Smith.
Kaepernick.
Overachieving.
First,
Found him, drafted him.
First, before we get to Kaepernick, the resurrection of Alex Smith, who had a dead and loser-ass career, okay? Built him up into a legit starter, traded him to Kansas City.
Harbaugh's a genius.
Drafted,
I love him.
and groomed Kaepernick, who looked pretty good.
Total
right?
wacko.
I knew
why I love
Kaepernick
him.
was a bust. I knew Kaepernick was a bust, but Kaepernick didn't become a bust until Harbaugh left.
Right, because Harbaugh knew how to get the best out of.
So
he sees
Kaepernick.
things.
in conclusion, Harbaugh is a variable that I have not learned how to quantify when gauging quarterbacks that he's fucking coaching, right?
Well, well, that just speaks to how important situation is to whether or not players boom or bust or somewhere in between. Like, it's not 100% on the players and how they pan out.
No, it's not.
You know, situation, whether it be coaches or supporting cast or whatever, always plays a factor.
Like,
you can't quantify that or predict that.
Pittsburgh said they already came out and said they're not picking up Fields' 5th-year option, right? So whatever that means, they'll keep him. They'll keep him at a reduced rate.
Yeah, but they're not paying him.
They're not paying him $25
What
million.
is the 5th-year option?
If you're drafted in the first round, a team has the option to pick up your 5th year.
No, I know what that is.
So it'll be
but, like,
25
what is
mil,
that
like
number?
25 mil for him.
The number is like it's
an
not
average of the
franchise
top
tag.
10,
It's not
right?
franchise tag, but it's one level down. Like franchise is top 5.
I think
5th-year option is like top 10.
top 10, right?
Yep.
And guaranteed fully, obviously, whatever. Once you
In
commit,
case anybody's watching that has no idea what I just asked, basically, if the club picks up your 5th-year option, you don't have a choice. You have to play for him for one more year, but they have to pay you. They take the top 10 paid players at your position. They average all those salaries together, and that's the number you get for that 1 year. And it buys the team one more year to re-sign you, but it guarantees you 1 year of a badass salary. It's that simple.
Exactly. It's the rookie equivalent of
And
a
then
franchise tag.
is
It's the rookie
the top
equivalent of a
5
franchise tag.
salaries.
Correct.
But you can only do that 5th-year option to players who you selected in round 1.
And you can
None
only
of
do
the
it.
other rounds
There is no
do that.
6th-year
Yeah,
option.
right.
And in the later rounds, there's not a 4th-year
Which is why
option
teams
or-
trade back
Right.
into the first to draft a quarterback so they could grab the 5th-year option. So he's not on the market.
if they
Vikings
want to.
did
Yep.
that.
Right.
The
If they want to.
Vikings did that with Teddy Bridgewater. They traded back
Yep.
up into the first to grab him at 31,
Yep.
I believe, or
Yeah.
32. No, it was 31. I
Same with
think.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yes.
all
yes.
that, all that
Because
shit.
if he does work out, we want to grab that 5th-year option.
Otherwise, at the
Right.
4th year, you got to go $50 million for 5 years after year 4.
That's the whole point, and that's why the Patriots selecting Drake May right now is almost a waste for them because they're going to burn 3 of those 5 years of his salary window rebuilding a team around him. That's 3 years wasted. Now you get into year 4.
There's that.
You grab the 5th-year option.
And you're not only saying what you're saying, but the first year's a red shirt, so he's not even going to see the field.
He'll
Right.
sit this year.
Yep.
And that makes sense. Put him behind
Brissett.
Brissett, and let him sit for a year. Let him learn the speed of the game. Bring him in at garbage time.
If
because
his
you're probably gonna have a
development
lot
is
of that.
sped up, you can fly him in halfway through the year. Whatever.
Get him some
But
field
why would
time.
you do that? Because you got to think about the new template, right?
Right.
And I'm not talking about fucking Love in Green Bay. God damn it.
Less than
Right?
2
Like,
minutes for the Vikings
people
to
act
trade
like-
to the
people act
Chargers
like
for
you guys-
number 5.
People
Yep.
act like you guys invented this.
And I hope they don't.
Culpepper sat for a fucking year, dude. Like
I know.
Like this has been happening for a long.
Well, I didn't
fucking
realize
time.
this that did the Packers draft fucking Brian Brom in the 2nd round when they had Rodgers? Someone said
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain, yes.
They drafted
Yeah.
Brom early when they had Rodgers.
Wasn't Matt Flynn 4th round?
Like, that's
Yeah.
wild to me. I forgot all
Because-
about that.
So
They must have
Anwar-
really not liked him, man.
no,
like, they had a
Anwar-
personality clash or something. They
No.
must have really not liked that
That's
motherfucker.
the
No,
only
what it
real
was-
explanation
No, no,
because
no,
the
no,
productivity
no, no,
was
no.
there from day
Yeah,
one.
they must have really not liked him.
Anwar
I can't see why.
and I did a deep dive on this a long time ago. Anwar and
Real
I
mystery.
Greg, Anwar and I did a deep dive on this on a podcast a long time ago. We looked it up and went through it on the podcast year by year. The Packers put a high priority on drafting a quarterback a minimum of once every 3 years.
Really?
And it doesn't matter if it's Brett fucking
The
Favre
Packer
or
way.
fucking
It's
Rodgers.
the Packer
correct.
way.
Like they bring in quarterbacks.
It was a numbers game.
They build
It's the
a
Packer
system.
way, like the
They build
Patriots
a
way. It's the
system.
Packer way.
because
And
they
that's how
bust
they have
out six,
fucking-
because they bust out 60% of the time. It's smart.
And here's
Yes.
the point, dude.
That's
and here's
smart.
the point. That's how they have fucking Ty Detmer, Kurt fucking Warner, and who was the other backup behind Brett Favre, all in the same calendar year. Only 2 of them made the roster.
It's
but
how they-
had 4 fucking quarterbacks, dude.
That's how
yeah.
you
They all
go.
were names that played in the fucking league, dude. They
Right.
built a system, dude.
That's
There's
how
a
you
reason for
go.
it.
That's
There's
how you
a
go
reason for
from
it.
one quarterback for 10 to 15 years to
Austin
another
Eckler's on the
quarterback for 10 to
Commanders.
15 years
And
to
maybe-
another quarter,
and maybe
maybe
another third
and maybe another one for 10 to 15 years. That's the formula. That's the format. Is you've always got, an option there,
Right. And putting priority
Looks like
on
the Vikings-
positions is good because what happens if you're
Who do we have
your
at 5?
stud-
I
The
think
Chargers.
I think they're going to go.
Neighbors.
I think they're
Neighbors.
going neighbors.
neighbors.
Unless we trade up to 5.
They didn't. Picks
Right.
in.
The pick is in.
Picks
Did
in.
it say it?
Yeah, think
Picks
about it
in.
this way: your stud quarterback, career-ending injury. You just picked up potential next stud quarterback who's been waiting in the wings a year, and all of a sudden he's thrusted in. We've got that guy.
With this pick, and you brought up Bowers earlier, this is Bowers' first opportunity to get taken.
Right here.
It really is right here.
I don't see it.
That
I
said,
don't see it.
that said,
I'm going Neighbors.
That
Neighbors.
said, Neighbors is the most likely
all have
top name
Neighbors?
on the board.
I have
Yes.
We all
Neighbors.
guessing neighbors.
The
Dude, if we get
outside
this, we're 5 for 5.
the outside
Because I'm going to
shocks.
pass on the one because I
The
got
out-
it in your head.
The outside shocks would be if they went with a tackle to pair with Slater or replace Slater, given his injury history 2 years ago and slight
he looks
digression
like shit.
last year. So that would be alt. That would be alt
He looks
if
like
they
he's on
did that
pain pills.
because they can plug him and
The
play him
glossy
at
eyes.
right tackle with
he's
Slater and then move him to
He had
left tackle.
surgery.
Oh, he
And they
did?
want to protect Herbert. So
He probably is
alt
then.
is a
Yeah.
very outside chance, but possible as well as Turner.
I bet you he takes 4
But
or
it
5
should be
kids.
Neighbors.
Alt.
They went with
Whoa.
my plan.
That makes sense, though. You
It's
want
a good
to
move.
protect.
Yeah, he's a
you want to
beast.
protect
Yeah.
your franchise quarterback.
I
Yes.
just explained it. So
no
they
one was
took
listening, Scotty.
They took Rashawn Slater 3 years ago in the same draft class that the Vikings took
It's
Christian
not like you have a
Darrisaw.
microphone in front of your
And they
face
took
we're
Slater
recording
before
it.
Darrisaw.
Right.
Okay, Slater went first.
Yeah, I
All
remember
right?
this, yep.
Slater had a fantastic rookie year.
Northwestern
pretty
product.
much, yes, exactly.
Yep.
Pretty much aced his rookie year. Second year, didn't get to play much because he had injury issue, but when he played, he was still great.
Yep.
Same as his first year.
Harbaugh loves to run the ball.
Last year, stayed injury free, but his production level was dropped off from the previous 2 years.
Okay.
But he is pretty much exclusively a left tackle. Their right tackle, always been a weakness the last 2-3 years. So what taking Joe Alt does is because he is scheme flexible,
Local boy, Delwood,
position
Minnesota.
flexible, damn right.
Pause.
Local one of
boy,
us.
Local boy,
Wow.
Delwood, Minnesota.
No kidding.
Where did he go to school? What was his high school? It was
No kidding. He's from up here.
Probably like Edina or something.
No, it was not De La Salle. It was the other fucking Totino Grace, maybe.
Yeah, Tino
something
Grace?
like that.
Totino Grace. It's
Something
one of
like
the
that.
private schools.
100%
and
one of
played
us.
for the U. Played
Yep,
for the U.
100%
University
one of
of
us.
Minnesota boy.
Really?
University of Minnesota boy goes in
That's
top
where he
5.
started.
That's
He
PJ Fleck.
he
That's
he
PJ
finished
Fleck.
he finished his college career at Notre Dame.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But
Still a Gopher.
he is as
Still a Gopher!
He is as scheme flexible
counts.
as a tackle can be. And
He lived here
and
for
he
8
can
games.
definitely play left
It
or
counts.
right side. Played left at Notre Dame.
Yep.
So what the Chargers can do, they invested again and doubled down in Justin Herbert as well as their first round pick from last year, Quentin Johnston, wide receiver, and Josh Palmer from about round 3, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
2 years ago.
Palmer's a stud too.
So they can plug Joe Alton immediately as their starting right tackle and give Slater his final 4th year on his rookie deal to either return to that rookie year form or prove that no, what they got last year is the real him now, at which point they just slide Alt over to their starting stud left tackle, and then, well, we got to get a right tackle some point in time, but, no big deal.
Right.
But Slater is very exclusive, both a left tackle and a zone scheme tackle. He's very exclusive to both of those things. Needs both of those things to be successful, whereas Joe Alt can literally be put on the left or the right and in a zone scheme or in a power gap
So
scheme.
that's
None
Harbaugh
of
identifying
matters.
that right away.
Yep.
We're gonna
And-
run-
and
Good.
investing in Herbert.
Yep, investing in Herbert.
All right.
Here we go.
So there's
that's
no
a great
way they
pick.
go quarterback.
This is neighbors. This
and,
has to be
and
neighbors.
knowing that this is a very deeply talented wide receiver class,
Right.
and we can get wide receiver help in rounds 2 and 3
no
and
way
4.
they go
Right.
quarterback.
Whereas we can't. Tackles got great talent at the top in
you
this draft class. Same with the interior offensive line, but horrible depth.
Right.
Like once you drop off from those round 1, round 2 guys, it's a massive
Okay,
drop off.
Scotty, Jesus
Yep.
Christ.
Sorry.
Shorter
Sorry.
points. Shorter
Sorry.
points,
Sorry.
buddy. Shorter points, buddy.
Sorry, I just had to finish
Jesus
that thought.
Christ. I love the energy. Keep it up.
I'm trying.
Dude, there's so many times I've done podcasts with Scotty where he's clearly exhausted because he was up the night playing a fucking gig until 4 a.m. And then I get his ass here at noon the next day to do a fucking and he's just like trying his hardest. And I'm like, Scotty, you got to pick it up, dude. It's like you look and sound like you're about to fall asleep. He's like, I'm trying.
This is my offensive tackles fucking grading page.
I finally get
This
high
is me
energy,
watching
Scotty.
27 tackles on film and grading them on like 11 different fucking attributes.
Don't
like
brag.
I'm
Don't
like
brag.
So where's
That's
the
preparation.
drop-off?
That's
this is
fucking great,
this
man.
is
Holy shit.
No, this is just what I do for personal
Yeah.
therapy
No.
from like in March and April.
All right.
Like I sit down on my phone and I watch fucking game film on YouTube of all these guys in the NFL draft by myself with my little fucking notebook, and it's therapeutic. And I
So
love
where's the drop off with with offensive line?
for me, the first drop off with the offensive line, especially when it comes to tackles, is after about the third guy taken. I love Alt, who just got taken. I love Fautanu out of Michigan,
Yep.
who's a left tackle, and primarily zone
here
scheme.
comes-
But I
what's the
love
pick? What's the
Fuaga
prediction?
out of Oregon State
Yep.
too. I love Fuaga out of Oregon
say
State
they go
too. Those
neighbors.
three
Neighbors.
100%. They're ecstatic with the Chargers taking a tackle.
He just slipped to him.
because the
Because
Giants
they were
wanted
going to take a
Harrison or
tackle,
Neighbors.
so
Who's
I
your
think they're
prediction?
going to go neighbors.
They got it, right?
Neighbors. Gotta be
You
Neighbors.
have to.
You lose Barkley.
Unless they
You
like
gotta,
Odunze.
Yeah,
You
you
lose-
don't whiff on
you
neighbors.
lose Barkley. You have to bring in a weapon.
Yeah, there it is.
Booyah.
For
Yeah, you
for
don't whiff on
Daniels,
neighbors.
or for Jones, right? For
Right.
Daniel Jones.
You got to get that guy a weapon.
I just fell right in their lap.
It did.
Yeah.
They wanted Harrison or Neighbors. I felt the whole time. Like
Daniel
those are
Jones
their two
is
guys.
ecstatic.
Yep.
Kyler Murray was the happiest guy in the league for about 20 minutes.
And if they bail on that
Now
investment,
Daniel Jones is.
if they bail on that investment, now Daniel Jones doesn't have the excuses. It's his fault, not the
Yep.
Giants' fault.
Dude, how interesting is it to be? I got to go back a pick.
McCarthy at 11 to the
How-
Vikes is playing out fantastic right now.
I got to go back 2 picks. How interesting is it to be an Arizona Cardinal fan if you were born about 20 years ago? You grew up with Larry Fitzgerald, and now you get Marvin Harrison Jr. That's for us. Our that's Chris Carter into Randy Moss.
That's
or Randy
far
Moss
into Rodgers
or
for
Randy
us.
Moss into Justin Jefferson. Like Vikings fans have been blessed with wide receivers, and I mean
100.
blessed with wide
I
receivers.
guarantee you, right
guys have been
now,
pretty fortunate, but it's not
Yeah.
like the Vikings. Dude.
No,
We have like fucking Hall of Famers back to back to
Oh,
back.
yeah, like-
dude, it's crazy.
What your receivers are is what our quarterback situation is.
Yeah, which is a
that's
better
the best
situation to be in.
comparison.
I guarantee you guys right now, with Alt off the board, the Titans are on the phone with the Vikings trying to talk them into trading up to 7 for McCarthy
Because
instead of
Titans
staying
wanted
pat at
Alt,
7.
right?
Titans wanted
Yeah.
Alt. Like, Titans were locked into Alt. Like, that's their guy. Like,
Unless they go McCarthy, if they're not sold on Will Levis anymore.
no chance. No chance. He showed enough.
No chance?
No chance.
There's no such thing as a 0%.
Okay, 1% chance. 1%. I'll give you that. 1% chance. Nope.
What if somebody's drunk, Scott?
He that's true. That's true. That's true. I'm not in the Titans war room. I'm not in the Titans war room. So that is true. That is true.
Dude.
But no,
Levis kicks in quick, and somebody might have got real mad when Alt got drafted.
Levis's job
It is Tennessee. It is Tennessee.
Get me J.J. McCarthy.
Levis's job security for the first 8 games plus of this season is about as high as it can get, in my
They
opinion.
like him.
They like him.
I kind
He
of like him a
flashed
little
enough.
bit. He's all right.
He flashed enough times last year where, we invested a 2nd-round pick in a quarterback. We've got to give it a true
guys a
test.
shot.
We've got to give it a true shot.
Got to give him
exactly.
a chance. I mean, whatever. He didn't look like a total
No,
dickhead.
if we're talking about round 3 instead
Will
of
Levis?
round 2,
He didn't look like a total dickhead last year.
but
Who?
Will Levis.
but
He didn't look like a total piece of shit.
But I
so
also
you got to give him a
think-
chance. You know what I'm saying? Give him a fucking chance.
But I also
you can't
think-
just pull the trigger
Hold on,
on
hold
someone.
on,
look
hold
Mac
on,
Jones
hold
like.
on, hold
Yeah,
on.
I mean,
hold
fucking
on,
A.
hold on. What you said,
Yeah.
no one can argue it,
Right.
Because what you said was so extreme.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a total
I mean,
piece
that's
of
when
shit.
you yank. The point being is you got to give these kids a little bit of a leash, dude. You know,
Do you
fucking
own
hey.
Will
100%
Levis?
right,
All
but
right.
I-
But I'm just saying, give him a
Apparently
chance.
he does.
Like in this day and age where everybody's quick fix, after 15 minutes, 2 games, yank the guy, fucking throw him out of the country, put him to Australia like the Brits used to do. It's like,
Yeah.
give him a fucking year, dude.
But
You know,
but I
fucking
also-
hey,
That
man.
escalated quickly.
But I
know what
also
I'm saying?
think I also think that the leagues I think that
Shit.
most
Will Levis doesn't have to go to Australia yet, you know?
I 100% agree with you, but I think that most teams' leash for that is the difference between being a quarterback drafted in round 2 and being a quarterback drafted in
Right.
round 3.
Right,
if you're a
right.
quarterback drafted in round 2,
Right.
that is still considered a big enough of an investment at that position where you will get that leash and
Right.
will get that true shot. But if you're a round 3 guy, that's where it starts to go, well, we really don't feel all that obligated to give you that
Right.
much of a
Like,
shot.
who's that
You
dude that-
weren't that big of an investment
Willis.
if you go round 3 or later.
Malik Willis
exactly.
from Liberty.
Yes, perfect example.
I don't know how.
Perfect example. So one-dimensional.
Those guys in
So
their green
one-dimensional.
rooms must have been smoking a lot of crack having him in the first round.
You
for
get
a minute,
that guy?
'cause
No,
he was in
no.
the first round projection for a while. Malik
Hey,
Willis from
who's,
Liberty.
Who's Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for now?
The Chargers. He's Harbaugh's guy.
You get Malik Willis as QB3 now on the Chargers with Greg Roman.
Sure.
And if Herbert ever goes down,
Sure.
we would then get to see what maximum
Right,
Malik
right.
Willis in the NFL
Tyrod
is like.
Taylor-ish.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, because
Harbaugh's
from
right,
from
pick is
just a
in.
running quarterback standpoint, Malik Willis is
Jared, the
elite,
Titans pick
but he
is in. Who
can't.
is it?
He can't throw.
Jared,
In my
the Titans pick is in. Who's it going to be?
God, I've got the Titans need still that tackle that they wanted with Alt. Tight end is a need for them in my opinion, so they could go Bowers.
I could see him taking Graham Barton.
Or really anything on the defensive line to complement Simmons, their one really good defensive tackle.
I could see Graham Barton going here.
So I definitely think that like tackles like Fautanu, Fashanu, who I hate but most people are high on, Latham, who I'm mid on but a lot of people are high on, and Fuaga out of Oregon State. I think all 4 of those tackles are in play. I think Bowers is heavy in play, or maybe they go D-line with a Dallas Turner, because in my opinion he's the best. He's BPA.
He's great.
Dallas Turner right now is BPA.
Is he
in
DTF,
my opinion?
Though?
Well,
I'm sure once he's drafted.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to ask the Titans.
Exactly, yeah.
You'd have to ask the Titans. I don't know.
Once he's drafted, he's DTF because he's going to be rich.
So to me, those are the names the Titans are looking at here.
Okay.
And again, though,
what's your prediction?
But again, though, a trade opportunity that the Vikings didn't take.
Guess, bitch.
Fuck. I'm going to go with the second team in a row gets their heart broken, and the Falcons get sniped, and the Titans here take Dallas Turner from Alabama because he's BPA.
Defensive tackle?
Defensive end.
I could actually see
best
them.
edge rusher. He is the best edge rusher in the draft by far.
How big is he?
1 sec.
I'm going to go Graham Barton here.
Graham Barton.
Bold.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Brock
Graham
Bowers.
Barton's a guy that can move up and down the line.
So, every year there's that one pick always in the top 10 where people are like, whoa! I'm going to guess it's
Calvin
now.
Ridley signed with the I did not.
I'm going to guess it's now.
That's a big deal.
I'm going to guess it's now, and I'm going to go Jared Verse.
Real quick to answer you, Dallas Turner.
That's a great overall defensive player.
Yeah, I could see that as a move.
So it's the same thing as
Turner then Verse, but yeah, Verse is number 2 to me.
A lot of people.
You're thinking of Byron Murphy. You're thinking of Byron Murphy out of Texas.
He was in the middle.
Dallas Turner is 100% an edge rusher out of Alabama. He is 6'3", 247 pounds. He's got phenomenal arm length at 34.4 inch arms and great hand size at 9.9 inch hands.
So he's a 4'3" defensive end, probably a speed rusher.
He's blazing. He's got burst to spare and speed to spare, like 4.4 speed.
So at that size, he's a speed rusher. Probably has great finesse moves. Probably lacks a little bit of power.
Think Will Anderson,
especially lower leverage.
Think Will Anderson.
They need a tackle too. Skoronski sucked last year.
Meaning, I'm betting.
He was awful.
So I haven't watched anything on this guy that you're talking about, but I'm betting just based on his body size. I'm betting. So here's what he is. He's a 4'3" speed rushing defensive end. Great finesse moves. Probably lacks power on the lower end of those power rush moves, meaning here's what it is. He bails out of power rush moves, tries to go low around the edge to literally duck under a guy, and he loses his feet a lot and gets pushed to the ground. So once he gets a little bit better core strength and maybe even some bigger thighs, he can actually hold up and get under those arms without going to the ground, get around the edge. I bet that's the main scouting.
You were right about everything except for the weaknesses. He plays with better than expected strength.
He's got better power.
He plays with better than expected strength.
I haven't watched any film on this
and
guy,
he's very
7 and 6'3". I know what your body looks
and
like.
He's very advanced with his foot and hand use as far as rush moves. He can spin, he can swim, he can rip, he can bull rush. He's got every move in the arsenal.
Here we go. There it is.
Position of need. Position of need.
The one where people go, wait, what?
Tackle.
That's reaching on a position.
I knew they were going to take offensive line.
So that's what they just did, right? So they said our number one need is tackle, whether it's the right left tackle or whether it's the correct left tackle or the correct right tackle. We need a tackle, and we're going to move this guy where we need him to go. And once Alt was off the board, they had this guy high enough to where they bypass. So, again, everything is lining up. McCarthy falls to the Vikings at 11.
Yep, 100%. Well, 99%. Yep.
That's what it's. I did not think that was going to happen, but that's what it's looking like.
Unless the Broncos can get the Bears to do a trade.
You got here.
The Bears could.
The Bears would love to trade down to 12.
Absolutely.
Screw over the Vikings. Still get their player of value.
Absolutely. Right now, the Bears right now would love to trade back right now.
212.
Love it.
212. 212 so that the Broncos can snipe the Vikings of McCarthy, and they still get one of their guys at 12.
Right now, the Bears are in just happy as a pigs and shit.
Damn right they are.
Yep.
Latham is very much a right tackle. He's a mountain of a man. Like, you can't move him. He's massive. He's like fucking 6'8", 360 pounds, 340, something like that. He's fucking huge. I could look up the exact numbers. But he's very much a right tackle. Hoping that he can transition to left tackle is probably wishful thinking, in my opinion, because he doesn't handle speed edge rushers particularly well with his size. He's a phenomenal run blocker and has a phenomenal anchor in pass protection, but probably can't handle elite speed edge rushers, which will lock him in as a solid right tackle, but not a left tackle.
So
not a left tackle.
But here's what my question is, right? When you're making this analysis, I'm not questioning you, not like undermining your, but here's what, it's more like a take what you're saying and let's extrapolate that, right?
Sure,
So
absolutely.
that's the basis of my questions. Okay, so here's what I'm asking you, right? So is his issue what you're talking about with this agility and the speed rusher? Is it the back step agility, or is it the side-to-side agility that you're noticing the issue with?
It is both.
It's not both. It's never both.
It's primarily lateral movement. You definitely want J.C. Latham in a power gap scheme where he's moving either.
Okay. So do you think he has the mindset and the work ethic and the ability to because what you're addressing is his hips need to be opened up. That lateral agility is the hip flexors. Because a lot of people think hip flexors is only when you go up and down. It's not, dude. It's when you go side to side, bro. That's why when you first start playing football when you're a little kid, you start having those hip muscles on the outsides hurt that you've never had before. That's attached to your hip flexors. That's like, I know they're not related, but I said that wrong. I know they're not directly connected, but they're related and they work together. So do you think he has what it takes to improve that lateral agility and acceleration so he can basically meet those edge rushers out on the point?
From a run blocking standpoint, it won't be an issue, but from a pass blocking standpoint, it might be.
But do you think he has the skill set to fix that problem?
No.
Okay.
No, because of the feet.
Okay.
Like, you were very right in the lower half and the hips and that stuff. His feet, it's extremely unlikely that his feet will ever get quicker and more agile than they are right now. Maybe a little bit.
So he's heavy
maybe a
on his
little
feet,
bit,
is what
but
you're
not
saying.
significantly.
So it's not just an agility
Yes,
issue. He's
yes.
heavy
It
on
is
his feet.
mostly a footwork. The feet are slow. They're always going to be slow.
So whenever I see this, Scotty,
you know,
whenever I see this, and I don't claim to be the offensive guru that you are, you know where I stand. Like, right, my deal is quarterbacks and wide receivers. That's where I hit all the time. Like,
damn right you do.
Just fucking dude, that's my thing, right? Yep. But I do know offensive line, and I do know these skill sets because I'm able to like Blake Brandel. I called it years ago. He's like a fucking 7th round pick. I was like, this guy's good, dude.
Yep.
I was like, this guy's the guy. And everyone's like,
and then
he's
I
a
went,
7th round pick.
And then I went and looked at him because he wasn't invited to the combine, so he wasn't really on my radar.
Right.
And
this guy's everything.
Jared's right. This guy, how did we get this guy?
But I also said he's not a tackle, he's a guard. And it's because of this issue. When you have heavy feet, we got to move you inside one step to guard. I don't want you at center.
Latham could be an elite. Latham could be an elite guard, and he could he could be a very good right tackle.
Right or left?
Probably keeping him on the right side so he doesn't have to relearn footwork and stuff. Yep, because with the problem kind of being the feet anyway, and him being a right tackle in college. Yep. I would keep his footwork that way. Atlanta is ecstatic. They're Dallas Turner.
They're going
Dallas
defense.
Turner. They're Dallas Turner
defense.
all the way. Like that was one
offense.
of those.
Actually, they might go wide receiver. They might go Rome.
They could go a Dunze. Yeah. They could definitely get Cousins another
way. They have
weapon.
Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and who else?
Right.
No one. They're
going to
Dunze. My pick is a Dunze because they already have a loaded fucking defense, and they just spent $180 million on a quarterback. They're going wide receiver because they already have Bijan Robinson. I'm going to Dunze.
I think they go wide receiver in 2 or 3 because it's a deep wide receiver class, and that's why they go with Turner.
What do you think?
I think they're going defense.
Do they need?
I'm saying Turner.
What do they need on defense?
Everything. Other than CB1, other than CB1 and DT1.
Michael Penix.
Holy fuck!
I said every year someone in the top 10 goes, one moment. You pay.
Holy shit.
$180 million, and then you draft Michael Penix, who's ass.
He's ass. Michael Penix is ass.
He's ass. He's
complete ass.
Michael
Wow.
Penix Jr. is ass.
Hooray, Vikings Nation.
I like him, but that's
Thank you.
That's
Thank
crazy.
you, Atlanta.
That's crazy.
Holy shit, thank you, Atlanta. Oh my God,
Why?
that is so many people.
That's drafting
that is
Darko
so many
Milicic,
people
number
losing
3
their
overall.
job over the next 1 to 3 years in the Atlanta Falcons organization. It's not even funny.
Why would you do
That's
that?
insane. There's zero logic to that. He's not even the number 1 player on the board at his position. They just hired a free agent that they're paying $45 million a year to and committed to for the
They
next
took him at
fucking
the
2 to
8th
4
pick. They could have
years.
traded back into the fucking
Fucking
end of
what
the
the
first.
fuck? They have needs on defense and everything other
This
than
is just total nonsense.
You could
They
have
got
gotten
F,
Michael
they got
Penix
F,
in the
they got
holy
F.
shit.
round.
Check
F
this out.
minus. F minus. Holy shit.
You could have gotten Michael Penix in the second
Yes,
round.
you should have gotten.
This
yes.
is
What the
drafting
fuck?
Darko Milicic, number 3 overall.
Number 2. He
Number
was
two,
number
that's
2.
Looks
right,
like his
number
open
2.
letter worked.
Holy
That
shit.
he wrote the open letter to the league he wrote last week. That
Okay.
fucking worked.
Yeah.
For anybody, see, yeah, I love how they cut that off.
Wow.
Watching Michael Penix throw is fucking painful, and I laughed more times than I could count when I watched that motherfucker's film. He is a joke. He throws a football like it's a fucking grenade, and he's in our
Wow.
armed
You know who
forces.
he reminds me. You said he was left-handed Kellen Mond. Do you know
Yep.
who he
Yep.
reminded me of?
Yeah, he's
smokes more
left-handed Kellen.
Do you remember?
I'm in.
Do you know who he reminds me of?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to
Who
know.
was the black dude that Washington
clock,
drafted
yo.
like a handful of years ago?
Haskins.
Yes,
Plain Haskins,
that's who he
Ohio
reminds me
State.
of. That's who he reminds
That's
me
a
of.
great-
If so-
that's
if
a
so,
great
it's
analogy,
it's-
right?
Exactly.
Line up
because
right,
If
yeah.
Haskins
What the
was way
fuck
more
just
athletic.
happened?
If Haskins was way
he's
more
making
athletic, yep.
wide open throws
As a
right, to
passer.
schemed open wide receivers. That's what Michael Penix is doing.
There's
here.
at least 3 or 4
watch this
teams
highlight
happy as
reel.
fuck right
Watch
now.
this highlight reel. None of these are throws where only the wide receiver can catch it. Like none of these are like
He's only throwing behind a clean pocket.
His throwing motion is that of throwing a fucking grenade.
I can't believe our viewership went down after.
What an
The way we all
absolute
freaked out.
joke
I
of a
thought- I
pick.
thought it would
What
go
an
up. Wow.
absolute joke.
Wild.
The Atlanta Falcons organization appears to be right now.
We lost. 3
Holy
viewers.
cow.
We
F
freaked out and
minus.
lost 3
My
viewers.
God.
Let's keep
That's
it real.
absolutely terrible. Anyone at
There's
this
3 or
table
4
could have done a
teams.
better job than fucking what they just did.
100%.
That's
yep.
the point.
We
of
all
these.
did.
Greg,
We all did.
Greg, that's the point of these
Yeah.
is because I'm sick of people being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be called experts when we are significantly, and maybe you too,
Yeah.
but like we're almost, if not more accurate, like at certain positions, I am way more reliable than the experts, and I only claim
I don't know.
2. It's like when you play Madden. When you play Madden, you hire a scout. They have like 2 areas of expertise, like quarterback and wide receiver would be mine, 1 and 2. Yours would be, and now they break it down like interior offensive linemen and tackles.
Yep.
No, you could be both, but like usually it's 2 different positions.
If you think of it from like a Madden football
here-
video
here's the
game
Bears, here's the
standpoint,
There
Bears.
it is, right there.
Here's the Bears pick.
holy fuck.
This is I think this is a Dunze. I mean, you could take Turner or Dunze. Who cares? It's a win.
I
God,
would.
I think that I'm going to keep
If I were
going
you
Turner.
guys-
I'm going to keep going Turner until that
if
fucker
I were
gets
you
taken.
guys, I would
Yeah.
go Turner because you already have a stacked offense
Right.
for this
Yeah.
kid.
Yes, you do.
Throw in some new fucking youth because a defensive end or defensive
Get your new
tackle-
Khalil
Turner's a
Mack.
stud.
Get your new Khalil Mack.
It is a
Yeah.
franchise level position.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
you got 3
Dallas
of them,
Turner.
right?
He's going to be
You got 3
the
franchise
next
positions,
butt
right?
kiss of,
Can we all
of
agree?
Chicago.
Do we all agree you have 3 franchise positions? Quarterback, cornerback, and defensive
Pair
end.
him with
The
Sweat.
only,
Here we
one
go.
the only other one I'd throw in is left tackle.
tackle.
I'll say a Dunze.
I should
but
have.
be happy if it's Turner. But I'm going to say a Dunze.
I think it's Turner, but if it's not, it should be Fautanu, left tackle.
That would be a great pick. Protect your new.
Bam.
There it is.
There you go.
I said that earlier
Hell
too. I
yeah.
said what I'm hearing is they're going here and here.
This kid is a
We predicted
specimen.
this.
He's a specimen, and this is a scary offense. all of a
I don't
sudden.
know why you pass on
He
Turner
is-
right now, though.
He is on
Well, no, you do know because we said it earlier. Because you draft a franchise quarterback, You have Keenan Allen to groom this kid. You have DJ Moore already. Now you have this kid sitting in the slot or actually probably playing the other outside.
Keenan Allen's very unreliable.
He probably plays the slot, but regardless, the point is now Keenan Allen can leave next year and you still have 2 stud
or get injured, which he does often.
Well, right. Now, who knows if he's going to be there in 2 years?
And now the point is you have 2 franchise-level players. You have your version of what you hope is going to be Justin Jefferson, and you also have Caleb Williams on rookie contracts. So as you're overpaying for guys over the next 3 years, that's why you do it.
That's a valid argument.
He can be
that's why you do it. I'm not saying they're right, but that's why
the timing
it makes
of
sense
it,
from that aspect.
The timing of it, he can be your Jamar Chase to your Joe Burrow from a timing standpoint, contractually for the most part. It's not identical comparison.
Let the Packer fan talk too.
Sorry.
I keep trying to say things directly to him to get him to be able to counter me, and then we just overtalk him.
Your points are exactly right. Why they would do it, why I wouldn't have done it and take Turner instead, simply is because talent-wise, you're not going to get a guy like Turner for probably the next 10 years. You're not going to have a shot at this guy because you're not going to have a pick that high for the next 10 years. You're already 7-10. You scored probably the most lopsided trade in history at this point, next to the Favre trade. And now you blew your chance at having your defense solidified because you got your stud quarterback, so you think.
Oh,
now
the Vikes are up now.
Now you get your
We've got to trade him.
Oh, we got to trade.
The Vikings have traded up
this is either
with the New York Jets.
Okay, so this is either going to be Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy.
Exactly, and it's going to be McCarthy, but it's one of those two, guaranteed. They ensured that the Broncos did not leapfrog them. That was the main team that was a threat to leapfrog them.
Don't look at your phones. Don't look at chat.
This is very smart on the Vikings
Patrick
part.
Patrick and chat spoiling shit.
I'm
not looking at that. I'm talking to my brother here.
I'm loving to hear the details on the trade, but I'm assuming this only cost you. This only cost you number 11. This only cost you number 11 and like a 6th rounder. Or a 5th rounder next year is all it cost. Instead of moving up to 3, 4, 5, 6 like we were hearing about for a month, that costs you both 1st rounders and maybe next year's 1st rounder. So
shorter points. But why did they do this? The answer is very simple. Anybody know it?
To ensure not getting leapfrogged by another team, by the Broncos. Specifically the Broncos.
Specifically Denver.
You weren't listening. I started my...
No.
I said that.
Dude, no, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I've already said that. Thanks for repeating what I said.
That's why I said you got to make shorter points.
No, you just need to fucking listen. You just need to fucking listen.
They gave up a 4th and a 5th to move up 1 pick.
They gave up a lot. They must really be committed to this pick.
No, technically we gave them a 4th and flipped the 5th. And
no, that's about right if we look at the value chart, especially with that 6th-round pick thrown in. That's
Aaron Jones is up here now too. That's right.
It's
about right.
I think your original assessment was right. This is a little bit overpaying.
It is. But that's because it's for a quarterback.
Well, I think it's because Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is our GM. I do not think he's the guy who should be in charge. He's a cuck. Like, fuck this.
Right now, he is fighting for his job. If he gets this pick wrong, he's out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's a terrible general manager.
He's probably out either way.
He's awful.
I think
he should never been hired. He has no idea what he's doing. And
he did bring in KO, and KO does seem to be a good quarterback. And stop calling him KOC. It's Kevin O'Connell.
Right.
His initials are KO.
I like that.
Right.
I like that. KO.
I don't know why people do KOs.
Right.
That's not how you do initials.
He doesn't have
O'Connell.
He doesn't. His middle name would have to be O.
Right.
Then.
And then it'd be KOO.
That's how that works.
Does anybody know what J.J. McCarthy's first name actually is, what the first J stands for?
It's probably Jonathan James.
I think it's Julio.
Because fun fact,
Julio Juan.
Because fun fact,
Julio Juan McCarthy.
Julio.
Fun fact, only 2 human beings have ever been the starting quarterback of a national champion in college and a Super Bowl champion in the pros, and those 2 people are named Joe Namath and Joe Montana. So if that first J stands for the letter or for the name Joe or Joseph, we're good. If it doesn't, I don't know.
Okay.
No, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
2 men ever. Joe Montana and Joe Namath.
I believe the stat. I don't believe the projection.
That's a Cliff Clavin stat
It's
right
probably
there.
John.
I
would think
I love
James.
that. That's
Jonathan
great.
Bond.
That was a Cliff Clavin.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
a
that.
very,
That's great.
And
very
that's a
traditional
compliment. That's
Yeah,
intended as
Google it.
nothing
Google
more
it.
than a
Chat.
compliment right there, brother.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask Chat. Chat, do me a favor. Google what J.J. McCarthy's actual name is. Let's find this out. Put it in chat. I want to see J.J. McCarthy's actual name. Like, what is it? Is it Jonathan James? Is it whatever? Like, tell us. And no, stop, Jeremy.
I just don't like how he meditates under the goalpost.
I'm reading chat. Now Jeremy's
Okay.
trolling me. He goes, I'm going to say
that's
Jamie.
not how meditation works. In front of 100,000 people at the big house
Jeremy's
with cameras in
trolling
your
us.
fucking face.
Jeremy's going to say KFC
You know what I mean?
even harder now.
It's
Fuck
to me
you.
that looks like an act.
I'm gonna,
You know what I mean?
You know what? Say KFC.
I totally know what you
It's
mean, and I agree. I feel the same way.
It's bloviating on some bullshit. If you want to meditate, you don't do it underneath a goalpost on national television.
Here we go.
It's bothersome.
We're in the Instagram generation. Think about that. Everything is for clout. Everything is to grab attention.
Right. To make you look like you're a fucking Buddhist when you have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're
that's
talking
common.
about. You're not a Buddhist. You're a white guy
My
from
favorite-
fucking Naperville or wherever the fuck he's from in Illinois. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, my favorite one is the
Right?
He just wants to look cultured.
Right,
My
but you're
fa-
looking like a dumbass.
Free Palestine.
Agree on that.
I mean, it's just... that's what I'm seeing. Is like, dude, that's not improving your draft stock. It's making you look like a turkey.
The only ones I give a pass
Yeah, but the
to.
NFL's gone diverse now, so I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably going to help
I'm
his
just
draft
trying.
stock.
I guess they don't have a choice but to fucking move his draft stock up, do they? He's got the proverbial gun to their head. That's all you got to do is yoga these days, right?
Apparently.
Wear yoga pants. Maybe he's doing that shit too. That moved up his draft stock.
It's a different kind of draft stock.
Right. Hey, it's inclusive.
I'm trying to get.
It's
It's hard nowadays.
I
It
don't.
used
I
to be
just don't.
so
I just
easy.
don't give a fuck.
That's because
period.
cancel culture canceled itself by this
Well,
point.
they're morons. They're fucking
I
morons.
love that. I love
Here's
that.
the thing: is ultimately cancel culture brings more rating. So I'm trying to be more
They're
controversial.
just idiots. Period. That's the way that I see it. You're a
100%.
fucking idiot if you are going to come at me and look. You're
Here's my favorite thing.
If it's time to
Greg,
shit talk,
Greg.
let's shit talk. It's on. You ran
Hold
into the
on.
wrong motherfucker, dude.
Greg, hold on. Here's what it really is. It's not just idiots. It's not just idiots, Greg. Here's what it is.
I will ruin you.
Greg, listen. It's not just idiots, dude. It's idiots with strong opinions.
Yeah. Well,
That's the fucking problem.
let's break them down
'Cause I
to
know a
nothing.
lot of stupid people that are cool as fuck. And I know a lot of people with strong opinions
Right.
that are fucking cool as fuck because
Right.
they're smart.
Well,
but
think about it
stupid
this way.
people with strong opinions
Yeah.
are a fucking problem,
Right.
bro.
Well, you've got a whole
Amen.
generation of
Yeah.
people that have been cultured through everything.
That
through
haven't
the
had to
media
work hard for anything.
Well, they've been cultured through the media that they consume, through the education system, like we found out in COVID. They're basically trained to be subservient to the state and believe that the state is the ruler of the land.
Here's the Vikes.
Pick is in,
Oh, I don't
traded
like
up
this
one
look.
spot, and it's got to be for J.J. McCarthy
Why is it
unless
got to
they
be a
surprise
family
me
of
and it's Bo
disabled
Nix.
people?
Or unless they're looking at the board now and going,
I'm
let's
kidding,
get
you're not.
Dallas Turner and use
I don't know why I
23 to
made
get
that
a
up.
quarterback.
I don't know why I said
Because
that.
Bo Nix would still be available then.
Exactly. Super long shot, but it's a possibility.
If they actually did that,
They're
I would have a lot
soldiers.
more
Yeah.
respect for the
I'd be
Vikings
blown
right
away.
away.
I'd be blown
Why
Yeah.
is it a group
If
of
they take
autistic
Dallas
people?
Turner right here,
They're fucking
It's an
army
A+
people.
draft.
We
hands
immediately
down.
have to
I'm
As
calling it
long
right
as
now.
they get Bo Nix at 23.
Profusely.
Correct. Yep, I would agree.
For
That's
shitting
how you
on
get an A+.
valor. That
Yeah.
was not
I'll
what we
tell you,
do.
keep your job for another
That's
season.
not what we do here, okay?
It wasn't my intent.
No, that's not
but
what
I'm
we do
standing
here.
by it. I said it. I have to live with that.
That's
I
not
did
what we
that.
do here.
I did
That's
that.
not what we do here.
But I don't think you trade up that one spot to get Dallas Turner.
No, and you know this is going to be McCarthy.
Here it comes. With the 10th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Leroy Jenkins.
Now I got to watch it.
This is our first special guest announcement of round one, right?
Yeah!
There you go.
There it
There's
is.
your guy. Now,
There
this
you
is
go.
your guys' guy.
JJ McCarthy.
And then I'll give you my opinion at the end. Let's talk.
Not gay. That's why
There
I love him.
could not be a better situation
Kidding. Calm down.
For him?
Chat.
for him
Calm down.
especially.
Calm
I
down.
think most
Calm
people
down.
agree with that for all the quarterbacks out of the QB needy teams. That the Vikings are kind of the best situation given both their tackles and their wide receivers and Hawkinson and Kevin and KO. but especially with McCarthy. Yeah, but especially with McCarthy, because in my evaluations,
I need a cigar.
Personally,
you want a cigar? Anybody
I
want
would
a
love
cigar?
one. I would love one. In my personal evaluations, McCarthy flashed all the tools and all the talents that you could want.
Do you like? You
but
like Maduro?
His
Or do you like
doesn't
Habano?
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You always have a good cigar, so it doesn't matter. But
No.
where he lacks, and you could tell his inexperience, his youth, his age, his decision making, some occasionally his poise in the pocket,
Right.
Things of the cerebral nature were the only things that he ever really struggled at. But when it came to literally every physical tool you could ever want in a quarterback,
Sure.
he flashed them all several times over and proved to be a winner. So he's the guy that if he can go into a situation where he gets the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love type of treatment, where he can sit for at least half a year to a year, 2 years, learn what he needs to, and then come in when he's ready, instead of when the team just has an opening and you're the next man up,
Well,
which is how a lot of teams ruin their young QBs, in my
Right.
opinion.
rushing
This
him in.
couldn't be. He couldn't have a higher probability of succeeding
Sure.
and hitting any other place than he just landed right now. And a lot of that's Sam Darnold too,
Right.
as an efficient backup and bridge veteran quarterback.
Right.
Oh yeah,
So-
Sam Darnold's going to have a resurgent year. Like the best Sam Darnold played is under the quarterbacks coach that he's with right now.
Well, and the Vikes keep their second first-round pick.
Which is huge.
Right.
Huge.
Dramatic.
Huge.
It's bigger. First of all, it's huge.
Yeah. it's huge, biggest
You're going to
development
stay
ever.
there and get verse and get fucking like an A plus
think
on this
you're getting
draft in
that
5 years.
23.
You
There's no
might.
way verse
There
drops
hasn't
to
been an
23.
edge rusher taken yet, so you might.
Yeah, there has not. There hasn't.
But there's
Chop
still one
Robinson,
more ahead of him
I saw
according to
Chop
your board.
Robinson was a mock.
Turner, exactly.
Oh, so that
Yeah,
makes sense.
Chop
That
I
makes
think
sense.
is going to be one of the more one of the higher ups. I thought it was going to go Dallas
Oh.
Turner and then Chop Robinson. Would
Chop
be the
Robinson
next.
would be a
Rejoice,
nice pick.
Vikings Nation. This scenario is definitely one of the better case scenarios that we had walking into this. You left round one with a quarterback, and you didn't pay both of your first-round picks or any future first-round picks to get that person. So just, I mean, no matter how you feel about McCarthy, just the way they played this draft was definitely one of the best things I've ever seen
I accidentally
Kwesi
lit your
do.
cigar.
That's okay. It's one of the best things I've ever seen Kwesi do as a GM, is how he played this draft so far, not overpaying, and still addressing your number one area of need with
can't
one
believe
of,
it actually
with
happened.
one of your top candidates.
JJ McCarthy. I said it when you got here. I said it when you got
Yeah.
here. There's multiple scenarios where JJ McCarthy simply falls to the Vikings at
And
11.
it looked like it was
that
coming that
Penix
way.
situation is just wild.
Yeah, that Penix situation
That
changed the whole
opened it up
draft.
massively.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
opened it up
I
massively.
mean, it opened it up for the Bears
It
with the
changed
Dunze. It
everything.
opened it up
Right.
for the Vikes to not have to
Well,
give up a bunch of stuff. I mean,
honestly-
And on top of it, with Dallas Turner still being on the board, there's a team out there that is just drooling at this moment to
Yep.
take Dallas
Yep.
Turner.
I would say that the Chargers are really the one who changed the course of the draft by taking Alt over Neighbors, or Bowers or some other third option when they went with a second.
Normally, I would agree with you, but I think Alt was going to go a couple picks later. So,
Alt was not dropping past 7 ever.
that's what
Yeah,
Alt
I
was
thought
never
Alt was
dropping
going to
past 7.
Tennessee.
That's what
Alt
I'm
was
saying.
never
This
dropping
is
past
Brock
7.
Bowers.
So
That's
what
5
I'm saying.
isn't
This is
that
Brock
big of a
Bowers.
surprise.
Right.
Yes.
In many ways,
I
you
believe
could
this
just
is Brock
consider it a
Bowers.
I
simple.
think this
I
is
totally
Bowers.
get it from that. I totally get it from that.
on that one.
Yeah, I
is
think
the
this is
Penix
Bowers.
But then it drastically changed who went at 7.
Dude, the Penix pick is what's fucked.
7 and 8. Latham into Penix is insane.
This should be an offensive line.
Fashanu. There's your guy.
Yeah.
Another strikeout.
Wow.
The Jets just selected
Yeah.
Olu
Okay.
Baby Hands Fashanu.
Wow. So, but why
or
they did
Olu
this?
Nubs
So
Fashanu.
why they did this, though, so here's the model for this. So here's the model for this, right? Because this is a business move.
Right.
And it's a business move based on something that worked recently.
Right area, wrong player.
But I'm gonna give you, here's how I want you to answer this. Can you give me the team who did this recently? There's an analogy, a metaphor here I'm using. Just guess a team. It was within the last 4 or 5 years tops.
That did what specifically?
This.
Reach on a tackle?
Yeah. When they could have drafted anybody else.
Oh.
Simple answer, quick.
Blanking. Patriots. I don't know.
The Packers.
Fuck, I don't.
Okay, it's Tampa Bay. They drafted Tristan Wirfs because they just signed Tom Brady. They're making a Super Bowl run.
Sure,
quarterback.
I get you.
Let's keep him healthy, right?
Correct.
That's what's happening.
I get you.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And the Jets line has
and they
always been
also
shit.
have have one stud tackle already. What is his name? Is it Mekhi Becton?
Becton,
Not technically a stud, but yeah.
Becton, yeah.
I mean, the way Rodgers talks about him, he's like, this guy can
well,
be
they had
really
Dwayne
special.
Brown
I
last
figure
year. I mean, come
Bakhtiari
on, you
would
got to
be headed
upgrade.
to
That's why they
Mekhi has
yeah.
always been.
Aging quarterback, Super Bowl run year. You can
Yes.
do it with a rookie tackle.
The Broncos
you can do
waste
that.
no
Oh, yeah.
time.
Especially one that's this talented.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Mekhi-
So that's why they made this
yeah.
selection. Because Bowers makes sense,
'Cause
right?
The Jets are Super Bowl or bust right now.
Exactly, right? And they go, hey, you know what? He got injured last year because guess what? Dude got beat off the edge real quick.
Yeah.
And Rodgers had to suddenly step up and got caught by the ankle. Guess what? If we had a better tackle, maybe that play never happens.
Correct.
That's exactly what that.
Hate to break it to you, Jets fans, but Nubs ain't the guy. There were 321 players invited to the combine, including punters and kickers.
Yep.
Do you know how many of those 321 have smaller hands than left tackle Olu Fashanu?
69
Six.
Wow.
and 9.
6 fucking people out of 321 have smaller hands
That's
than that
not what
guy.
you're looking for.
How
It
many
shows
have
up on
smaller
film.
taints?
It shows up on film.
How
It
many
really
have smaller
does.
taints?
Well, at least Caleb
He
Williams.
can't sustain blocks.
How many
He
have
can't
smaller
sustain
taints?
blocks.
If you don't have taint size on this big board, I can't take it seriously, Scotty. Taint size matters.
tainted
It's
love.
true. It's true.
Painted love.
Fashanu will be a guard within
This is
2
actually
years.
a thing, by the way. I'm not
Fashanu will
making
be a
this up.
guard within 2
Taint
years.
size is an actual thing that's being measured when it comes to like testosterone levels and
What
manliness.
the fuck are you talking about, man?
Is it Dr. Deborah So? So it's the No, it's not Dr. So microplastics.
Are you fucking around right now?
No, I'm not. This is actually serious. So microplastics are so
Fuck.
prevalent, and there's 2 like parabens and something else. Dude, it's so fucking bad that testicles in men and taint size is shrinking. Yep.
Are you fucking with us right now, dude?
Well,
This is real.
They,
That's
they
why
are saying
I
that.
keep joking about it.
You
but
cannot
it's-
get this kind of draft
the
analysis
joke is
anywhere
based
else.
in reality.
Joke's on
yeah.
us. The joke
Right
is
now,
really on
That's
us.
why I keep joking about taint size because it's
Males in their
exclusive
20s
draft
This guy,
analysis.
this
we
guy,
have
exactly.
testosterone
You only
levels.
find it
taint
here.
size.
You only find
taint size.
Mel Kiper will not provide you this shit.
No,
Check
we want
this
to
out.
know about
Check
taint
this out.
While I didn't
So
get an official
Yeah,
taint
right.
size on Olu Fashanu, based off of
You didn't
based
get
off
on-
of
Scotty,
If you
Scotty,
didn't-
you know what? You
if
better go
you
back to the
didn't-
drawing board, buddy.
If you didn't get under there and lift balls and measure taint size, I can't take your big board serious.
Oh, fuck me.
based off of Fashanu's
me.
other measurements, I would estimate his taint measurements to be under 0.1 inches.
His name is Jonathan James.
If it's
He's
proportionate.
he's going to be a
Like
guard
we
within
thought.
2 years. Fashanu's going to be a guard within 2 years. But I think
You think so?
Yeah, I very strongly think
So it's
so.
like what we were
Very
talking
strongly
about
think so.
earlier with the other dude.
Yep. He can anchor. He can do some things really well, but he cannot pass protect at left tackle. After year 1, he's going to get moved to right tackle. After year 2, he's going to get moved to guard, and then hopefully he finds a landing spot there and can stick. That's my very strong feelings on Olu Fashanu.
So, all right, let's start speculating now on what the Vikings and Packers do at, is it 23 and 24?
23 and 25.
25.
So the Vikings are not trading out of 20.
No.
I don't know. They have no second or third round pick, so I could see
that's a
them,
good point.
but hopefully not out of the first round. I could see them trading back, but I pray that if they do that, it's not
But if
completely
you trade
out of
back
round
in
one.
the first,
you know?
you got to pick up a second to do it.
Look at what
Something
Blake,
good.
what Blake
Something
sends
good.
me.
Yep.
Barstool Sports is posting shit. Like funny stuff. The Falcons shocked the world. At 8, they just put penis. And then for the at number 10, they say JJ McCarthy cured his depression by Googling it. Barstool Sports is fucking the shit.
They are great.
That's
I like them on
awesome.
Sirius.
They're funny.
I like
I mean,
them on
it's
Sirius.
just like, you know,
Mike Portnoy.
when
is
I
what
want
they're-
when I want entertainment and not like hardcore information,
right.
that's where I go
It's
on
like
Sirius.
low brow, whatever, you know, with all the bullshit in this world.
Same
Oh, yeah,
sense of
dick and
humor.
fart jokes.
Same sense of humor as I do.
Totally.
Denver's got to be taking Bo Nix, the only quarterback
Barstool
that's
Sports.
remotely round one worthy here in
Well,
round
after
one.
seeing Penix go, it's like, dude, you got to take your guy.
And I think they're getting a steal. I think Bo Nix is absolutely fantastic. He's my QB too. To me, he's Kirk Cousins as a passer plus Brock Purdy as an athlete.
He's got a little Kurt Warner in him, man. He's a processor. He's got a little Kurt Warner in him. I was a Rams fan way back in the day, and I could see Nick's
huge taint, by the way. Bo Nix, huge taint, like the size of my hand.
I will agree with most people, though, that Nix's ceiling isn't very much higher than where he's at right now. The one thing I agree with most people on, I do agree that Nix.
I got him.
I do agree that Nix is the closest to his ceiling out of all these quarterbacks.
Well, he's like 36 years old.
All these other quarterbacks,
he's not gonna climb.
All
he's
these
like
other
26,
quarterbacks
like 24,
do have more room to improve.
Nix.
Bo Nix is the most NFL ready of the six, in my opinion. He's the most day one ready.
At his ceiling.
Goodell is fucking.
That's the gamble you take.
Goodell is so.
Nix is the most day one ready QB in this entire draft.
The gamble that you do take.
Scotty, do you know high on pain pills eyes?
That motherfucker is on one.
Roger Goodell is so high on pain pills right now, dude. He had surgery. You can see how he's
Snoop Dogg is announcing
Michigan.
one
He probably
of the picks
smoked
in
up
the
with
next 5 to
Eminem.
10.
He had an
surgery. Yeah, he smoked up with Eminem or Snoop Dogg or somebody. Bo Nix. That was pretty.
Yeah. So here's the gamble for
that's an A to an A plus right now for Denver.
Sean Payton is loving it. Sean Payton's loving it.
Let's put it this way.
They got the most day one ready QB, and they were the most day one needy QB team.
Correct.
A to A plus so far for
the gamble.
A lot of people thought Penix
Sean Payton will make him into a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, correct.
The gamble, though, think about this.
Quickly.
At his age coming in, so he's already played a couple more years in college. He could be at his ceiling. That's the gamble you take. I don't think he is. I'm just putting it out there that this is the gamble.
And I think that is the legit knock or criticism or just, concern with Brock is, there really isn't a whole lot of room for him to get much better than he is right now.
I don't like him. He's too arrogant.
If we're playing Madden football, we're playing Madden football, he's like an 87 overall right now.
He's too arrogant for me.
So give me that over the guy that's an 82 but might get to 90.
I'm joking.
Or 92.
Jared, at this point, if anybody thinks you're serious about 3/4 of the shit that comes out of their mouth, they need to be canceled.
I've always said
we're going to talk about Bo Nix being a steal.
of what I say is
absolutely. It's total nonsense.
I'm
Okay,
just locking out the other fact.
The people that take it seriously need to be canceled.
I'm on the Bo Nix train.
They're that dumb.
We're talking over each other. We're talking over each other.
So
sorry. Continue your sports speculation.
Well, Bo Nix right now is my number one value bet for Offensive Rookie of the Year next year. He's guaranteed to start from day one.
Oh, yeah.
He's got some nice young weapons at wide receiver. He's got a great left tackle in Garrett Bowles, and he's got a perceived quarterback whisperer, quarterback coach in Sean Payton.
Right. They probably win 5 games.
He is my number one value bet for the upcoming Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying he's the number one overall odds-on favorite, in my opinion.
We know it won't be J.J. McCarthy.
I'd put Daniels at. I'd still have Daniels at number 1 and Nix at number 2.
Yeah. So out of these guys, who's the best fantasy quarterback this year? It's got to be Caleb Williams, right? With the weapons,
he's got a ton of weapons, man. I mean, they're loaded now.
I'm actually going to say Bo Nix.
Weapons are nice though too. Daniel's weapons are nice. McLaurin is really nice.
I think Bo Nix.
And he runs. So
yep.
I mean, Caleb Williams is thrown into the fire. That Adunze pick is huge.
Caleb runs only to throw yet. Like, he doesn't run to run. That is a very rare thing from Caleb Williams. He doesn't run to run often.
Make no mistake about it. The
to
Bears
still stay behind
up.
the line of scrimmage.
That
was throw downfield.
So we'll see.
So from a fantasy standpoint,
out, it's all on him.
You'll get more rushing.
And that's the more likely scenario
from Daniels
and maybe even May.
We're talking over each other again, guys.
The Bears organization has put him in the best possible chance to succeed. If Caleb Williams busts out, it is not on the Bears and Ryan Poles.
100%
right now.
No, it's going to come down to scouting.
Good job, Bears. Good job, Ryan Poles. We've done everything as an organization to reverse the bullshit.
Correct.
It's now on the player.
Correct.
But from a fantasy
Honestly,
football,
not only is that true, but if I were the owner, I would have so much confidence in what Ryan Poles is doing, other than this pick, that even if Caleb Williams busts out, I would keep Ryan Poles around. I'd let him go through another head coach and another quarterback because he's doing everything else right. And then if I see a pattern where Ryan Poles just continues to swing and miss on quarterbacks. We need to bring somebody else in to help find that quarterback because Ryan Poles can make all the other decisions.
Brock Bowers. There he goes.
After taking Michael Mayer from Notre Dame in like round 2 or some shit just last year.
I knew the Raiders, like, don't get me wrong, Bowers is a great player. You know what you're going to get there, but let's be real.
I don't like 6'3" tight ends, though. I want him 6'4".
I don't like the
This
Colts
is a bonehead
not moving up to
pick
get him.
by a
I don't like
bonehead
the
organization who has not gotten it right and continues to. They fail at every level, and I feel so bad for the fan base.
I'm talking to a buddy of mine right now that's a Raider fan.
Let him finish.
Think about this. I mean, you've got needs everywhere.
Jackson.
And you take a tight end like Dallas Turner on the board. I mean,
pair him with Max Crosby.
Yeah, that
Turner
would be
should have been
insane.
the pick.
There's several good wide receivers on the board.
Turner should have been the pick.
I agree, but maybe in their heads, because the tight end position can affect both the run and the pass game as a blocker and as a receiver in all these multifaceted ways, that by taking this one elite person at this position, that they are, in their heads, answering more than one need.
They don't
when
get their
we're looking
quarterback.
at it as they're answering a non-obvious need.
No, they don't get their quarterback. They can't because Penix got reached for, so they give Minshew a weapon.
I never believed in them being big on a quarterback here personally. Aiden O'Connell, rookie last year, is arguably 90% of how full-time head coach Antonio Pierce went from interim head coach to now full-time head coach. Like, he doesn't have that full-time job now without Aiden O'Connell as a rookie last year getting thrown in the fire, going 5-1 in the last 6 games. So they're fairly like you did this for me, I'm doing this for you. He's QB1, and then they pay Minshew $12 million to come in as the backup, highest paid backup in all of football. So I never bought into the Raiders being super into a QB here in round 1, but that was just me.
I knew they weren't going QB, but to take a tight end, it just
Keith Brooks, buddy,
you're hoping
Raiders
it helps
fan,
out the run
happy.
and the pass.
That's all you can hope for at that point.
Hold on. What did you?
Keith Brooks, singer from Sound and Fury from back in the day, a lifelong Raiders fan, not happy. Talking to him right now.
Oh, not happy.
Not
I
happy
you said
whatsoever.
Not happening. I was like, did you invite him over and he's not coming?
No, he's in.
I was so confused for a second.
He's out of state. Not happy right now. What the actual fuck?
Sound and Fury, they were a dope band.
Yeah,
I saw them.
Not
once.
a single defensive player taken yet.
Dallas Turner.
Not one defensive player has been taken.
Who's tumbling? Who should have been taken
Jared
5 picks ago?
Dude, okay, so check this out. I was arguing with Anwar, right? Because I was like, no, if you got your franchise guy, you trade up and you go get him, right? No, you stay at 11, take best player available. The guy's name is Jared. Like, no. Here's the point. We got J.J. McCarthy at 11. You might end up being fucking right. Jared Verse might fall to us at 20. And then I hate to say it, Wasey ends up looking.
And another reason I think that will happen is because I believe that Dallas Turner is, for the most part, the consensus number 1 edge rusher on NFL teams' big boards. But I think when it comes to who's number 2, I think a lot of teams have Verse at number 2, but I think there's a lot of other teams that have Latu out of USC as their number 2 because he is a little more of a pass rushing specialist than Verse is. Mediocre, medium range. Medium range. Latu reminds me a lot of like Jalen Phillips for the Dolphins when he came out. That's my main comp with him. But Verse is a much more well-rounded, can play the outside linebacker role in a 3-4 or the D-end role in a 3-4, as opposed to Latu can only play that edge rusher role.
Sure.
But so like I think that the NFL teams are split on who's D-end number 2, which increases the odds of us getting Verse falling to us that much more.
Because Anwar was like horny for Jared.
He's real good.
He's exciting. He's so strong and explosive.
Is his first name, because guys with Jared's first names don't succeed in professional
or in commercials,
especially when their eyes are really close together, like Jared Goff. So if not only is his name Jared, but his eyes are really close together.
His strength relative to his position is elite, and his burst is fucking phenomenal. His burst is phenomenal. Burst and strength for Verse are off the charts, man.
Never trust a fat tweaker.
And
how are you and on Mac?
Exactly.
And
bingo.
And Verse will contribute against the run.
Up here.
Run.
Verse will contribute against the run, not just rush the passer. That's where I value him above Latu.
Yep.
Where Latu is a lot more just no, I rush the passer.
Right.
I'm not going to contribute a whole lot against the run. But not every team values and prioritizes those things the same way. You know.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, and that's why I asked you before we started. I go, so you got your mock draft. I was like, are you the guy, quote unquote, correctly picked Addison to the Vikings at 23 last year, whatever it was?
And
it was
I did not.
right? 28 or something. Man, because there was a bunch of guys who did.
23. Yep.
There was a bunch of guys who did.
That was a great pick on Minnesota's part.
I mean, how the fuck do you know that they're picking Addison? Like, how do you know it's going to fall that way? He's available and that's their guy. That's insane.
My theory on that is like understanding tier drop-offs in like the position rankings.
Yeah, I understand like the theory of how you did it.
And then matching that up with team needs.
It is just impressive. That's
I
what
agree.
For sure.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, yeah, because we can all do it, but to actually do it at 23 is like, however, I never said that the Vikings would draft Justin Jefferson, but that year I did put out this little list that pops up as a memory every year of like, here's the 8 guys that are going to be available at 26. I think we picked 24 that year. And I was like, I put hearts on 3 of them, and one of them was Justin Jefferson. And as soon as they drafted him, I called Scotty and I called my boy Anwar. You guys do how good this guy is. I said, I'm not comparing the ring, but he will be the most successful at since.
And think about this.
He will go that trajectory of like Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And I remember calling you again like 3 days later. I was like, the reason this dude's so good is his hips. Like when you watch Justin Jefferson run his routes, watch his hips. And it's because when you're in Little League football, they teach you to watch a guy's belt buckle so he can't juke you. If you watch Justin Jefferson's belt buckle, he will juke. That's the point. Figured out how to use that rudimentary fundamental and go, I'm going to twist my hips this way so you genuinely think my body's going that way and then I'm still going this way. Yep. When you watch him at full speed, I've never seen anybody. He's the best route runner in the history of the National Football League, and it's not close. That's how great he was. And I said this 3 days after the draft, and I made a about this on draft night to these guys, and that's where SportsCast came from, were these phone calls on draft night, and we would try to like do Facebook Lives and shit, and I'm like, dude, we're doing a fucking pod. Because these Facebook things are dumb. These fucking, why are we texting each other and calling each other on draft? No one knows we're right. Like, we know more than all these fucking high-paid idiots. We're doing a fucking podcast. That's what we're doing. And so I just basically just did a version of my own podcast, what we call them SportsCast. That's what it is. We're doing a SportsCast. Just like Joe Rogan does the MMA show. Yeah. That's what we do. It's a SportsCast. Yeah. And we do baseball, football, hockey, whatever's on. Like, I might even do one tomorrow night for the Wolves game. If anybody wants to come back down, we'll talk. But
hey, Jared, you got a bottle of water?
Yeah, I might be in Minneapolis 100%. Anyway, so that I might hit you up on that. Okay. I might hit you up on that. We might do it. I'll see how timing works out. I usually make like a nice dinner with the wife, but I know the game's going to be later, much later, because it's in Denver on a Friday. I'm going to piss, and I got to grab Greg a water. Yeah. Phoenix, but same difference.
Thanks, brother. Oh, what kind of degenerate are you?
The New Orleans Saints
in that sink
have the chance to take the first defensive player off the board at pick 14.
Just wild,
dude, insane. You gotta think they're going the heir to Cam Jordan at pass rusher here with Dallas Turner.
Yep.
But they could go Byron Murphy D tackle or Terrion Arnold. Who? Tackle. Oh, okay. Offensive tackle. All right. I love the player. I don't love the team situation and pick necessarily.
I just floored that Turner is still there.
I am too. I can't believe not one defensive player has been taken yet. Turner should be gone, and then whoever you think is the top CB, either Mitchell, who's not, or Wiggins or Arnold, who most people think is, like one of those guys should be going.
It really looks like the Vikings are in a position where they could get Jared Verse.
They really are. Wow. They really, really are, because I guarantee you at least approximately half of the teams in this league have verse at DN3, not DN2, because they value Latu's specific pass rushing skills more than Verse's.
Right.
And because all those all-around elements that Verse is much better at just don't spark their interest enough. They want the shiniest thing.
Right.
Love Fuaga, though. As a right tackle, he reminded me a lot of watching Tristan Wirf's Iowa tape. He really did. Super athletic, super strong.
That seems from the stuff that I watched about him, that seems to be exactly. There was not a bad thing, very rock solid, right? So here's what
he's going to whiff mentally occasionally, or maybe he'll find someone who has both the athleticism and the strength to beat him that way. But he's going to win 9 out of 10 matchups every time.
Let's be honest. Derek Carr needs all the time he can get.
Yep. And not only is he extremely strong, he is extremely athletic too. He's strong enough to play in a power gap scheme. He's athletic enough to play in a zone gap scheme.
So this is what...
But he is or has been a right tackle, and if you view him as a left tackle, then you're definitely hoping that he follows that Tristan Wirfs model.
I mean, it makes you wonder with all the do people know something about Dallas Turner? Like, did something come out on him? Is there inside information? You know what I mean?
That's a phenomenal question and point. My initial theory on that thought would be that we are just simply witnessing an era of NFL football that drastically and consensually values the offensive side of the ball significantly more than the defensive side of the ball, and that is why we have seen 14 consecutive offensive players picked and not a single defensive player picked yet. Which I think is definitely a mistake on a few teams' parts. Atlanta Falcons.
That's true.
And I really, really hope that the Colts are looking at their board and their team needs and realizing that we can't believe that our team need of a new edge rusher and defensive stud lines up with Dallas Turner still being available and Brock Bowers being gone, and we're going on this.
What is Kirk Cousins thinking right now?
That's my initial theory. Kirk Cousins right now has got to be completely second-guessing his decision to leave Minnesota to go to Atlanta. He's got to be just completely
calling his agent, call the fucking owner. We're talking about this. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
What is going on?
You guys talking about the Falcons? Somebody's getting fired.
What Kirk Cousins is thinking right now?
Kirk Cousins right now is Aaron Rodgers when they drafted Jordan Love, but worse because Kirk Cousins just got a new big contract.
That's what I would be doing.
Kirk Cousins is going to fail meme right away.
Get me out of here. Dude, I don't care that you decide. Get me the fuck out of here. This is a slap in the face. Trade me to somewhere else.
I'm not your guy. Great.
Yeah, okay, that's what you just told me.
I got to jump in.
Get me out of here.
I got to jump in. You guys might have already covered this, so shut me up right away if you did. But you guys talk about the Achilles thing.
No, please.
So anybody who has just a fucking basic Dunning-Kruger level knowledge of sports medicine knows when you reach a certain age, or brittleness is what it really is in like the layman sports world, right? Oh, he's brittle, right? When you reach a certain age, Ken Irvin was a Minnesota Viking who ended his career on an Achilles injury warming up against fucking. Okay, when you snap an Achilles. Why it used to end your career is because not only will you never be the same player, but you're also probably going to snap the other. Okay? Because it's something that has to do with how your body is aging. So both Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins, I'm not fucking around. You got to do some deep research to get the stats on this, but you only got to do a cursory search to find this philosophy. He has like a 75% chance of snapping the other Achilles this year. Both of them, Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins.
Even if that is the case, though.
But here's what
interesting.
So,
I got a bathroom.
He's probably going to get injured again this year.
Sure.
Right? So you have a rookie quarterback now sitting on the bench.
Right.
Only the first 2 years of this contract are fully guaranteed.
Bo Nix was available, though.
So he's going to get
Jr.? Are you kidding me?
They picked one. Those two guys have been debated about on. I'm talking like coin flip levels. I have Penix above, or I'm sorry, I have Bo Nix above Penix. But there's a lot of guys that have Penix as their number 2 quarterback.
I liked Penix, and I liked what his numbers that he put up in the workouts, and I like the fact that he believes in him. I like him, and I think, but not in this system. Yeah, I like him. I like him with Sean Payton. I mean,
He has a 47% completion.
Sense. It makes
47% completion.
That's just me. I like what I saw out of him, but I mean,
dude,
here's the deal.
Greg,
I wouldn't.
Greg, his completion 47% outside of the pocket.
Okay, you could have drafted.
When he's outside of the pocket, 47%
that's not good.
completion. That's like you're not in the NFL levels of bad.
That's not good.
You could have
that's what
drafted
I'm
your
saying.
next Matt Ryan with Bo Nix, and instead you drafted the next Trent Dilfer with Penix.
You can't compare Ryan.
Well, not to mention the
That's a
fact that
terrible-
you could trade back 10 picks and still get him.
Exactly.
Maybe career path,
But I
they
mean,
end up on the same, but
that's-
talent-wise, skill level, like Bo Nix is way too mobile compared to me.
No, more on like that tier of quarterback.
Where you get him in a perfect system, he goes 15-1 and goes to the Super Bowl and
Like,
wins MVP.
You got your superstar studs like the Mahomes and such, and then you got your next tier down with your more superstar quarterbacks. And then you got your like Matt Ryan tier where they're good quarterbacks. They're going to win you games, but they're not those upper echelon quarterbacks.
But he did win MVP,
yeah.
go 15-1, and bring you to the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did all those things. And don't get
So
me
that's
wrong,
what you mean?
Matt Ryan is a good quarterback.
But I'm not dissing you. I'm not
Right.
challenging you. I'm clarifying.
Yeah.
So that's what you mean when you compare Bo Nix to Matt Ryan?
Correct.
Got you. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Because whether I agree with that or not is irrelevant. I just
Right.
wanted to understand
I totally,
your comparison. Because we're flying fast and loose on this podcast, baby.
Oh, there's a lot to.
There goes Latu.
First defensive player off.
Oh,
I can't
Let's,
believe it was
let's-
Latu over
okay.
Turner.
Okay. Hey, who do we troll? Scotty, make up somebody. Who's like shouldn't have been drafted?
Tell him Graham Barton went.
Graham Barton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colts took Graham Barton.
Tell him Graham Barton. And that's when I learned Scotty was gay.
Well, I could have told you that. I bunk with him on the road. How many times we've been nuts to butts?
Oh my God, dude. So I was in Jamaica. I got to tell you this story.
That was a seal breaking if there ever was one.
Yes. The heavens opened up and out came the piss.
And
The
Latu
alcohol
became the
rental
first
fee.
defensive
Okay,
player
let
off
me
the
tell you the
board.
story. Okay, let me tell you the story.
Horrible.
Okay, let me tell you the story. So I'm in Jamaica recently, very recently. Kate and I just went to Jamaica.
Nice.
We had an amazing trip. Everything was like picturesque. Like it was one of those moments. We did 7 days, and it was one of those things where like we had 14 days worth of things we wanted to do, and we had them in a priority list, but we were willing to juggle them based on like how things shook out, right? And it was weird because everything kind of came up aces. Like every day we were like, well, we want to do this today, but here's our backup plan. But we never really had to do our backup plan. Everything just worked out all over the place, except for this one night. But when it didn't work out, it turned into one of those like iconic memories. Like we will never forget this. 20 years from now, this will be the main thing we remember. So there's this place in Jamaica on the beach in Negril called Flag City. It's this group of young Jamaican kids who serve you fresh lobster literally directly from the ocean. They go grab it from the cage. They cook it in hubcaps right on the beach. They've turned these hubcaps into actual grills. And I'd seen this place on the internet. When you go to TripAdvisor and you type in best restaurant in Negril, this place pops up as number with a bullet. I'm like, I'm harassing Kate all week. I want to go to the restaurant. I want to go to the. It's like one of these weird. And Kate does not want to eat dinner on the beach. Freaked out by this idea, right? But I'm like, I'm telling you, this is the best. Seems insane. Trust me. So I finally get her to one of the last. So as we're walking towards the place, it's like probably a half a mile down the. So you're walking barefoot, pretty exposed on the down. Starts sprinkling, and kind of see it down there. I know where it was because we had passed several. Kind of see it coming. Starts raining a little. It starts raining a little harder. Like, all right, we gotta fucking like kind of start jogging. So we kind of jog into this place, and as we get there, the rain down. Oh, sit down. We order our food. look up, and over the tables is literally just a blue tarp, like what we have here that we cover up wood with, right? And it's on this like rickety bamboo structure that there is no engineering integrity to this structure whatsoever, right? And then the rain starts coming down harder. We've already put our orders in, and certain people are sitting down eating, whatever. The rain starts coming down so hard that it starts pooling up in between fake bamboo rafters. And these guys are trying to like figure out, they're trying to hold it up. And I'm like, no, you gotta, I'm yelling at them. I'm like, you gotta grab a stick. You gotta like throw it. You gotta push it. So they start doing it and they start winning, right? But as they're focusing on this section, which is where all the food is being grilled, because they pulled all the food in when it started raining, all their little grills, they forgot about this other corner. So this other corner had been filling up the whole time. And so there's 20, 30 people in this restaurant on the beach that start huddling together, right? And I'm like, no, you guys gotta get in tighter. And I yell, I'm like, come on, nuts to butts. And the whole fucking group of people just start laughing. They're like, what did you just say? And I suddenly realize I'm not in America. Like, they don't know what this means. They think I want to rub my nuts against their butts. Like, so I had to just like, and it was so funny because we bring everybody in and we're trying to get away from, and some people are holding their plates while they're eating and shit. And then I'm not joking. The entire roof collapsed and like literally comes down on all of them. And so good that the dudes that are all, and the girls that are all standing in the middle that we all kind of protected while they ate. When the roof came and collapsed, they all just went down to one, kept eating. Like, but I'm not joking. Within 10 minutes, the rain had stopped. They rebuilt the structure, pulled everything up, rebuilt the tables, and we sat down and we ate the best lobster dinner I've ever had in my entire fucking life, dude. And Kate had a fish. I don't know what kind of fish it was because I had never seen this fish before in my life, but it was beautiful looking. She said it was one of the best fish dinners she's ever had in her life. And I'm telling you, we will never forget that one. It is maybe the best memory we have because it was hilarious.
Aww.
Like, it was just one of those like cheesy like movie moments almost. You know, like you see in a bad cheesy movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it happened in real.
But it was real
time.
But it was real, man.
Exactly. Oh, it was fucking super.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I
really
like that.
Cool, it was the best dinner I've ever fucking had in Jamaica on vacation. Any of it.
Jamaica me crazy.
Like, dude, it was amazing. We're gonna do a boys trip. You guys should come down, man. We're gonna do a boys trip. You guys should come down.
Yeah, dude.
And dude, we're gonna rent scooters and just like
that'd be fun.
It's gonna be dope.
Smoke some of that Jamaican weed.
Yeah, which
I'm all about that.
Of course.
I don't drink no more, but I'll fucking smoke weed at the best of them.
Damn right.
We
will, bro.
We get way better weed up here.
No,
just
fire
to let
it
you
up,
know.
Willie.
Yeah.
We good.
We get way better
The
weed up
healing
here.
plant.
That's because we're all botanists now. We've
Yeah,
learned how
that's
to.
exactly it. Science. It's science.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have way better weed now, but they also have great mushrooms.
Really?
And it's legal. And it's legal. So we'll go down there. We'll rent some scooters. Fucking get an Airbnb, or we'll go balling out of control and get a fucking suite with an oceanfront fucking pool. Dude, it's dope. It's dope. Like, we'll do it. We're going to do it.
I'm in.
I'm going to ponder that a lot. I hate to steer the conversation
Just start saving up money now.
back towards football, but I did.
Oh, God.
No.
How dare we talk about football
but
on
I
a night
did,
like tonight?
I genuinely just.
Thank you for indulging
I
me.
genuinely
on my story,
just noticed
And thank you for
realized
listening, for hearing my
something
story.
that made me really like the Vikings trade up one spot with the Jets even more so than I did initially, is looking at my chart here where I went and looked at literally what picks everyone is going into with this draft. Vikings went in with 123 and then not until 4. Round 4 was their next pick going into the draft. They had 2 round 4 picks going into this draft, as well as having 2 round 5 picks. So even though they included a round 4 pick and a round 5 pick with number 11 to move up to 10, they've still got a pick in round 4 and round 5 of this draft.
So there was value in it.
So like I really like the price tag of the move up one spot even more now when I looked at the other assets
Okay,
that we
who
still
do you
had.
got for the Seahawks?
Oh God,
16.
somebody's got to take Dallas Turner. Jesus,
They're gonna take that.
they have to.
Or they're gonna take your boy up the middle. The what's his name? Byron Murphy.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't like Byron Murphy at all, but I believe the hype as far as how other people perceive him. I believe that. Like,
I can see Chop going here.
This is too early for Chop yet. Chop to me is definitely.
Well, Turner's still there.
Yeah, with Turner and Verse still there, I don't
Penix
think we're
Jr.
looking at
was
Chop
drafted
yet. But that's just me.
overall.
But
I didn't scout these guys.
Chop is clearly edge rusher number 4.
I
Like,
think
no
if
question.
you guys
asked.
end up with Jared Verse, you're going to be.
But I don't think he's any lower than that or any higher.
He's
than
great.
that, but that's just me.
He's got
I don't know.
rolls people over.
There's a few teams that just seem to have fallen in love with
The
him.
Bears
I think
loved
the
Verse.
Seahawks could
They
be
were
one
just
of
too
them.
early up. I mean, he's perfect for their fucking the Bears
I'm
love guys.
surprised, dude. The Bears were so high on Rome
Adunze.
They were
There's a lot of smoke with that stuff too.
There's
a lot of smoke with that stuff too.
Let me finish my.
Yeah.
So they were so high on him that they refused to trade out of 9. Think about this, man. If you trade out of 9, even back to 11 with the Vikings, like you're just this is some Ryan Poles level shit where you're just accumulating more equity. You could have got anybody you wanted, and they were so high on that.
The Bears only have 2 more picks.
Let me say this though.
The Bears only have 2 more
This
picks.
also rolls back to
That's why I'm surprised they didn't trade out
The
of 9.
Falcons-
That's what I'm
Same.
getting at. Which means they were so fucking high on that wide receiver.
Which they could have traded out of the first
there's-
overall.
Like they were
There's that.
jacking off to that idea that wide receiver. They were massaging their own taints.
the fact that also
Taint Canyon.
Penix getting taken where he did
Call it the taint cast.
devalues every pick.
Yep.
Because
For sure.
the trade ammunition that you have, the leverage you don't, because everybody knows on their board their guy gets bumped up.
Yep.
So all of a sudden it's like, fuck it, we're going to take a guy.
And I said it right before it fucking happened. Every year there's somebody in the top 10 where we go, what? And I thought it was when
Because it was somewhat of a reach.
when they took Alt, but no, it was Penix.
Yep, yeah.
Fucking Penix at 8.
With
the draft.
with
it
Alt,
blows up the whole draft.
with Alt going at 5, then when the Titans took Latham at 7, that felt like our first real reach. Like, okay, that'll be our moment. But then the fucking Falcons went, hold my beer. Man, like hold my beers,
Byron
plural.
Murphy, that's what I said.
They
Byron
did.
Murphy.
Yeah, they
I said
did.
they're going defense.
Wow.
Right. I said either
Here
Turner
come the
or
running
Byron
defenders.
I personally think that's a one-dimensional swing and a miss. I think outside of pass rushing, he doesn't offer much at all.
Technique though.
I don't think outside of pass rushing he offers much at all, though. But that's just my
Isn't that what
opinion.
you want from a 3 technique? Is pass rush. That's the whole point.
For some
Because
teams,
he's not a nose tackle. Because your nose tackle is what is a 1? They call that a 1.
Yes, exactly. For at least half of the teams in the
your
NFL,
run stopper, right? Like that's your Linval Joseph, that's your Jerry Ball, that's your fucking Rashawn Gary or your
Reggie White.
if you're asking how does most of the
Reggie White's
league
a
see
pass
it,
rusher.
yes, most of the league sees it like
defensive
that.
end, I mean.
How do I see it?
I'm
I
talking nose
personally don't
tackle.
see it that
nose
way, but at
tackle.
least half of the league sees it the way you just
That's
said.
a big boy.
You know, we're like, no, we value this one skill at a top level.
He's 6
above
feet tall,
really
so he's
anything
my
else.
height. He's 6 feet
He's
tall.
not big at all.
He's
not
height,
big
but
at all.
he's
He is undersized.
300 pounds.
He is undersized.
How tall are you?
I am 5'10",
Byron Murphy.
How big are you?
This
326.
326.
this defensive
Your
tackle.
size.
Correct.
This defensive
That's a lot
tackle
of
is the
human.
exact same
But
height
he's
as Caleb
probably
Williams.
Fast as I am.
He's the exact
Yeah.
same height as Caleb
That's
Williams.
insane, dude.
He's
Yeah,
the exact
that's
same
sports
height as
science
Caleb
for you.
Williams. He's the exact same height as Caleb Williams. The exact.
Allegedly. I don't trust any of these height measurements
Oh,
from
the
anybody.
Vikings. The Vikings are up at 17.
I trust the tape
What?
measure.
Wow.
Traded up for Dallas Turner. Holy crap.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Wow.
A
I
plus
bet.
fight. A plus crazy. Traded up for Dallas
that what's
Turner.
happening here?
We don't
Yes,
have
we
the
traded up
equity
for
to
Dallas
go
Turner.
up. We don't have the equity.
We traded
to go up.
a future pick. We traded a future
Yep.
pick.
We don't have
And
this kind of equity. We
this
need
far
these
down
picks to start surrounding J.J. McCarthy with the elite level talent.
This far down, we're talking about like future round 3s.
Look at Houston's
we
model
don't
last
have
year.
that. We need that.
Minnesota is
Or
pulling.
maybe a player included too.
interesting.
Like this is the time where some players to be named later are involved as well.
Okay. 5th round pick.
This is way too much.
I don't know. Not if Dallas Turner is who I think he is, and if that's who he
Okay, so
takes.
This was Houston's model last year.
fifth,
Let's
a
get our
third.
cornerstone offensive player, our cornerstone defensive player,
That was, yeah.
and
100 million%.
Yep.
No
look
shit.
what happened.
100 million%.
shit.
Yep.
No shit.
Holy shit. Holy shit, holy shit.
Respect.
Yeah,
if this
Danielle
is
Hunter left.
what
Yep.
goes down.
Turner.
Don't
This is some
blunder
best
this,
case
Minnesota.
scenario
Don't
shit.
blunder
Both of
this.
you are both of you saying home run if this is Dallas Turner.
Correct.
Yes.
What if it's somebody else?
Blunder.
No.
Who else could it be?
No.
And make it
Nobody.
worth it?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Even
Nobody.
Jared Verse.
Nobody.
Not to trade up.
Nobody.
Not to trade up.
Nope. You take Jared Verse at 23.
Yeah.
You don't trade
He's
up
that
for him.
good.
It has to be Turner.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to be Turner.
Not a corner?
No. Well, Wiggins
Oh,
is
yeah,
a stud.
no, yeah.
Wiggins
Toledo,
is a stud.
Toledo.
Just not
Here it
Mitchell.
comes.
Just not Mitchell. Anyone but Mitchell.
Dallas.
A fucking plus, holy shit.
Yeah.
Best case scenario. I can't believe this happened. I didn't even imagine this scenario.
Wow.
I swear to God. I swear to God. I did not imagine a world. I did not imagine any scenario
That's wild.
where Dallas Turner fell outside of the top 15. I did not imagine it.
That is
Period.
a huge land for the
Holy
Vikings.
fucking shitballs. A-plus home run touchdown. Wow.
Huge land for the Vikings.
Patrick said his kids want to know what taints are now. Good luck, buddy.
I was just
Dallas-
about to yell at the Vikings for
Dallas
not trading up
Turner.
with Seattle to 16 to take
Dallas
Turner.
Turner.
I was just about to do it, and then the pick came in, and it was too late.
Holy shit.
This is
Holy
So
fucking
you guys-
shitballs.
I haven't scouted these guys, so you guys are saying this is the guy.
We got
This
huge
is
pick.
the man.
you
We
just
got-
put the cornerstone of your offense and the cornerstone of your defense in place for the next decade.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Impressive, dude.
We just got edge rusher number 1 in this draft class, as well as defensive player number 1 in this draft
So
class.
you have Dallas Turner over any corner as your
I have
best
Dallas
defensive
Turner as the
overall.
number 1
100%.
defensive player
Wow,
in this draft.
really?
Yes.
Dallas Turner, number
Look,
1 defensive
here,
player in the
watch.
draft.
Rare length, loose rusher.
The Minnesota Vikings just
Holy fuck.
expedited
He's Danielle
their
Hunter.
rebuild
So
by
he's Danielle Hunter. He's Danielle
Yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah.
He's a shorter Danielle Hunter.
basically the Minnesota Vikings.
He's not 6'3", right? What is he, 6'2"?
2.5.
Yeah.
You just expedited your rebuild process by easily 2 seasons.
Well,
You
it's
just
not
cut
even
off.
it's not even a rebuild
Nope,
anymore.
nope, we're ready. These guys are.
This is what you guys just
Turner's ready.
Well,
Turner's
2
100%
seasons
ready.
ago, you overplayed your talent, and that screwed you last season, especially with the injuries that happened. So you're
did. What? Hold on. Pause.
Turner.
Hold on, Scotty. Pause. What did you say?
2 seasons ago, you overplayed the talent that was on your team.
You mean we overachieved?
Yes,
Okay.
and because of that, draft stock issues and
Because we got a later pick.
right, correct.
Okay.
And then the season following, injuries happened and coaching issues on the defense, if I remember correctly. Didn't you have some issues that?
Well, we just had a shit defense. The coaching was the problem.
Okay, so it's just the defense.
Keep going.
So realistically, what that did is it set you back a season or two. And now this draft,
Okay, I see where.
home run draft. I mean, it's an A+ draft at this point. You can't take it away from the Vikings. So you just put your cornerstones in place. You just added 2 major pieces to the puzzle that are now there for a decade that you don't have to worry about easily a decade.
If they stay healthy.
Correct.
So that's the most interesting thing is we just mentioned earlier. There's 3 or 4 There's 4 franchise positions: quarterback, left tackle, defensive end, cornerback. Those are your 4 franchise. You can't sink money into any other position. Scotty, me, and Anwar did a deep dive on wide receivers, and wide receivers can't make more than what was the number? Was it 11%?
No team that's paid
I think it
top
was
5
10
wide
at the
receiver
time, but it
has
might
made
be
the
up
Super
to
Bowl.
11 or 12
Or won the
now,
Super
just
Bowl.
with the given changes in salary cap.
We went back, and it was the fucking 2000-something Indianapolis Colts with Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne were the last team that actually won a Super Bowl with a highly paid wide receiver.
Correct.
So it's just not a model you can do anymore. That's what I'm going at. Is like
Right.
if you want to look at and this is what Kwesi does, right? This is his deal. Is here's how we're gonna evaluate this. We can only sink franchise money into these 4 positions. If he's but this is why I'm like, okay, then technically we can't pay JJ. We can't pay JJ Jefferson then. If you're doing
That's been my
Justin
point.
why did I call him JJ Jefferson? Oh, because we call him JJ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got an extra JJ. You got an extra J in there.
That's the point. They could have traded
The
Justin
cocktail
Jefferson.
is prime.
We got JJ to JJ. Holy shit!
Yeah.
This is the first time I realized that. We got JJ to JJ.
Yeah, that fucked my
Holy
brain
fuck!
for a second.
Holy fuck! We got
Syntax
JJ
error.
to JJ.
Yeah, syntax error. That's why I fucked that up. Yeah, because we call him JJ.
You got double J squared.
Differentiate it.
J squared. Yeah, J cube. No,
JJ squared.
J cuatro.
You want some raw data on Dallas Turner?
Yes.
New Vikings edge rusher.
No.
6'3",
No. I
247.
want to know one thing.
Yeah.
I know what you're about to I know what you're about to say.
Taint
you
size.
fucker. Yes.
Taint size. Dude,
In relation
Dude.
to my hand, how big is his taint?
taint size.
It's the Grand Canyon.
Taint size.
Walked right into
Taint
that.
size.
We walked right into that fucking
Taint size is a godly 7.45 inches.
Godly 7.45
Nephilim.
inches. The largest
Nephilim.
taint.
The Nephilim of taint.
It's the largest taint since Goliath himself.
fuck.
34.4 inch arms, 9.9 inch hands, 4.4640.
Slow down.
His vertical is over
Hold on.
40 inches.
Scotty, slow down. What? 34 what?
34.4 inch arm length, which is longer
Arm
than
length.
most starting
So-
left tackles.
so
It's
what
longer.
is-
His arms are longer than most starting left tackles.
So what does a 34-inch arm length look like? That's 3 feet. What is that?
It looks like slightly.
Especially for the listeners. Like,
Ooh.
like, how do we describe that? You know?
Okay, so like if you're watching basketball, it's basically the equivalent of having Jaden McDaniels' wingspan. Relative like to your size and position and stuff like that. You know, like obviously Rudy Gobert has super long arms, but he plays center.
And he's
so
7
having
feet
long
tall
and
or
he's 7
whatever,
feet tall.
right.
So it's not that whatever, you know, like you expect it.
Oh, so what you're saying is he's built like a fucking ape.
Yeah, no, he's
Like-
got like off the charts prototype
irrationally
size.
long arms.
He has prototype size, prototype speed.
Okay,
fucking
what's the next one? It's like let's do each one of these
Yeah.
stat lines one by one.
9.9 inch hands. You're looking at 10 inches for a starting left tackle.
Wow.
Yeah, or a starting defensive tackle.
And that matters.
That's
for
the
hand
magic
play.
number. Yeah,
When you're doing
because
the fucking jujitsu, when you're battling to get hand placement, like hand size, I can get my fingers around your wrist and your thumb easier than you, and get your arm out of the way and get.
Yeah, all that matters.
Exactly.
Shit matters. It matters, man.
Exactly. So then we'll move on to that
Yeah, when I reach
4.4640.
into you, it's cute. I'm quick. I'm small. Adorable. But when you just grab my entire hand and collapse it, like it doesn't matter what I do with my wrist. I'm just in you.
Exactly.
That's
Now
right.
combine all those
Right in the taint.
Now,
I'm in a gay.
now
I'm in a
combine
gay.
all those physical measurements with a 4.4640 yard dash and a 40 and a half inch vertical
What's
leap.
a shuttle?
Okay. He didn't do the shuttle. His 10-yard split was 1.54 seconds. But to frame it, a 4.4640 yard dash is what most of like the second tier running backs and wide
right,
receivers are running on just a speed level. Not like
But-
an overall grade,
our
but just like on a
defensive
speed
ends-
level.
But our defensive ends aren't running 40 yards unless they're chasing somebody down. So that's why I asked what the shuttle was, because I want to know what his acceleration is, not his overall.
Right,
speed.
right. And he didn't do that.
Unless he's going sideline to sideline, I guess that could matter.
On my perception of his like explosiveness and burst and acceleration when I was watching the film, he ranked,
I think
near a 90
since
out
he
of 100.
takes a wide receiver.
Near a 90 out of 100.
Wow.
Like 87, 88
Well, they got to
out of
go
100.
wide receiver if Higgins wants out, right?
Right.
And there's and Brian Thomas Jr. still on the board is a nice value here at 18.
Here's a shocking reality no one's ready to talk about yet. Jamar Chase is not a number one wide.
Wow.
He's a
Chase,
two.
you might be right.
He's a two. When he's the only guy on the field, like if you have to run an actual like a left back, you know what I mean?
See, he reminded me so much of Odell Beckham Jr. that's why I came off of him just a little bit
Sorry, I meant
from
22.
his
You're
junior
right.
year with Burrow and Chase
Yeah.
to his senior year after that. That's where I came off him just a
wow,
little
they
bit.
took
Was
the
he
mountain.
rubbed me that same way?
Wow.
That's a
This
big
guy's
reason.
a mountain.
This
No, this
guy's
makes
so
sense.
injury prone.
This
This
guy
guy's
is,
so
though.
injury
He's
prone.
injury prone.
But it makes
Yeah,
sense.
this is
though.
Greg Oden.
But this makes sense though, because again,
This is Greg
you've got-
Oden.
even though you have Joe Burrow, you've had a porous offensive line. his entire career.
Yeah, and they lost him for the whole season last year
You can
because of
sign
that.
a wide receiver. You could trade T. Higgins for another wide
This
receiver.
draft is so deep, you're going to find undrafted free agents that are
Right.
going to
in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
right, and they're going to make
Oh,
teams.
you said undrafted.
Undrafted. This draft is so deep, you're going to find undrafted talent that's going to make rosters.
Great point.
Especially at skill positions like running back and wide receiver, maybe linebacker probably too.
Oh yeah,
You're right. And not only are you right, it was stupid of me to be like, well, you got to go wide receiver. As soon as you said, well, it's a deep draft, I'm like, yeah, of course. And you have a porous offensive line and a franchise quarterback. Of course you're going to go tackle.
I figured that
Of
the
course you're going
over-under
tackle, right?
was wide receiver because the fact that T. Higgins is probably going to walk or they're going to have to trade
The
him.
fucking Vikings went and grabbed 2 great.
Unbelievable.
A plus.
And
I can't
and
believe it.
I hate to say it. A
I gotta
plus.
just trust you on this defensive guy. I did 0 scouting. I gotta trust you on it. I gotta trust. Especially if you're a rival and you're not hating on it. You're like, oh, this is a great pick. Okay.
Yeah,
It's got to be a great pick.
I'm an NFL fan before I'm a Packer fan, so that helps as well. I can look at the league in an unbiased way, except for the Cowboys and the Chargers.
my big board, which is very much my own, it's authentic. It's, you can say it's stupid or you can say it's brilliant or anywhere in between. But like my personal big board had Dallas Turner as the number 2 player on my big board. Marvin Harrison Jr., as I mentioned earlier, was my number 1. Dallas Turner scored as my number 2 player in this draft class on my big board, followed by
overall?
Yes, overall, he was my number 2 guy on my big
Who
board.
was number 1? Jaden Daniels?
No, number 3 was Jaden Daniels. Number 1 was Marvin Harrison Jr. Because he just seemed like the most surefire, can't miss. Like, I mean, there's no way he's not
Really?
good at all this shit. But I swear to God, Dallas Turner, in my fucking bullshit here in my notebook, ended up being overall number 2 in this draft class. If we're not giving any value to position or anything like that, just raw best player available. Because if I want to incorporate position value, then he's more of the 5 to 10 range probably. But
They called Cousins while they're on the clock to give him a small heads up that they were taking a quarterback.
Jesus,
Is that what he
is
said?
that what
That's
they
what he
said?
just said.
Oh my God. I'm a little surprised that all 6 quarterbacks went in round
And
1,
now Cousins wants more guaranteed money.
but that drop off is real. The drop off at QB from those 6 to the
Yep.
next quarterbacks is real.
Yep.
I only have 3 on the next tier.
Rattler's interesting.
2 of them
Rattler.
have serious injury
Spencer Rattler?
histories.
No.
And the other one is Milton, who just has raw physical
Yeah.
tools, but absolutely no,
So Keith-
consistency with applying
Keith
them.
Brooks,
So
my Raiders fan, very bummed out with tight end pick, right? So he was asking about Rattler. I mean, in their position, that's about as good as it gets right now for him.
see, I don't like Rattler at all. I have Rattler as at the top of that 3rd tier of QBs in this class, but that's just me. That's just
He was
me.
MVP of the Senior Bowl. Rattler. Whatever that means.
Jeremy Blake
I
said
mean,
J.J. McCarthy.
If you like
is
Caleb
Jasper
Williams,
Jenkins.
you're going to like Spencer Rattler too. They're the same type of guy. They're undersized. They
Yep.
throw on the run. They avoid the sack.
Yep.
They got fairly strong arms. They're not consistently accurate. They don't always make the best decision
Rattler's
with the ball.
plucky.
Yes, but they've got some of that moxie
Yeah.
to them a little bit. And I think that's probably Rattler's biggest asset is his moxie.
I'm saying him with Antonio
but
Pierce in
I
Vegas.
just-
Right now, what else are you going to do? Go into 2 times against Mahomes with Minshew?
For QBs yet, I love Travis from Florida State before he got injured, even though he's undersized.
Yes.
Milton as a raw long-term project from Tennessee, I like a lot too. And Michael Pratt from Tulane, who also had, multiple injuries over the last several seasons. Everything he does have on film is really good.
Right.
But so those are really the only 3. And then it's another big drop-off where we get to Rattler and guys like Sam Hartman, I guess, out of like Notre Dame. But
Milton, I forgot about
that's
him, yeah.
starting to get to garbage time
Right.
once we get to that point.
You're literally getting lucky. You're just getting lucky.
Yes. You're totally hoping for that Brock Purdy, blind dart throw
Right.
at that point. And so, like, I'm just saying that, like, however you see it,
I don't
there's
know how
3 to
much of a
4
blind
quarterbacks.
dart throw Brock Purdy was.
Well,
There's
Shanahan knows his
only-
shit, yeah.
Well, no. I'm
But
not
on
sure he
paper,
does,
there's
'cause he
only
drafted
3 to
Trey
4
Lance in
guys.
the
Right.
same fucking draft.
Right.
Well, he was perfect
that was
for their
dumb.
system.
That was dumb.
I'm just saying, like there was people talking about Brock Purdy, and I remember watching Brock Purdy in college, and I was like, God, this guy's legit. Like, And I couldn't tell. I was like, but I don't know anything about this Iowa system, right? Because he was Iowa State, right? And I was like, I don't know anything about this system where I'm like, I can't translate whether Brock Purdy's going to actually succeed. But I couldn't see anything where I was like, he's definitely not going to work out. And I make that call a lot. And I make that call with high-end draft picks at the quarterback position. So I'll be like, no, this is not the fucking guy. Don't draft him at all. And again, where I started, why I keep bringing up Trey Lance and Justin Fields is because that's the first one I did on the podcast. And I did it. Here's how early I got on this train. The season hadn't even ended. And I was like, by the way, I want to do this. Next year's quarterbacks? No. These two? No. And I never got off that train. So that's why I'm bringing this up, because when we get into these obscure...
Great pick.
When we get into these obscure, especially with Aaron Donald and the other defensive tackle they have...
Donald retired.
Did he? Yep. He might come back.
Now watch the tape on this guy. This guy's fucking impressive.
He's great. Yeah. Holy shit, he's great.
Yep.
He plays with so much power and burst. Oh, my God. Very productive against the run. Great pass rusher.
Here's the fear. Do you know why guys go to Florida State?
Because they're stupid.
They not go to class?
Because they're immature.
Yeah, no, it's literally because it's the lower of the standard. It's why Notre Dame and Minnesota.
He loans guys over, though. Look at that.
But you know what you get out of that? You get that fire, though. You get the fire to balance it.
I love it.
It's why Notre Dame and Minnesota will never, ever win the national championship, because their education standards are simply too high. It sounds fucked up to say out loud, but it's literally true. So this is what worries me about Florida State guys, is like it's a party school. It's like a legit party. It's like Arizona State. It's an actual party school. Bert Kreischer went, for God's sake. I'm serious.
Say no more. Say no more.
I'm just saying, like, it's a literal party school, and it's because these guys weren't smart enough. Now, I get it. Book smarts, book intelligence does not translate to football intelligence. I understand. But that's why I'm like, when I hear about Florida State guys, I'm like, Now, here's a great example. For a while, guess who is great? Dalvin Cook, Florida State, right? So take it with a grain of salt. Dante Culpepper, Florida State. Great until he had a knee injury, and then he was ass. Take it for what it's worth.
Culpepper was bailed out by his incredible core of wide receivers.
Right.
Let's be
and
honest.
his giant
he just
size,
threw
he
a
couldn't
moon
be
ball.
sacked.
He threw a moon ball.
He couldn't be sacked.
Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was a freaking linebacker back there.
Right. He was 264 pounds coming out of college. He was bigger than most defensive ends at the time. So when these defensive ends would come around the corner, he would literally shrug them off and then just toss it, like you said, moonball to Moss. It was incredible, dude.
Because Moss, Carter, and Reed, they could catch anything.
But as soon as he had the knee injury, it exposed him that he doesn't have the ability to outrun any of his problems. And once he's 100% required to go pre-snap, make a decision, and then make that one or two Tom Brady level calls after the snaps happen, a Brett Favre level where it's like I seen him make a step to his left 6 times when we ran this play. So before the snap, I said, if he does this again, do this instead. Touchdown. Dante Culpepper was never that guy. That's what you need if you want to win a Super Bowl. Those are the guys you need. And those guys are always pocket passers unless it's Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
Unless it's Russell Wilson. Once. Right? But once Russell
Wilson...
They're a
once-in-a-generation talent.
Right. And Russell Wilson, I'm 100% certain, is very much like me and has suffered severe head. Why he's gotten so weak.
Right.
Like, he was a great...
Oh, yeah.
He was and when you hear him in interviews, he's not the same guy that he was Mr. Unlimited. Fuck.
I mean, look at Roethlisberger. Look how crazy he got, and that was because of the concussions.
That was drinking. He mellowed out, dude.
He kind of did. I mean, the drinking and the head
He
trauma.
mellowed out
I thought he became
after
a
he got
family
accused
man.
of sexual assault
Yeah.
and battery in a
Twice.
nightclub. Yeah,
Twice.
basically.
Which never happened either time.
That's what forced
and then
him
there
to-
was a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, where he almost died.
And then didn't he get married and have kids and fucking like just completely? And that's when he won the second Super Bowl. And am I?
No. He won 2
two
Super Bowls and he calmed down, and that's when he threw the Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone to beat Kurt Warner.
That's what I thought.
Roethlisberger?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
After he got accused of sexual assault in the booth.
Yep,
Yep. Then he calmed down.
Because he was partying a lot. He was a
No,
drinker.
he was partying a lot.
He, was
He
a
would get
drinker.
fucking hammered
He
and
was
out
a
of control.
drinker.
He was Miami of Ohio, wasn't he?
He was very
yeah.
much like Brett Favre.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
much like. Dude, the early stories of Brett Favre are so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like to be a Packer fan, like how old are you?
I'm 46.
So
Steelers got to be
old
loving where
enough.
they're at 20
So
right
you're
now.
old enough. So were
Trade
you
down
ever,
looks great. Wide receiver looks great.
God damn it, Scotty, I
Defensive
was
back
trying to
looks
say
great.
something.
Sorry.
So were you old enough? Were you ever at any of those restaurants or bars? Did you ever see any of this where he would come in and hang out with the people and
Oh, yeah.
buy the round,
Oh, yeah.
buy the bar? Were you ever there? Did you ever experience that person?
I personally didn't. My uncles have.
Okay.
I have an uncle that does live in Green Bay. But what I also understand about Favre is towards the end of the night, he had a mouth on him, and when he got drunk, he started getting a little ornery, and at one point they kicked down a lot of the bars in the Green Bay and Appleton area he's been kicked out of.
Here's
So-
your guy.
I find
There
that
he is.
extremely believable.
Cam Newton.
Okay, so listen. We're gonna go silent for a second. Guys. Listen
speak
to this.
and he will appear.
Listen to him talk. Watch this and listen. Okay, just wait till fucking Cam starts talking.
Gonna go fucking Russell Cattle.
Look at him. He's so cringe already.
I thought he was trying
Fuck
to pimp her
off.
out.
Fucking
you kidding
phony,
me?
You phony poser fuck.
I seriously thought he was trying to pimp him out.
See, everybody
Pimp
in chat was
Newton
like,
here.
everybody in chat was like, Jared's being a weird hater on Cam Newton tonight. No, I'm not.
No.
He's fucking cringe.
He's an
dude.
idiot.
This guy is so gross.
Look at him.
Like
He's
delete
dressed like he
this.
thinks he's Beyonce right now.
Dude,
No,
delete
This
he does.
dude
Right,
straight
right.
looks like a
He does.
pimp.
delete this and never do this again. NFL Network. This was a bad decision.
Why
and
does he keep
never
getting
do this
chances?
again.
Is the question I have. Why do you keep giving this guy chances? He just beat up a parent.
Because he's
He
probably
said
part of the
dumb shit
Illuminati.
over and over and over.
He probably is part of the Illuminati. He worships the devil. Whatever.
I got my one of choice that I could say. Whatever. Fucking yeah, you're probably right about that. This motherfucker. No, we
You
don't.
dig what
we
I'm
don't. No, we
saying?
don't dig what you're
Like,
saying.
dude,
no, we don't.
No, I
That's
do
a
not
pimp
dig what you
statement
are
if I've
saying.
ever heard one.
He's so cringe. Like the
That
thing
would
that
qualify
bothers
as a
me-
pimp statement.
Do you
Yes, it
guys,
would.
do you guys know the statement? He's an everyman.
I do know the statement. He said, "Yeah, it's a blue collar statement." Yeah,
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
So what it really means is you can appeal to the average man.
Yeah.
Right? He actually heard that and thought, "I'm going to try to appeal to every man." So he tries to dress like a pimp. He tries to fucking talk like he's a white dude, but also try to use black slang all the time. He tries to sit down and smoke cigars and drink whiskeys like
so he's
he's
just a fucking
badass.
poser.
Right?
With
He
everything.
tries
Yeah,
to talk
that's
and act
what I
like he's
said.
tough, but he's actually soft. Like
Phony poser.
dude,
he's
he
a phony
tried-
fucking
but
poser.
the specific type of poser is he's literally trying to be every man all at once. And it's like, bro, I'm kind of an everyman, including like I can fucking dress up nice and I clean up well, but it's you do it in phases. Like tonight, I'm a gentleman. Tomorrow, I'll fucking do a fucking farmer's blow and chop wood because I'm in the middle of the woods. You don't do it all at once, you
Correct.
fucking retard.
Okay, I mean,
Like,
yeah, he's
fuck,
taking one
dude.
too many shots to the head, man.
He
Cam
makes
is in
me
love with
so
the idea of
uncomfortable.
everyone being in love with him.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's not just in love with himself. He's in love with the idea of other people being in love with him. That's
Of
like
everyone.
Because he
That's
has an
everyone.
inflated sense of self.
like the old Shakespeare thing. He's in love with love. He's in love with other people's love of him.
Correct.
100%, 100 million percent.
You said it, dude.
I like the way you reworded it there at the end, though. Best. Like,
that's a narcissist for you.
An actual bona fide.
That's an actual narcissist. I mean, that's the one time it qualifies. Okay?
Nailed it.
No, it does qualify.
You guys nailed it.
we all nailed it.
Well, thank you for backing me up on my initial instinct of him from 4 hours ago before I started drinking.
I was on that page with you in the beginning because I've seen it.
You hit it spot on, and he just magically appeared to nail it home.
Oh, my God, dude.
It was actually perfect
cringe,
right
dude.
there at this point in the podcast for him to appear on there with a fucking cowboy hat.
It's so
and he had to wear that
cringe.
outfit to walk right into it.
Have you seen what Beyonce has been wearing on her new like artwork for her new country album and like her new, you know, like when she's at the Grammys and this whole country push is making? That is exactly
Beyonce and country album don't belong in the same sentence.
Literally, Cam Newton broke into Beyonce and Jay-Z's fucking house, grabbed the first thing he could out of her closet before the goddamn dogs got to him, and fucking jumped out the fucking window, man. That's what Cam Newton. Who are you? Hey Cam, great outfit. Who are you wearing tonight? Oh, this is Beyonce.
Right.
I'm wearing Beyonce.
Right.
No, like literally.
Right.
Beyonce's dress with Jay-Z's jacket.
Yeah, well, no, let's talk about that for a second here, man. I'm just talking. Why is everybody trying to be a motherfucking cowboy?
I love how cultural appropriation doesn't apply to this particular instance of blatant and really stupid.
Here's the thing.
cultural
I don't
Stand for
appropriation.
nothing and you get things like this.
Let's be real. I could give a fuck about nothing about anything. But like what you're saying is true. Okay, let's just be real. Why are you trying to be a cowboy? You're not. If you're not a fucking cowboy, don't be a cowboy.
You know how people, you know how people would treat any one of us if we tried to be a Rastafarian
thing though, because Beyonce can do no wrong.
Well, no, she'll not.
She's beautiful, and everything she does is perfect.
That's fine. I mean, I don't give a fuck.
That's the real
And what
answer.
color is the
Cameron
sky in your
Newton.
world there?
Listen,
Unicorns and
Cameron
rainbows,
Newton,
baby.
on the other hand,
Beyonce can do whatever she wants because I don't give a fuck about her. Period.
she's a goddess.
Who cares?
She's amazing.
I mean,
everything
yeah,
she does is great.
No, it's great. I mean, fine, she's a great artist.
There's very few people like her where everything they do is like legitimately great.
You know what though, man?
Even her
it's
fucking country album.
She's not changing the world though. That's not changing shit. Not changing anything.
I didn't realize that's the direction we were going.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I thought we were just
it's not
talking
changing.
about her personal choices.
So she can do it. What I'm saying is, it doesn't move the needle for me one bit. I could give a fuck less.
I'm not in
know?
that sphere. Beyonce's just not something.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
care
Good for
about.
you. Whatever. That's great. You're selling
Like-
a bunch of records. That's great.
Right. I respect her hustle and I respect what she's done
It
in the
ain't
industry.
not one bit of it's real.
That's
me,
why I don't listen to mainstream music.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to it because I like hooks. I like infecting people's brains with my bullshit, and so that's
You
why
are good at that,
That's
dude.
why I like pop hooks, and I like lacing that in with heavy metal.
And you're good at that when you write music, dude. Like, I'm not the best fan. You've got a couple one. Like I remember when I was a vocalist doing well, I thought I had enough equity. I remember hitting you up one night. I was all, that's what like fake calls, and so I was like, "Hey, Greg, you had a show booked at a specific venue where I also mattered. I made them a lot of money. So I knew I could pull it off with them, and I was like, I want to come up and sing this song with you. And you're like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work out. And I was like so butthurt because it was like the first time I realized, like, oh, I don't matter. Like, I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy. Like,
Well,
it was one of the first
here's the
ones,
thing.
because it was
It's
it's one of your best songs.
It wasn't that, but here's what I want to put in perspective here. Okay, this is
And
real,
I'm not dissing
This
you
is
for
real
it.
talk. This is real talk.
You had every right to be like, no, dude,
And
because
this-
I wasn't at that level yet.
This
But I
isn't.
thought I was.
This isn't me. I want to preface this by saying I don't take anything. I am nothing. Period. So I have zero head about nothing. But I'm being honest about this. When people perceive that you have something that they can gain from you, the amount of times still that I get hit up by people wanting, and I'm not now. If anybody's listening, don't take this the wrong way because
this doesn't mean don't hit them up.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not shit talking anybody because everybody that I talk to about business
doesn't mean don't hit you up for stuff.
But let's all put it in perspective.
And I'm sure
here
you're
too.
about to
let's
relate
all
to
put
this
it in perspective here too.
I've already,
I get hit up, and I have my since I realized that I was doing something right with music. People hit me up all the time, thinking that they can ride on my dick.
Right.
And so at that time, I just didn't know you. Now, if we were talking, it would be a different conversation. I didn't know you as well, and so I have to.
I think I did it again recently.
I think I was
super drunk.
I mean, I got to tell everybody
that.
I can't. The amount of people that wanted to get on stage at Chad Hanks's fucking going away shit made me sick.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. Same thing. When Prince died.
In their head, they're not doing anything wrong.
When Prince died, it was the same thing, though.
But the reality of it is, you're trying to take advantage of an opportunity to get your fucking face in front of people.
Right.
Yep.
They're all shooting their shot, hoping.
It's to me, it's not.
And that makes perfect sense.
Right.
And I could not have perceived that where I was in my career at that time. Where it was like, no, like I'm dope, he's dope, we kind of know each other. Like things like this happen on the local scene all the time. I'm gonna walk up on stage and sing your song with you. But it was like, no, dude, like stop. Like everybody's trying to do this, but I didn't respect that at the time.
The other piece of it too is that
classic young me not having.
If you want success in the music industry, it's a lot of pro wrestling. Okay, and so creating a brand to a degree is you have to make a perception on the people that you're bigger than maybe what you are. And so
I've said this countless times.
Doing shit like that, even if I would like to, sometimes you have to be a prick in order to surround your fucking castle, and then that's the perception is reality. It's entertainment.
I think you could add
I use that exact comparison with the pro wrestling or whatever you want to call it industry and the music.
The problem is that people take it seriously, and that's when people don't like you.
Primarily the live music, thing. Like, no, I've done that for years and really hard. Like it's about how you sell it.
That's where the Joker persona is like. At a certain point in time, you just fall into it. I'm not the hero.
Oh, here we go, guys.
As far as the audience is concerned, everything that happened was a part of the show.
Exactly.
Never mind.
Everything.
I misread it.
Off the stage, too, if you're going to cultivate a music scene, your bands all have to. I'm sorry, it doesn't work having your metal bands get up in fucking jeans and all be buddies. That's not a show. Okay, that's not a show to build a music scene. What is a show is putting on a fucking production, even when you're off the stage. And now, for a long time, that was getting fucked up. That's unhealthy and unsustainable, okay? So now, being older, you still have to do the same shit, right? But you have to be smarter and more cagey about it. But you have to create the illusion that off the stage, no matter what. And that there's the magic behind that it's elements of saying no when you don't want to.
I can relate to that, even from my perspective, because I'm the roadie. That's what I do. But Roadie J was born simply because two people thought I was something more than I actually was at that time. They gave me that street cred, and because of that, Roadie J exists. Roadie J is like a persona of mine when I'm on the road. And it's the same thing.
Oh, by the way, chat, have we eliminated the echo? Have you guys heard any echo tonight? I want to know that. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. So even for me, just being somebody who assists a band, I get looked at a certain way. Like I have a dude up in Minot that's talking about tattooing me the next time I'm up there for free because he is so moved by this that I talk to him and I'm this traveling roadie, and to him I'm this like super cool guy that he's like totally looks at like, oh, this guy's amazing. Like, I just want to be in his orbit.
Hold that mic a little closer.
Okay, so like this guy's like, I want to be in this guy's orbit, and like, I'm going to tattoo you. So I'm like, cool. So next time we're up in Minot, shout out Justin.
Isn't it weird how, like, when you're not famous, but, like, you just have a little bit of success, you immediately start getting perks? I've talked about that on the podcast a lot.
Oh, you have no idea how much free coffee I've gotten.
Trust me, I haven't.
So with
free coffees.
I get bags of coffee sent to me. It's awesome. Oh yeah, like
nothing wrong with that, man.
Trust me, I got an inkling.
With my Accountability Nation page, I've got 12,000 followers on Twitter, and that story blew up, and I got that sense of ego in the early going. People were telling me all these crazy things, how my life was changing, and all that.
It's a pink cloud.
Thing, yeah. So yeah, I'm on board with that.
It's just super interesting, like how those dynamics.
Oh yeah.
How you perceive certain things, certain people, and we were talking about this, or maybe it wasn't. Somebody said something on Facebook. Oh, it's Dan Copy who's talking about. Some of you that know me well enough know I'm like super into fitness.
Yeah. Him and Kai had this training regimen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I was like, just like
love those fucking guys. Fucking love those dudes, man.
They're great. Yes. They're great people.
Fucking absolutely. And they work their asses off. Could not be. Success comes to good people when they work their asses off. Move them, man. Much fucking love to you guys.
No, but I agree 100%
on that one
with everything you said about this, abstract topic, but very real. And I definitely practice it too. Like, I mean,
it makes it difficult to have friends because people take it too seriously.
It does. It really does.
And then they make it personal. Well, at that point, then it becomes real fucking personal. You know what I mean?
It really does. Yeah. And I don't want to rank anybody, but like as a singer, as the lead singer, I definitely have plenty of experience in all that shit. So like,
and it's funny too. The best part.
Well, we're the head of the snake. I mean, that's just the way that it is.
And but so I consciously,
even if it's not true, we're always perceived as the head of the snake. And I say we because I was a lead singer, and even though you may or may not run your band 100% or 50%, who doesn't matter. Greg definitely is Black Flood Diesel at this point. Maybe he wasn't back in the day.
Well, now what's nice is that now I actually
You're the only original member.
Well, yeah, no, I mean it's my fucking band, but the thing is now I've got guys that I've now I want it to be a band, and now it's back to being a band.
But let me just move on with my stupid point.
I had to make it survive for 20 years myself.
Right, but it's legitimately it's legitimately your deal now, though. Right?
No, it's my deal.
Same thing. Like there were bands where I was the lead singer and it was kind of my deal, and then there was bands where it definitely wasn't my deal, but it seemed like it because I kind of ran it as like the active manager. So I was quote unquote in charge, but I wasn't really in charge. I still answered to the band, but like if the band wasn't around and somebody needed to make a decision, like I made that decision and things defaulted to that way. So people oftentimes as control, even when I fucking wasn't, because I had enough authority in an area. Like, for example, booking shows. Like with Dying Euphoria, I was in charge of nothing, except for booking shows. And technically, I wasn't even in charge of booking shows. I just did the booking, right? But there was moments because I had to have a conversation with the band. I was like, one of the issues we ran into when the other dude ran was we would lose opportunity for great shows because we couldn't get answers back from everybody. So I basically was like, here's how we're going to do this now. We're going to have a Google Calendar, and you need to reserve time off, and then I won't book a show. But if I get offered a sweet-ass show and nobody has that weekend off, I'm booking the fucking show, and then I'm letting you, because we're not going to risk.
Right.
It didn't mean I was in charge of anything. Right. We just delineated how we're going to delineate it. I don't even think I used the right word, but we just expedited the way we made those decisions, I guess. I'm trying to say that. But I wasn't even in charge, but people started coming to me like I was in charge because I was in charge of one aspect of things. But being the lead singer, it gave people this very, very distorted perception of how much I was actually in charge of anything. You're the face. You're the face of the band.
110%. Yep.
And if your charisma's off,
there we go.
Go ahead.
If any of you, as a lead singer, if your charisma's off, and if you're not relaying that energy to the crowd, if the crowd's not connecting with you, the whole band is going to be looked at different. I've seen it at plenty of shows for other bands that have opened for them or bands that they've opened for where they've stole the show because that other band's lead singer didn't have it that.
Well, and the one thing that I just personally, for me, wanted to elaborate on kind of what Greg said was like, because of everything he said, anytime at a live show for me as the lead singer of my band, that it's okay for me to be physically absent from the general public or from everyone, I am.
Yeah.
Okay? A lot of that is conscious to keep that mystique, and that no, there is a little bit of fourth wall here
Right.
between us and shit, and just like kind of preserve a lot of that. But there is a lot of it too that's just my personality, as well. But like either way, like unless it's like the end of the night where I'm at the merch to fucking help make money for like 15 minutes, you need to either know me personally or have some sort of VIP staff paid extra $100 for the ticket or whatever type of shit to get to me at all those other times.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So the two of you have been lead singers for bands far larger. I just cool fucking shit. I played for some legit size crowd, but like what you've done at fucking Rock Fest, what is it, Halfway Jam, fucking Airball, like
Mississippi River Valley State Fair with 3 doors.
Bro, the crowds you played for, Scotty, are unreasonable. And the people that Greg has played with are astonishing. Like if Greg gave you a list of the resume, the bands he played with, the names he played with, you'd be like, are you fucking? Which both of you are so far. But you've also been doing it long. And I'm old. So that means you guys are fucking elderly.
Yeah. It's old.
Old bitches.
Yep.
2 old bitches.
Yes, we are.
I'm joking.
Yes,
I'm
we
joking.
are.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
It's the
No.
I'm joking, but it's true. I'm joking, but it's true.
That's not actually my
I'm
point.
joking, but it's true.
That's not actually my
it's very
point.
true.
My actual point is you guys started a long time ago. And yes, I understand that when you guys started music and when I started music is not directly relatable to the kids who are currently starting. However, the marketing is exactly the marketing is never changed. The mediums might change, might use internet versus XYZ. But you talk about this mystique of like kind of like, I want you to want me, right? That's what we're really talking about.
Played with those guys,
Leave them wanting more. Wanting more. Same thing. Like you don't play a 40-minute set when a 30-minute set will do. You want them to want a 40-minute set, but you only give them 30. If you're really crushing, you give them an encore and it's the 34-minute set. Boom, you're done. Okay? Right? We all understand this. What advice would you give to young local musicians where it's imperative, right, that they do a lot of crowd interaction when they're out there mingling? When do you make that call where it's like, okay, I'm too available now because my band is this big? Is it when you and I came up, because you and I came up not just in similar times, but similar scenes with similar managers.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a number on it, and it was 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
When you could draw 500 people to your band as a headlining band, you were legit.
Yeah, that's a hard number.
Fair.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Sure.
But how do we quantify this so kids aren't always thinking in metaphors when they're trying to take what we're saying, this wisdom,
I just
and they can apply it to their band, even if they can't really relate to the way we did it. How do you gauge that level where you go, okay, I'm too available now, and it's actually diluting?
You could just feel like
popularity,
oversaturation.
Right. So when do you start going, okay, I can't hang out in the crowd. I gotta start going. I don't think that's enough, dude. I think it's got to be bigger than 100 people. Not enough.
No, you got. Yeah.
What do you guys?
Well, I don't know. I just don't hang out in the crowd because I don't like people anymore.
Fair enough. Me too. But let's put that aside.
Well, right.
Let's just think about the business as if we were talking to our little brother starting a band right now. What is the best? When you go, okay, dude, you're driving.
Here's honestly, man. Honestly,
500 people.
I would say, honestly, this would be the best advice I could give to somebody. Don't even think about that. Fucking just write good music and just look inside, and that's where it'll come out because people want the artist.
But they're
dying.
already doing
the artist dying. No, they're not. No, they're not, dude.
Let's say they are in this hypothetical scenario. This hypothetical band, they're doing good.
Yeah.
They're starting to gain steam. Right? If they play 7th Street Entry, they can maybe sell that out. What is that? 180
yeah,
people?
It's 180 people.
Yeah.
If you were to do that, then I would say make yourself scarce. If you're selling out the entry after being a band for a couple years, you make yourself scarce.
Okay.
But also be aware of how much you're selling it out and how much the other supporting acts are contributing
I'm saying
to
if
that
you know it's you,
so don't just assume all those numbers are you.
But if you know that it's you, I'm saying if the buzz is in the air, you know that it's you. Okay. Like the bands are on your dick.
I just wanted to
bands are on
clarify
your
that.
dick, and at that point in time, you have to play the role.
Also,
you have
in
no
this
choice.
point,
Okay, so that's exactly. Thank you. And
if
thank you,
that's what you want to
thank
do.
you, and thank you for not going politician.
If not, then you're fucking AAA.
And thank you for actually
Right.
answering
You have to
the
play.
question and
That's
not
your
dodging
job.
it.
You got to step into the fucking job. Otherwise, you're minor league.
Right.
So
Like-
you don't. You're not really cut out for it then.
Yep.
So
You know what
the
I'm saying?
fucking
You gotta
Club
G up at that
Underground.
point.
So Club
Right?
Underground in Northeast Minneapolis is about the same size. So it's kind of the same idea. Like, and I believe wholeheartedly in this. Instead of trying to do what people still do to this day, which is we're going to go play the Doghouse, which holds 1,000 fucking
Too
people.
big, and it's in White Bear Lake or whatever. It's way to fuck
No.
out there, and cops
Get
pull you
your
over.
ass
and
to
just-
Northeast Minneapolis and sell out a tiny club.
Right. Yeah, pack-
Nuts
pack-
to butts.
pack it,
Let's
pack it,
get
yeah.
everybody nuts to butts. There's a vibe in the room. Stop trying
Yeah.
to fucking half fill these big ass rooms, dude.
You just wanted to say nuts to butts again.
No, it came up, and it's called a callback, Scotty. It's called comedic timing.
Who it is? No, well done.
Who the
well
fuck
done.
is
well
drafting
done.
right now?
You son of a bitch.
I just wanted to point
I
out the
think Philly's
callback
on the
subtly
clock.
for the lower IQ people, that might be.
this is the first
We're
time where
coming
I
up
think
on the Packers pick, so we gotta give your boy some time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. What
gonna give you
what
the
are your
floor
main
here. We're
team
gonna give you
needs
the
like from
floor
a
here.
position standpoint? Like
so for us right now.
Yeah, we're gonna do it now. We're gonna give you the floor now.
We're looking at defense first off.
Yeah, you're loaded.
Yeah, we're loaded. Offense, we're good. I mean, we are looking to replace one tackle, which we're probably going to take up to 3 tackles in this draft. Graham Barton's a name that's been thrown around a lot. I think, honestly, the pick for us is going to be Cooper DeJean, whether that's us trading up to get him or us having him fall to us by some miracle. I honestly see another scenario where if Graham Barton tumbles as well, we trade back up into the first round and grab him, and Green Bay gets 2 pieces to their puzzle because we're in win now mode.
Right.
We went from we need time to grow. We grew on steroids almost because we went from, okay, we're a bunch of kids to we've got swagger, and we gave the Niners a run in that game. I mean, let's be honest.
What? Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry.
So, like for
That
us,
happened to me
the
earlier,
dream
dude.
scenario would be to draft Cooper DeJean, where he can move around the defense with his Xavier McKinney next to him. That duo right there, that's nasty.
what do
Yeah.
you think about trading down?
Why are we not?
The only
watching
reason
this?
I could see us
Is this
trading
not
down.
live? Is this not live right now?
I have no idea.
That's not-
No.
They're
That's
showing
mock drafts
recaps.
on the ticker. That's
Yeah.
mock
Yeah.
drafts on the ticker. Bucky Brooks mock
Yeah.
draft.
Why are we not watching the draft live?
We are.
Oh, it's
We
commercial
are.
breaker. They're
We
waiting
are. They're
for
just
something.
there isn't the info isn't
Yeah.
in. There's nothing to do. So they're still scrolling the experts' air quotations mock drafts on the bottom of the screen.
But why aren't
And
they
then,
showing who the Cardinals picked right there? See what I'm
Because
saying?
for some stupid reason they're just showing what the draft
yeah,
order
they're
was.
showing
Why
mock
are they
draft.
saying next New York Giants? Why aren't they showing any of the results?
They're showing
That's,
a draft
that's a
or a
great-
mock.
That's a great question.
That's what I'm saying. It
That's
looks
a
Yeah,
like
great
this
and in this
question.
mock, they actually had Cooper DeJean mocked to the Packers at 25. That's a dream scenario in and of itself.
Why is it? No, this is the NFL draft
Hold
kickoff.
on. Hold on. We are officially on shit. We are on fucking pick 24.
Yeah, or this is not. We're not watching the right
Live.
thing.
No, I know, but I'm just telling you, as far as live goes, we are currently on pick 24. Steelers went 20, Dolphins went 21, Eagles went 22, and the Jags went 23.
We're way
Um,
behind.
Players
Way
that were
behind.
taken after Jared Verse at 19 to the Rams was my second or tied for favorite, depending on what perspective I want to look
We
at it
missed
from.
a shit ton of
Left
picks.
tackle from Washington, Troy Fautanu, went to the Steelers.
didn't miss
That's a
any picks.
phenomenal fucking
But
pick.
you are right. We
That's a
somehow-
We got
phenomenal
way back
fucking
in the.
pick.
Yeah, but
That's
we
what I
didn't
was
miss
saying.
any
I'm like-
picks.
I'm like, what the?
23's in right now, but you are right. We did go
Yeah,
back.
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
In my
No, good-
opinion,
good heads up.
Steelers
Luckily,
Steelers
we
got
didn't
best
miss
or
any
second
picks.
best left tackle sitting at 20.
Yeah.
And then
Dallas is on the clock.
and then the Dolphins took your boy Chop at 21,
Okay.
and then Quinion Mitchell,
the quarterback.
who I feel is incredibly overrated.
Overrated?
Yep, way overrated. Went
So you're, like,
22
super
to
flaccid
Mitchell.
on Mitchell.
If
Yeah,
DeJean
I'm
doesn't go
extremely
here, he's
flaccid on
going
Mitchell.
25.
And then the Jags really went obvious area of need and BPA with wide receiver out of LSU, Brian Thomas Jr.,
Great pick.
who was pretty much consensus wide receiver 4, and they drafted him at wide receiver 4, replacing Calvin Ridley with him basically. And so that was actually a really obvious and good pick on their part, in my opinion. But yeah, Dallas is on the clock right now, and then Green Bay.
So I
totally agree with you that Green Bay is looking at Graham Barton, offensive lineman, really hard.
I have a feeling the dream scenario could play out where Green Bay does what Minnesota just did. We take DeJean at 25, trade back up to 26th, and pull Graham Barton. We take care of 2 needs right off top, and we'll be able to draft depth to go to the 4-3 in rounds 3 and 4 because we have extra picks.
I got extra good news real quick, and then you again. You can, if you're the Packers, look at that as 3 instead of 2, because you can see Cooper DeJean as both a corner, likely nickel, as well as a fucking safety.
Right.
That's what the prototype for Jeff Hafley's defense.
And you've got some team needs at both safety and corner, so you can look at getting him as scratching 2 needs off your board in one guy.
That's exactly it. And that's why the Packers are looking at him. He's versatile, and the Packers are looking for versatile players. We're going to run a 4-3 this year. It's going to be a lot more aggressive than Joe Barry's defense was last year. Joe Barry just didn't understand how to use the talent that we had on the team. And, of course, some of that talent was young. So we're looking at that. Hafley has a different approach, and they're basically rebuilding the defense on the fly to fit that 4-3 approach with the aggressive blitz packages and such.
Quick question for you, too, with the secondary. Do you think that maybe with everything that's been playing out with Jair Alexander and the team over the last year or so, that maybe with by taking a Cooper DeJean, they would maybe want to prepare for life post Jair, as well as kind of change the culture and attitude of having a diva versus having just a hardworking team, do whatever the fuck you ask of me, I'm happy to do, balls out type of guy like Cooper seems to be.
That is one possibility. Recently, I was reading that it looks like Jair cleared the air with the Packers management, which is a great thing. But who knows how long that lasts? I mean, he's had his first rift with them. A lot of Madonnas that tends to pop up. Look at Stephon Diggs. He's on his 3rd team now because he's a cancer in the locker room.
Detroit just traded back up.
Interesting.
They're taking DeJean.
Are they doing this to fuck the Packers?
They are. They're taking DeJean.
Really? Because they know the Packers want him.
Also, they need the position as well.
Right.
That's what I was going to follow up with. Is it just a spite pick?
No, this is
a double. It's a double.
Yeah,
double entendre.
And I think both.
That's what I was going to say.
So, I think this is going to be DeJean here.
The double.
I could see Wiggins as well out of Clemson. Nate Wiggins, corner out of Clemson. He's my CB1 personally, and I have an inexplicable high hit rate with at least
and they do
my
need
top
defense.
I would love to see that come through just because I want to see DeJean go to the Packers.
Brett Holmes.
I was banging the table the whole draft, saying
like
Jeff Okudah isn't shit. Yeah. Jalen Johnson is the best corner in this draft, and I said that the whole fucking time. And everyone thought I was crazy. Well, look at how that played out for both sides.
Johnson is the man.
So I don't know why, but most of the time I have a good eye for corner.
Well,
I can't tell you why.
You could just tell when Johnson was at Utah that he was going to be a lockdown dude.
Oh, that's a nice trade for both teams, I think.
That shows that Dallas, the player that they're after, is going to be on the board for a little bit.
I really love Brett Holmes, man. That GM might be the best GM in football, I think. What he's done with the line. It started with that Goff trade. They fleeced the Rams. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. That's great, but
you can't say they fleeced the Rams.
Okay, it worked out both ways.
Yeah,
it worked out both ways. They won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
It worked out both ways. But
they got a double happy ending.
Because if that's the Vikings, the Vikings get that and they win the Super Bowl, they're like, they didn't
fleece the Rams.
Everyone got what they paid for. Everyone got what they paid for.
But it rebuilt Detroit to a spot where they haven't been to.
It really did.
Just quickly.
Because if Stafford stays, Detroit did not go to the NFC Championship.
No, they're on a nosedive.
Correct.
They're on a nosedive.
They needed that equity. They needed those picks in order to do what they did.
Combination was not going to work.
Stafford fan.
Yep.
Nothing but good things to say about him. He's a warrior.
I had Dallas flagged as a potential trade down. I like that.
Scary world.
Because
Tuck his tail. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He's a mess down there. Jerry Jones is with the Dak Prescott situation.
It's so bad.
Jerry Jones is the new
They're
Al
all
Davis
fucked
of the
up
league.
down there. Oh yeah, he's a mess, and now he's trading back. They don't know what to do. That's what's going on down there. He didn't know what to do.
Here's what.
So he's trading back.
Here's what I think with Dallas. Actually, I had them flagged as a
there
likely
another beer
trade
there,
down.
Scotty?
Yes, there is. I'll grab it. I had them flagged as a likely trade down, and for this one and primary reason. I felt like where their team needs primarily were like
I love
on
these lights.
interior
I never get
offensive
drunk on
line,
these fucking things.
interior defensive
drink them all
line,
night.
linebacker replacing Leighton Von Air, Van Der Esch or whatever. I felt like their team needs aligned up a lot better in rounds 2 and 3.
Sure.
Primarily with the devalued positions just in general, as well as then this specific draft class, where like, no, they're the guys on their board at positions of need are all going to be more late first, second round, third round guys.
Okay.
You know, so
I hear you.
that was my thing with the Cowboys.
Okay.
There's just way too many guys
I've
available
gone
that
on
they still
record
like.
multiple times talking about how diseased the Cowboys are because of Jerry Jones and his undermining and fucking middling in management.
Al Davis much?
Micromanaging. Yeah, basically.
He is the Al Davis of the league.
Yep.
I think Al Davis willed his meddling to Jerry Jones.
I feel like actually it was the other way around. To be honest. Honestly, all right, I already grabbed one.
If you really think about
He
it, Jerry
grabbed him.
Jones is an awful owner. I mean, after Jimmy
Yes.
Johnson,
yeah.
he's terrible. He's won nothing after Jimmy Johnson. No, Jimmy
Oh,
Johnson's awesome.
After
Jimmy
Well,
Johnson,
you got to
Jerry
thank
Jones
the
has won
Vikings
shit.
for that as well.
and you know they
Oh yeah.
But you know do you know the story behind this? They parted ways because of this. So like it culminated, it climaxed with Barry Switzer yelling, "We did it, and we did it our way." So Barry Switzer and Jerry Jones thought they could do this a certain way, and they didn't need Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson didn't know what he was talking about. And they won one Super Bowl, and then the whole thing fell apart.
Right.
And when you listen to Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, they did not a round table, 3 of them. They were like, if Jimmy stays, we win 5, 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls. Like maybe every year, because Jimmy was the one who built that. But then Jerry got his ego involved,
Right.
and wanted to become the general
Always
manager.
the ego, man.
Yep. And
Always
they parted
the
ways.
ego.
And they parted ways. And the
Pride is
and
the downfall of
Cowboys
man.
have never been relevant since. But he's such a genius marketer because he stayed the most profitable team in the NFL. The most important team in the NFL is the Dallas Cowboys.
It's that's a double-edged sword
They
because
took Terry and Arnold.
Because he's done that, his ego remains so
Right.
big
It's a
that
vicious-
he thinks his opinion matters
Right.
when it comes to picking
Machine
personnel.
to Green Bay.
Terry
That
Arnold.
is a phenomenon. That is who most people believed was cornerback
That's the number
number
one
one.
quarterback, yeah.
That's who most people believed
That's
was
number
the number
one,
one. That was my number 2.
That's my number
I
7.
do have Nate Wiggins out of Clemson
70
as the
on
only
athleticism.
person above him. I like Clemens or Wiggins, excuse me.
Wiggins gets
a little
hit
bit
on
more than Arnold.
size.
But Arnold, Wiggins' size and athleticism and just strength, all the raw stuff with Wiggins is phenomenal.
He loves
and
it.
he's,
He
and
loves
he's
that
a
he's
great
going to
ball
Detroit.
hawk.
He's an
physical
outlier.
and he's a ball hawk
Right.
and he's fast. I love Wiggins.
He's that outlier that teams are going to take later in the draft because they're like, he's got the skills.
Wiggins reminds me a lot of like AJ Terrell for the Falcons, also out of Clemson. But Arnold is really safe. Like he doesn't really have any weaknesses. Like he at least, adequately checks all the boxes. Whether it be coming from a big time program in the SEC at Alabama and a pro player factory, speed, actual technique, and skills when it comes to like hips and fucking feet and handwork and stuff like that. This is a phenomenal value pick at an obvious area of need with the failed Jeff Okudah experiment for the Lions. And this is a massive win for Detroit. Great job, Lions, and congratulations, Lions fans.
So now we're on the Packers. Now we're with your guys.
Yep.
Cooper DeJean's going to
DeJean.
be our pick.
I love that.
You've been calling that for about 4 picks now, too. So
Yeah, Gudicruz, he's...
this is either your... Who was the guy you started hammering in the top 10? And
Turner?
He fell to the Vikings.
Turner,
At
the
17,
steal of the steal of the
That's
first
your
round so
version
far.
of this. You've been hammering this pick, and now it's going to come up.
Oh, yeah. The only other option I see is Graham Barton. The option I'm hoping that I'm going to see is a trade up to 26th.
Is this the first
and
year,
take
by
him
the
back
way?
to back.
Do you see how they put an overall grade on him of 85?
Sure.
Is this the first year they put Madden ratings on like actual prospects?
I think so.
I've never seen numbers showing up like that. Overall,
that's how I try to approach this shit. You know,
I love that so much.
That's how I try to approach this shit.
Scotty, I think you might be
and I am slightly actually. I am probably on the spectrum, and I
think most of us are, especially as
I'm in
musicians.
the ism crowd, bro.
As musicians, we're all either slightly autistic or slightly mentally ill.
I happen
Or both.
I happen to have.
I medicated myself. I mean, I can't focus on anything. Hypersensitive to everything in the environment.
So that's what I'm thinking and going for with this
Chill
stuff.
until I snap.
I happen to have Tyrion Arnold's
up in the head.
overall
That's my
grade.
new theory. Hold on.
Tyrion
Hold on.
okay.
That's my new theory. You can't be a musician unless you're slightly autistic, or you're either slightly autistic or you're slightly mentally ill, or a combination of both. Either way, it usually ends up in some sort of substance addiction.
Yep, 100%.
Because we're searching for our creativity.
100%.
That's why. That's part of the reason I smoke.
I just wanted to numb myself by any means possible to what the fuck is going on around me.
For me, it was absolutely. For me, it was always a numbing.
Yeah.
It's always been a numbing. There's too much going on in my brain. There's too much going on out here.
I can't deal.
I smoke a little bit of weed, and then everything quiets down, and
Same
I can
here.
go, all right, let's focus on this.
I also thirst for chaos too, just in my blood. There's a piece of that too. Like,
Do you think it's conflict resolution?
No, it's just I love chaos.
No, but do you think it's because? So for me, I learned I sought chaos because it gave me a problem to solve.
No.
It gave me something to focus on. So when things were going really well, I would self-sabotage. So I would have a problem to fix. I would have a drama to overcome. I would have an inspiration to write music over.
There's a core part of my belief
system. This was basically
system
until I was like 30. It took me a long time to.
There's a core part of my belief system that believes that humanity is a plague, and that on Earth was meant to be a system of chaos, and that the universe is better off that way.
Well, we are chimps.
God, I wish I was good. I wish I was going to elaborate on anything you guys just said, but I just wanted to get back to football. I just wanted to get back to Tyrion Arnold and what you said, because I try to pay as little attention to how other people rank and view these people as possible. I mean, but that's impossible. But so it just so happens that on my chart, which is I go for Madden type of overall ratings or perspective on it, putting a number to it. I have Arnold's overall rating at 84.81.
Okay. Wow.
So we would round that up to overall 85.
Yeah.
And he just fucking said
85.
that that's what it
So
said.
you
or whatever.
nailed
And that's
Arnold's
the
rating.
only reason that I really wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
Is like, dude, if that's what that matches my scouting on him literally to the fucking T.
Wow.
It just so happens that I feel a little bit stronger about Nate Wiggins from Clemson than other people do. I have Wiggins at an 85.58. So like not quite 1 point better,
That's for my wife.
but almost
This dude
1
looks
point
like a
better.
dog.
That one was for my.
This dude looks like a fucking.
Wiggins.
No, Arnold is either the best or second best corner in this draft, in my opinion. Like it's either him or Wiggins, but I think Mitchell's horribly fucking overrated. Horribly. He's one
Who
of
is
your
that?
combine wonders.
Who's that?
Quinion Mitchell or this guy?
Who's this?
Oh, this would be the Lions guy, which was Tyrion Arnold. Which again, like at 24 or whatever the fuck they got him, like
That was a value.
that's insane value.
I think
Most
he has
mocks
the
had him between
highest-
like 11 and 15, right?
Right.
Doesn't this guy have like the highest?
That's
Like-
very possible.
Like
Oh yeah, he's
he houses interceptions.
Wow. Love with
Very
the
possible.
second highest passing touchdowns last year. Did not realize that. Wow.
yeah, and for
Very
Green
impressive.
Bay,
Very impressive.
If you do want to nitpick on chinks in Arnold's armor, it would be like run support, strength, just those kind of one-dimensional. Most teams don't really care about their corners being good at that shit kind of stuff. But like great IQ, great speed, great fucking technique.
By the way, I don't know if I said it loudly enough earlier. Michael Penix's ass.
Michael Penix's ass.
Michael Penix's ass.
I'm just
Here we go.
You
Here we
can't
go.
shit the bed any grander than that.
No, you can't.
Dude, Michael Penix. Dude, he has a 47% completion percentage outside of the pocket.
Oregon.
Oh, and then the Packers are number 2 for
Didn't
shitting
see
the bed
that
right
one
now. I'm
coming.
sorry.
How do you feel about this?
I had him ranked as the second best tackle option that we were looking at.
Interesting.
I would have rather had Graham Barton over him, but we have to replace John Runyon. He went to the Giants.
No
in the
more Bakhtiari.
Well, he's been gone for 2 seasons.
Sure,
Let's be honest,
right.
with all the injuries.
But I mean, you gotta restock the cupboard.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at the pick, but
Right, so what you're saying is you're actually down 2 tackles.
The
not
idea
Because
that
Bakhtiari has been gone to what you're saying, but he's now technically off the roster.
Why not go
Correct.
Guyton, though? Why not
I
go
know
Guyton?
nothing about this guy. I know nothing about this
Me
dude.
neither.
So I can tell you that like most people had Morgan at the end of round 1 or the beginning of round 2 and thought he was like that next tier.
So
of
not
tackles.
a huge reach?
Not tier 1, but tier 2. Not a huge reach by common perception.
whoa, Tampa, that
I
pick
didn't
came
like
quick.
him nearly as much as everyone else does at all. Like I kind of view him as another Fashanu type.
Right.
That like, no, he'll probably get slid into guard and then be good. But until then, like, no, this ain't a left tackle.
Interesting.
You know?
Interesting.
And he doesn't really have a whole lot of position flexibility. Well, I should say with him, it's more of a scheme flexibility. Like he's
Anybody
pretty much a
notice
power
how
gap
quick
guy.
Tampa's pick came
but
in?
like
Immediately.
to me,
almost immediately.
To me, if you want to tackle, there's
There was
better
somebody
guys
there they
yet. If
wanted.
you want to guard, there's better guys yet. If you want to center, there's better guys yet. So that's to me where it is a reach.
Right.
But like from common projections, it's not that far of a reach. They just need to be right about him. And I didn't care much for him.
Yeah. Well, you were all about DeJean.
Like
I was in the fan base,
Yep.
and all the mocks that I saw collectively through all the podcasters that do that for the Packers, DeJean was pretty much the consensus. I know there was an outlier group that's like, no, DeJean isn't the guy. To me, DeJean was the guy that was going to help us in that secondary for the next 10 seasons, and
Wow.
he may still be, unless that's who Tampa immediately picked, like they couldn't believe he fell to them.
Carlton Davis signed with the Eagles, right? Davis,
I think that's right.
the third.
I think that's
so he's
right.
off with
Yeah,
the Bucks
yeah.
now. So they need a corner.
Yes, correct.
Is the guy from Toledo gone?
No, Mitchell is not gone.
Okay.
I think Arnold was the first DB off
He
the board.
was. Arnold was the first.
Well, so there's some good corners left.
Oh, yeah.
You can have your pick between Mitchell, Wiggins, Kool-Aid, Cooper.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah, Kool-Aid,
Yeah,
Cooper.
Kool-Aid. He was
Cooper
in the
as
mix,
well.
too.
Bama's secondary was loaded last year.
Yeah. Big
Yep. But yeah, to go back to Madden, I have Morgan at like a 81.5.
Okay, wow.
Pretty much. And I think there's a handful of 82s to 83s still available. And there's one guy who I think is an 86 to 87 yet available. But it's hard to really know what that guy's film looks like because it's Kieran Amagaji, left tackle out of Yale. And
I've heard a lot of things. Yeah.
Given the competition that he's playing against and the game speed that
Sure.
he's playing at relative to all the other pieces, it's hard to really trust for sure what you're seeing on the film is actually what you're going to see against like SEC competition or NFL level competition. So
I gotta ask
that's
you a
the
question.
question mark with him. Yeah.
Here we go.
So when you're rating these guys and you say he's like an 87, so is that 0 from 100 based on the current rookie class, or is that 0 out of 100 as if they were to go into a starting Madden?
Realistically, it's based out of 7 to 9, with 9 being a Pro Bowl caliber
So
player
8.5.
and a 7 being you have no business being in the NFL.
Okay.
And an 8 being you're a mediocre mid-level starter or backup or somewhere around
so
that
it's more
nature.
like an ABC.
And then I go by quarter increments, so like 7.25, 7.5, 7.7.
Because when I'm hearing 87, I'm thinking like this guy is like an automatic starter, and like I'm trading Danielle Hunter for him to make room for him on the roster. Like, because I'm thinking in Madden ratings, like that's what I'm seeing on the screen. It seems like they're doing Madden ratings up here. He's 85 overall. Okay, well if you're saying he's 85 overall, dude, like That's a veteran starter with a lot of experience.
Exactly.
I'm going, I need that guy on my roster. I'm re-signing him, whatever, right? He may not be a franchise, but if he's a rookie at 85, that's a franchise building player. So when you say he's 87,
85 is solid.
I just got to get that gauge. So
85 is solid.
Sure I understand what the fuck you're saying.
85 is a solid starter contributor.
Well, one of you guys do
90 is a fucking Pro Bowler. 80 is a borderline starter or backup.
Yeah, will you grab me a
cigar
like
that's
like,
like
on the top shelf?
That's kind of what I'm looking at with what I'm doing is like an 85 is a solid starter.
Yep.
A 90 is a stud. An 80 is a semi-starter or competent backup. So like that's kind of just like what my range or scale is looking to do. But the challenge, biggest challenge I have with it more than anything is trying to separate and quantify and differentiate where they're at right now to what perceived potential ceiling is.
Right.
And then how do I score those two different things into one score?
No, I get it. I just had
like,
to clarify it. I had to because I'm thinking 87. I'm like, that's like, how is he even here right now? Like, there's like 8 players total. If you're going Madden draft, right? If you're going Madden rating, there's 8 total players that would even have an 80 or above rating at all.
Exactly.
But that's not how you're doing it. So now,
I'm just
caught up.
Different numbers.
Ooh,
I've just got different numbers.
You're welcome.
I know you didn't know what you were doing. I know.
That's beginner's luck, bro.
No, these are great. These are all.
Oh yeah, but like eventually someday I'd like to evolve into having 2 separate grades for everybody, a floor grade and a ceiling grade.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's like my ultimate. Like, okay, I feel like I've gotten this as quantifiable as I can get it.
As you see,
by my eye,
as
in my opinion,
hitting right consistently, you can take it to the next step. Right.
Yep.
That's great.
And opinions are always going to differ because some guys are going to want like an anchor immovable mountain more than I want like an athletic fucking guy who can move.
Experience, buddy.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Graham Barton.
Solid.
Duke. Yep.
The most position flexibility in the draft for offensive linemen.
Trade back into the first round and take DeJean. That's still a possibility. I think it would be.
Census best center. That's all everybody was saying.
I disagree. I strongly disagree. Okay. I think if you're talking specifically center, that conversation is Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. Then you can talk about Barton at number 2 pretty consensually. But like to me, the big thing with Barton is he started at left tackle for Duke for the last 3 years. Before that, he started as a freshman his final 6 games as their center. And from just like a measurables and a skill set and all the stuff that I can try to put a number to, he reminds me a shitload of Ezra Cleveland, where just like you translate to an NFL guard, that's your thing. Like you can be good at guard. You'll probably struggle a little bit at tackle. You're kind of big to be a center, but hey, if you want to do it, whatever. His ability to literally play at a starter level at any of the 5 spots on the line is where his true value
him as a center.
Comes in.
Here's what I wonder. Right?
Well, that's what NFL Network is calling him. That's not necessarily what the team who drafted him is calling him.
Almost always.
You're right,
whatever they report is on that fucking card.
You're right, though. Yep.
Because they get a copy of that card, and that's because I've seen this happen with DBs where they draft him as a safety. People are like, but he's not a safety. No, this team says he's a fucking safety, and he fucking plays safety.
You're very right about that.
And I've never seen that go the other direction. So you might be right, but that's why I'm saying they drafted him as a center. So here's what my question is, man. My question is pretty straightforward. Are they viewing the center position as a position that needs to get bulkier? Because you said he's a little big.
Good. I love this guy.
Hold on. I'm fucking asking a question. So we're getting behind like they usually do. So, this center, you said he's a little oversized to be a center. Are they potentially, Tampa Bay, viewing the center position as a position that needs to get bulkier because we're looking at things like the push-push. We're looking at defensive tackles like Vita Vea, these mammoth-sized human beings with unprecedented size and strength and speed and acceleration. Are we starting to say we got to go to 320 at center?
No.
That's very
possible?
very possible.
That's what I'm asking. Is that possible?
Because sports science with a lot of these players, they are becoming a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and a lot faster. The game is a lot more dangerous than it's ever been before because these they're just pure physical specimens. They come in, running backs come in the best shape of their life. They're lucky to get 5 seasons before they're relegated to a backup if they can catch the ball. But the reality is, peak condition for a 6-year run where if they're lucky, they may see 10 million.
Coming into this draft, I had the Buccaneers' offensive line needs viewed as they could use a center, and they could use one guard, and they could use a right tackle. The only thing really locked in here is Wirfs at left tackle and maybe one of the guard spots. So to me, that's another thing where like Barton makes a ton of sense with his position flexibility. They probably intend to start him out at center, but don't be surprised if he ends up being a lot like Elton Jenkins. From the Packers and just gets plugged and played literally wherever there is the biggest need for it because he has that really great, unique flexibility and versatility.
Very valuable.
That's why I was hoping the Packers would get him because he can move around. He is reliable on 3 different positions, and in today's age, that's important to have those kind of players.
Yep. I mean, style-wise, he's different from Jenkins, but like overall, there's a lot of real good similarities with him as well.
Think about it this way: we're about to invest a franchise worth of money into our quarterback.
Right.
You want to give that guy as much protection as possible.
Yep. This is true. The tackle made sense.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy with that pick.
you think the Packers are probably or likely to trade back up?
I think it's likely.
Not probable.
We got 5 picks.
I could see it happening because Goody was all about DeJean in a lot of different pressers. Maybe that was a smokescreen, and maybe he really wasn't about him. We'll find out, but I really seriously think that us trading back into the first round to get DeJean is very possible.
I think you can get him in round 2, personally.
Bankrupting your draft?
We had 13 picks coming into this draft. We have equity.
They've got 2 fourth-rounders. You're picking 41 and 58, so
yeah.
You can probably just sit at 41 towards the top of round 2 and let him fall to you maybe 2.
That was another thing that they've talked about is moving back up from that 41 back into the first round.
Nope, I think you might get him like how McCarthy fell to the Vikings at 11. Cooper might fall to you guys at 41.
That would be a dream scenario.
Like where that would make him pick 9 of the second round? Like,
yeah, I mean
I think he's worth the trade up though if you guys chose to do it.
That's why I see to make sure you get your guy because he shouldn't have been on the board as it was. They were projecting him to go between 18 and 23, anywhere in there. So the fact that he's still on the board and Goody's a guy that's willing to wheel and deal to get the players he wants.
2 second and 2 thirds.
Yeah.
You got 2 in each of the next 2 rounds.
Exactly.
Historically, you guys draft Packers. Draft better than anybody in.
Yeah.
But I feel like you guys haven't beaten any other NFL in the first round of I feel like something weird has happened. I'm still not sure. I know you guys are.
I'm not either, but
I know you guys are.
He gave us, this is what I say, he gave us 6 games where he really excelled, and those playoff games. So for 8 games, he looked...
playoff one.
Yeah, the other one, he still played...
He was all right.
He still played a effective game.
He smoked Dallas, and then he shit the bed in.
Yeah, so...
Who was it?
He was on a heater the last half.
San Francisco.
Here's what it was. He was on a heater the last half of the year. Flat out.
Right.
So we'll see if that's sustainable because that was a fucking heater.
That's the whole thing. We're about to give him a franchise-changing contract.
Right.
And
How do you feel about that? Is that a little scary?
It is.
A little bit.
That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. That's what I'm getting.
I mean, I think
For
that's
the same
valid.
reason
I
I
would be
predicted we were
scared
going to
too.
win 5 games last year, because I'm not convinced yet Love is the guy.
8 games is not a lot of games.
He's not the guy.
The second half of the season looked great, and his production was great.
Now there's tape. Now there's an off season.
Right.
That's the thing. Is that
So
Exactly.
we need to see it.
Now
for,
you're starting to speak my language.
Yes.
This is how I usually
right?
talking. So I'm going to let you take over while I go piss.
Yeah.
So because you're also asking the exact questions that I was trying to ask him. So just you do this part, and I'm going to go piss.
Well, it's the reality of it too. When you
Welcome,
win,
co-host Greg Moog.
when you win, it becomes harder to do it the
Right.
next year for the tape reason, for the schedule reason, all the parity reasons that makes the league so great.
You're
So
absolutely right.
That's why they're geniuses for how they built it that way. But now I would be nervous too. I mean, Love was great last year for the last half of the year, but I mean, you're talking 50 fucking million.
That's right.
That's a lot of money.
It is for a sample size of 6 games that were really, really good.
A lot of money.
And I personally want to see that for a full season.
I would
Well,
too.
but looking at your wide receiver core, especially the youth and the depth aspects of it, and then combining that with the same aspects of your tight end group, and then at least 2 or 3 guys on that offensive line that you know what they are and you're confident about in Myers, Runyon, and Jenkins, there really aren't a whole lot of holes on that offense side. Oh, and then Josh Jacobs now to replace Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, there really aren't much areas of question or concern on offense.
They're young too. They're young.
All.
Young
You
too.
You're
know,
right
like,
about that.
The only 2 Qs are, we're 2 offensive line spots. We're looking for a guard and a tackle yet, probably.
And we got
They
our
need a
tackle.
safety now, don't they?
And you just got to
Didn't one of their
tackle.
safeties leave?
And you just
We
got
need
to
a
tackle.
safety.
And you just got to tackle who, if he gets moved into guard and some decent coaching and has the right, mental and internal makeups, could probably be a really successful guard. I don't know if he'll pan out as a tackle, but he could still pan out.
Was it
as a
Amos or the
successful
kid
offensive
from
lineman.
Maryland that left, the safety?
It was Darnell Savage.
Savage from Maryland, yeah.
Yeah, he went to
Oh
Jacksonville.
shit! KC traded up with Buffalo.
Interesting.
All right, we're coming up to the end of
Interesting.
we're coming up to the end of the night here.
Yeah,
We're definitely
this has
gonna
Is
fun.
KC?
I think this is going to be a wide
been great.
receiver.
Is KC going O line? Is KC going wide receiver
I'm
with
going
the Rushy
I'm going
Rice
to say wide
shit?
receiver.
I'm going to say
there's still some good ones on the
speedster
board.
from Texas.
I think wideout's too deep yet, and they're probably going O line.
knowing Andy Reid, he's got a guy.
They're getting
Yeah,
Amagaji.
I'm sure he's got
They're
a guy
taking-
in mind.
Andy Reid is
And it
taking
may
my
not
guy,
be a position of need.
Amagaji.
I mean,
He's
look
taking
what
left
he did with-
tackle, Kieran Amagaji,
But
my
look
guy.
what
That's my
Reid
pick.
did with Mahomes. Traded up for a position that wasn't of need.
Right.
So
True,
you
very
can't-
true.
with Andy
Because-
Reid, you can't go.
I'm going to say
the
the
He
kid
could
that
be
ran
like,
the 4.2.
this guy has
It might be a
unbelievable
fucking
value right
defensive
now.
240
tackle
from Texas,
It
whatever
might
his
be
name
a
is.
defensive
You're
tackle
right.
to go with Chris Jones.
Because it's simple as this. It could be a guy that they can't believe the value is still there for
Right.
this pick.
They might be replacing Legarius
They're like,
Sneed
this is a
in the
top
secondary.
15 guy
That's
They lost
still sitting on the
Legarius
board.
Sneed.
We're
or
going
a
to
top
take
10
him.
guy. Yep. Because
Cornerback,
Michael Penix blew up the board.
Yes.
cornerback or O line.
Dude, Michael Penix at 8.
That was the dumbest shit they could have done.
You guys are going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go
But Kirk
O line
Cousins
or
was like,
corner.
that's where I'm going to end my career, in this asshole organization called
Oh, dude,
Atlanta.
Nate Wiggins here, corner
My
out of
family's
Clemson,
from there.
would
We
replace
vacation there
Legarius
every
Sneed
year.
beautifully because they lost Legarius Sneed this year in free agency.
So
He'd be
corner.
a Wiggins would be a beautiful pick here. A tackle would be a beautiful pick here. Any offensive line. And then wide receiver. Those are your 3 main
So
things.
here's what I'm saying. If the Chiefs don't take that speedster from Texas, then Jerry Jones cannot stop himself. Jerry Jones
I
is
think
a
he's
crackhead
horribly
for that
overrated.
shit.
Let's see if it
I think the
happens.
speedster from Texas, Xavier Worthy,
Yeah.
is extremely overrated.
I think he is too.
I think he's like 3rd, 4th, 5th tier
That's
wide
like
receiver in
a
this
Jerry
class.
Jones special right there. You know what I mean? That falls right into his wheelhouse.
Come on, take my boy Kieran Amagaji.
There he is. There it is. There it is.
Told you,
There
wide
we go.
receiver.
That is a potential pick. You make that pick because you're in a position where you can take somebody based off of potential.
I just knew.
As opposed to where they're at right now.
2.0, is that what they're doing?
He ran the fastest 40 ever. That's the fastest 40 ever.
Yeah.
Faster than Deion Sanders.
That's the fastest 40 ever.
So what I'm saying is this. Why I said that and predicted that is because Andy Reid and Jerry Jones can't lay off the speed. Period. Like, they love this shit.
Right. But the difference is this. Andy Reid can teach you how to be a great wide receiver.
How to play.
Right. Jerry Jones will sell you a lot of Kool-Aid contracts or Gatorade contracts or Nike contracts or whatever.
Xavier Worthy just became one of the biggest winners tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just became one of the biggest winners
the
tonight.
biggest winner.
Well, I mean,
Because
maybe the
he's gonna
Vikings,
compete
maybe
with
you're not
a
going to just
Fair
ball,
enough.
but-
Fair enough.
They signed,
you're right.
They signed
you're
Hollywood
right, you're
Brown,
right.
too, to a modest, like, $7 million deal or whatever.
All right.
But he's the
towards
first
end.
individual person that I went, that
And
guy
we do
won
got to wrap
big.
this up as soon as it's over
Yep.
because it's 10:30.
Yep. No,
I got to work in the morning.
I'm right there with you. I got to be honest, I'm a little proud I stuck that pick this late in the
Great
draft.
job, great
You
job,
know?
great
That
job.
was impressive.
No,
That was,
that is
it's
impressive.
pick 28.
That was impressive.
I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'll take it.
You should do
I'll,
that.
I'll,
was
I'll
great.
take it for that
on
one.
the
You know?
back, dude. Pat yourself on
They,
the back.
they should.
dude.
They could have picked the corner because of Snead. They probably should have.
You Tony Romo'd the fuck out of that.
They
I still
probably
think they should have
they
picked
probably should have
Wiggins.
picked the corner.
Yeah.
Or
whatever
They
corner
probably
they
should have
have.
picked the corner.
Because I mean they'll go one. A couple are gone. There ain't a whole lot left. Maybe 3 to 5 or so. And then there's the drop off. So
Xavier Worthy's family.
Who is this?
Xavier
this
Worthy's
kid?
family.
Oh, that's Worthy?
Here's the 40.
Dallas might take your boy Barton. He's still on the board, right?
Barton's off the board.
Oh, Barton is. Oh yeah, right. He went to Tampa. Duh.
Wow.
I could
Dallas-
see them taking tackle.
Dallas could take the
Why
only
would you
running
even-
back
he probably
here.
never ran a second 40.
No.
Like, why would you?
Well, did he? I don't know if it
You
was.
just
It was
broke
right
the
or wrong.
record. Why would you?
Right.
There's no point at that point.
He weighs like I don't
You
even
got
think
the
he
big
weighs
swing and
170
D at the
pounds.
moment.
He weighs 165 pounds.
I think we're looking at interior line, wide
he's
receiver,
what,
running back,
5'10"?
linebacker,
That's
and
thick.
secondary.
That's thick at
so there's
5'10", dude.
tons of places.
So
they could
That's
go here.
fighting weight
This could
in
be
the cage.
Eugene's-
No, it really
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
dude. Like,
This could go anywhere.
He's cut.
what is Tyreek Hill? 175 at most?
Probably one. I would say $185, maybe.
No,
maybe. Well,
he's no Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin was like 185, 190.
If I had to guess, I'd say Tyreek Hill
195.
5'10", 180. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, let's look it up.
I'm going to go with 175.
I said 175 too.
Well, actually, I'll go 178.
5'10", 191.
Nice,
Tyreek
beefed
Hill
up.
is
Nice.
191 pounds.
Shit, that fucker can move for that much weight.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
That's Percy Harvin.
That's great weight for that height.
Now look up Percy Harvin. When Percy Harvin was in the NFL, I bet he was the exact same size.
I'll put
Do you guys
Percy at an
remember how
inch shorter.
thick
I'll put Percy at like an
Percy
inch
Harvin
shorter.
was?
How do I
And
find
I might
being
even
in the
put
league?
Percy
No,
at
I
like
just looked at
205.
ESPN because he's an active player. Hill is, but Percy, will he be?
I might even
should
put
still
Percy
pop up.
Harvin at like 205. Like
You might be
Percy
right,
might
dude.
be over 2.
Percy
Percy
Harvin
might be
was
over 2.
thick.
He was
dude.
so thick.
I'm going to say 205 for Percy
All right.
Harvin.
That's a good move.
205.
Guyton.
He is Percy Harvin.
I figured they were going to tackle.
It doesn't give us.
Guyton can play both left and right tackle, so
Having
that's
that
a nice
versatility is
value.
huge.
Yep.
It doesn't.
Not giving it. Damn.
Too old.
And definitely matches up with some areas of need for him too, and helps.
Yeah, because I don't
protect-
want to know what Percy Harvin currently weighs.
265.
Yeah, 235.
Just eating fucking hot dogs and
Yeah.
fucking drinking Red Stripe.
Actually, he's probably in great shape now that he's not in the league and he can smoke weed legally.
Yeah.
The migraines is got him. He has those migraines.
Remember,
That is who
Which,
your
by the
team
way-
should have picked if they wanted to go with a tackle. in
Yeah,
my
by the way,
opinion.
I would have.
other than Amagaji, who's
I was
my guy.
listening to this podcast, talking about migraine, and he goes, I'm not saying this will fix it if you just add salt to your diet, but I will tell you that 100% of the migraine patients that I tested are all low on. And the first thing we did is prescribe them a high sodium situation. I don't know if it was I don't remember supplements, just adding more salt to food. I don't know. But basically, he's like, and it cured most of them before we went into any other. There was other people where we had, but yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know what his sample size was, But it was intriguing. And there's things like that where I do.
Oh yeah, our bodies have a way of letting us know that something's off. The problem is we're no longer in tune with our bodies. We're reliant on the medical system rather than reliant on what we did back in the days before
the nature
medical
system.
Yeah, the nature system, which
The
I
hippies
personally
knew,
prefer.
man. That's my line.
Well, the natives did too, and the Asians. They know.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
the
that's what
Eastern
I
medicine.
mean by that.
East-
That's
yeah,
what I
and the
mean by
Native
that.
American. I mean, they all. Us over here, we're fucking whatever. It's a hack job.
And that's what I really mean by that statement.
Yeah.
When I say the hippies knew, I say things like the hippies knew everything. The old people were right about everything.
Yeah.
What I really mean is like they figured all this shit
the native
out a
cultures.
long
The native
time
cultures know what's up.
Dude,
the
and
indigenous cultures know.
Have you seen the video of those African dudes going on a hunt where they run for like 100 miles at full sprint? And the way they do it, they weave in between the bushes like a gazelle. And they just keep going. Like these dudes are truly like in tune with nature.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a different. I'll find the video when we start doing regular podcasts again. I'll remember to pull that one. I want to share it with you guys, and we'll hang out one-on-one and we'll do the podcast.
Nope.
Like that's a video everybody has to see, and we'll bring it back. We'll do that. That'll be part of the view because that's something where you're like, oh, that's what we're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In our best version, that's us.
My favorite.
This fucking.
This is
thing?
processed food, and this is the food pyramid. This is people taking control of our health rather
Sedentary
than
lifestyle.
us. Correct. That's how I got to be
Cubicles.
over 500 pounds.
My
Yeah,
favorite.
you could probably speak to this better than anybody in that case.
My favorite things to read.
Dropping a human being.
My favorite
Jesus
things to
Christ.
read tends to be 500 BC to 700 BC ancient Eastern philosophies. So I'm talking like Confucius and Lao Tzu and Sun Tzu, and like just the wisdom and comprehension levels of things that they had at that point in time, and then sitting back
at Christ,
and doing
dude.
the math and going, holy fuck. People had shit so figured out this fucking long
But they
ago to
also
this
did it,
level.
though, and look at how long it took to get to Christ, right? Which was hundreds of years later, right? And like honestly, man, that's why I believe God. Dude,
half a
It's
millennium.
like
half a millennium
dude,
later.
you can argue with all parts of the Bible, cool. You can argue with all these quote unquote prophets, saints, cool. Argue with Jesus, bro. Like outsmart Jesus, and then come talk to me because like if you can actually poke holes. Jesus' logic, maybe you're smart, but until somebody does that, I'm like, nah. It's that simple for me. And I'm not a great Christian. I'm actually probably the worst Christian, but like that motherfucker was right about literally everything he ever opened his mouth. That Sermon on the Mount speech, dude, is like
you can't really argue with. I mean, living life that way. I mean,
There goes Wiggins.
because I can argue. I can argue with Muhammad all day long. I mean,
being a good person and
I can't
going
argue
about
with
that
Jesus.
way.
I might not be compatible with the
I'm sorry.
institution of Christianity,
Right.
but I'm very compatible with Jesus
Right, the
Christ.
philosophy of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm a spiritual
There's a
person.
Christ,
not
there's
a
a Christ
religious person.
consciousness is what kind of I've
And that's-
gotten to.
That's
Yep,
probably
exactly,
the epitome
exactly.
of what
You know,
I'm saying. Is like that's the epitome of what I'm saying. Like you could argue with the Catholic Church, Mother Mary. You can argue
Right.
with any of the saints. You can argue with the Pope. You can argue with Muhammad. But like you can't argue with anything Jesus said. Everything he said. If you really search your heart, everything he says is right.
The
Everything.
message matters above all else. The word matters above all else.
Correct. Over-organized religion, having the understanding of a higher power is what's important. I've had my personal meeting. I got lucky in 2011. I was dead. I was resuscitated by paramedics and brought back.
Jesus.
During that time, I was gone, and I felt like I was pushed back into my body, and all I heard is, "It's not your time," and then I woke up.
No shit.
Really?
Scariest day of my life, because it was over.
I
That's
mean,
pretty fucking wild.
It's
dude.
I wholeheartedly. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe in every piece of that. You know, I could get into crazy and just there's a lot of shit that's happened Some of my first my very first memory in this life is the fucking craziest shit that I could ever even get into, and it's stuff that I've come to terms with in the last 2 years. You know, and it's I won't even get into it now. We'll talk about it at some point, but it's just fucking wild shit that a person's personal experience. I could tell you the things that have happened to me, and it doesn't matter how rock solid it is. If a person looks at you and thinks you're crazy, that's what you are to them. You know what I mean? And so
accurate.
And so the point being is that kind of what I've experienced is that after cleaning up and like coming to terms with some of the spiritual shit that's happened over the course of my life in the rear view, trying to explain this to people, they just look at you like you're nuts.
100,000,000%.
And so looking back historically at the prophets that keep their mouths shut, you could see exactly why. People don't fucking want to know. They don't want to even come to terms with what the fuck is going on. They want to keep their head in the sand like an ostrich.
Well, of course, because it's self-accountability.
So you're better off just fucking keeping to your own business and saying you'll figure it out or if you don't, fucking sorry about your luck, man. You know, sorry about your luck. Like, I am rock fucking solid with what the fuck is going on out there. And honestly, I don't even need to talk about it. You know what I mean? Right. It's fucking wild. Like, and I'll just, it's.
But then you start coming to the point where it's, well, other people know that.
Well, yeah, but then you come across as pompous and fucking there's no proof behind it. There's no proof behind it. Nothing that I believe in or say has any type of validity in scientific proof other than what I remember as a child.
But as a good person, your moral compass compels you to still do it. Like, I get where you're coming from too. You're both right. You're both right.
And if you don't share that knowledge, then you're the ass.
Right.
That's why I drop seeds.
It's your actual moral duty and imperative as the elder to teach and to pass that knowledge on. And you know none of the kids are going to listen. You know why you know? You didn't fucking listen when you were a kid.
Right.
But someone's going to listen. And someone's going to go, at 40, they're going to go, oh my God, I was 20, fucking old dude, fucking trying to lecture. But they were fucking right.
Yep.
They were right. And here's the key. Then they go, how many other people were right about other things?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the moment that matters.
That's why I drop seeds.
So beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Exactly.
I just wanted to get in real quick and then I got to go pee. Just to your story, like, you know, anybody can, like, think or arrive at whatever conclusions or explanations or whatever that they want, but like to like disregard or dismiss the concept and probability of other planes of existence and consciousness than just the one that we're on, to me is like super extremely small-minded and super highly improbable that this level of consciousness and existence is the only plane of either existence or consciousness that there is to any extent whatsoever. So that's why, like, hearing your story and like leaving and coming back and stuff and your accounts of it, where like I 100% am open, you know, to hearing that and entertaining those ideas and things, because
briefly
like,
touching on,
you know, and that's it. But
as a baby, I came to the realization after I cleaned up that my first memory that I have thought was a dream my entire life, was a crib abduction of some sort by some type of fucking lizard-looking fucking creature. Okay, now this was at the early 80s when crib abductions were like reported, right? But the reason that I know that this is the case is because it's the only experience I've ever had that was audible. Like, it spoke to me, okay? And so this came to me in like a meditative state. And so, like, the ancient texts are fucking real. Now, in what capacity, I don't know, but I have seen this shit, like, with my own fucking two eyes. And so the more you explain this to somebody, though, the more you get looked at like a fucking wacko, is what I'm saying, right? Now, I remember this like I remember telling my mom that there are two memories I have as a baby. This and telling my mom, hey, I just drank out of a cup, okay? Weird shit when I was a kid. Like, my sister told me that I knew how to speak Spanish at the age of 2, 3. I'm in no way Mexican, right? That makes zero sense. Like, there's weird shit that, like, my body's been extremely resilient to things, right? And many, many times I should have been dead up to this point in time. So here's all that I'm saying is that there's something going on out there, okay? And I've seen it with my own two eyes. What that is, like, I'm obsessing over at this point to the stage to where it's probably unhealthy for my fucking brain, but
Or it's super healthy.
But I have pinpointed this.
It's one of the two.
I've pinpointed this. The years of medicating myself, absolutely, that has been sitting under the subconscious. 1,000 fucking percent. 1,000%.
Something is
Yes.
putting an external pressure that you're going through your life.
Yeah.
Up to this point, you're going, hey, I don't want to. I'm not ready.
Well, I've
I'm
always
not
known that
willing,
there's something out there, but I've
I'm
always
not
thought it
ready.
was
I'm not
nuts.
willing.
Okay.
And so you self-medicate
Get
to
fucked
numb.
Right.
So you self-medicate to numb. That way you don't have to. You don't have to process or deal.
Correct.
Which is what most of us do with all things, right? Whether it's an eating disorder,
Yes.
or it's fucking heroin addiction, or it's fucking. Sometimes it's me isolating myself and just smoking a bunch of pot and smoking cigars. Where I'm like, I don't want to talk, and that'll sometimes span up because I don't go the full depth.
Right.
Right. Sometimes for me it'll last 6-7 days. Where like
I've had
even
that
my wife
happen.
is like,
Yeah.
why are you avoiding me? I'm like, I'm not. I just don't.
Oh, right.
But it's like I'm married. I don't have that. I have how to deal with that.
Right.
But that's an
It's
that self-medication idea.
I realized that, and I realized why I've always felt guilty, because I always felt guilty when I got fucked up, okay? And my body's always been sensitive to it. My drummer, Eric Dave, way back in college, when, we would party, he's like, I don't know why you do this shit, dude. He's like, drugs always hit your system differently, and you always feel bad about it, right? So now that I'm cleaned up off of it, the Panthers
Here we go, trade.
Here we go.
Get that
All right.
first round option. Aim for a quarterback.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up
Yeah.
after this pick.
So anyways, moving forward, it's like at some point in time, I mean, it's a wild fucking thing that can go deep, deep, deep down the rabbit hole. But the bottom line is that, like, I'm talking to you guys because whatever, you're not going to judge me. The vast amount of people will think you're a fucking lunatic. I'm as clear-minded as I've been in my entire life. Right now.
And that's when people start rejecting.
Exactly. That's the irony behind it. But that's when you know you're onto something. Okay?
Right.
That's the paradox.
Especially
when you hit the paradox
especially
in
on the
life, that's when you
spiritual
know. Yeah, that's when you know you're onto something.
Right.
When
Especially
the paradox
on
hits.
the spiritual level.
Correct.
When you start like leaning towards good, and people are like, "Yeah, dude, you're being a bigot."
When people,
and you're like,
when people don't want to hear what you're saying,
other direction,
and you're getting pulled another
I'm out
way.
on that shit, though. I'm going to be real. I'm just out on that culture nonsense. Like, I'm building my own self-culture versus pop culture.
Well,
because
Self-culture. What a great phrase. I love that.
yeah, I personally want to live the way I want to live by my principles, and I'm not going to let somebody bully me into wanting to live the way they want to live because I don't want to live that way.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got to wrap this up. The pick's in. So before they announce this, as we wrap this up, let's do this again.
Absolutely.
This was a lot of fun. Let's try to do this vibe like every 3 to 6 months.
I'm in.
We can do like, hey, draft, started mini camps, whatever, right before the season, like entering playoffs, whatever. We'll figure it out. Let's do this at like every 3 to 6 months. It'll be great. We got to get a Lions fan in here. We got to get a Lions fan so we can just punch him in the dick all night long. Just fucking absolutely torment.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
No, this was a blast, dude. This was absolutely probably better than I could have possibly imagined.
People liked it. People had a good time. Everyone, they're messaging in saying that it came off good.
Awesome.
Good flowing. That you
I
calmed
like to
things
hear
down
that.
when it got that everything flowed good. Blake said it was good.
Yeah, it took a while to get a little bit of
For us to get our
flow.
rhythm.
Does anybody have any guesses on what the fuck the Panthers traded up
They
for
need
into
everything,
round one
so it
when
could be
ain't a quarterback?
Other than
They're-
a quarterback.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah,
They're
right.
gonna draft
yeah, right.
Spencer fucking Rattler at the end of
I
the
mean,
first round.
Why not? The Falcons took Penix at 8.
I don't know. They got to do.
I would love if they went
Maybe
to
a
get. I would love
receiver
if they went
bring
up
in
to
some
get
help for Bryce
Right,
Young.
because
I
they
would love if they
basically
went up
gave
to get
away
my
DJ
guy.
Moore
It's a
for
deep
nothing.
draft.
who really is
That's
the
right.
only
Yeah.
left tackle on the
I
board
could see
at
them
all.
taking a wide
Protect him.
receiver here.
Protect
Get Amagaji from
Yeah.
Yale. He's the only left tackle on the board yet
Bryce
in
Young
the
got
entire
creamed last
fucking
year.
draft.
Got
Like,
creamed.
get the last left tackle in the entire draft right here, I think is what they're doing. But maybe there's an edge rusher they like or a DB they like. I don't know. Like they got holes, but normally you make a trade like this for a quarterback.
Man, were they awful last year.
Normally you make a trade like this for a quarterback.
Carolina's a weird organization, and since they have a new organization or a new owner, I can't really judge what direction.
He's an idiot. Remember when he threw that drink on the fan last year?
And they only
I don't. I didn't hear about that.
He got so pissed that they were losing, and he threw his cocktail out and then over the luxury box, and it sprayed all over one of his fans, and it was caught on video.
The Panthers only traded up one spot here. They traded up from 33 to 32. So they only moved up one spot.
But we talked about this earlier.
The fifth-year option.
This is going to be a franchise position.
Exactly. So it's got to be one of those 4 positions that you mentioned. And it ain't quarterback by all reasonable, guessements. So it's got to be a tackle, a CB, or an edge rusher.
A linebacker.
It would be linebacker 1. Whoever they think is linebacker 1, that's who it would be, because no linebackers have been taken yet.
I don't actually think this is a linebacker, but I'm going to say linebacker just because I have a weird gut feeling.
I think one linebacker is worth it, and it's Peyton Wilson. My God.
Wide receiver.
He is a pretty dang good wide receiver. To me, he's definitely in that tier 2 of this class wide receiver.
Physical specimen.
Yep.
He's Leggett, by the way.
Yep.
It's not League.
Yep. Nope. He's in that Worthy, Mitchell, Thomas, him, type of second tier for the wideouts in this class.
Pick for them.
That's decent. That's decent. I don't see wide receiver as a need for them with what Mingo and Marshall and Thielen, and they brought one new guy in yet too that's on a decent level. I can't remember who, but so like from a position need standpoint, I don't know that I like it. But from a player standpoint, at that point in the draft, he's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right, well, this was a blast, boys. Yeah. Let's wrap this up. Greg Moog, where can people find your music?
Black Flood Diesel on Facebook. We are playing June 22nd at the Skyway Theater. We're headlining. Come check
Scotty
it out.
Ball.
Strange Days on Facebook, DAZE, also on Spotify, Apple, everything that streams. And come watch us open up for Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top on Labor Day weekend out in North Dakota.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And as far as I'm concerned, just for now, stay tuned to this YouTube channel. I'm going to relaunch the website. We're going to get content uploaded. I'm in 3 bands now, and all of those updates will be coming soon. I'm playing drums in one, guitar in another, and drums in a third. So just stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Everything will be updated soon. I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging out with us. This was a great draft cast. It was a great welcome back. What a fucking party. And I don't have dates for the next guest, but we have started booking that. So expect regular guests to start coming in May and June. By July, we're going to be going every Thursday. Love you guys. We'll see you.